Welcome to the Cultaholic Wrestling Podcast.
If you like a lot of wrestling on your YouTube, Joel, join in. Join our cult. Hello and welcome to the Cultaholic Video Podcast.
The thinning of the cult this week.
The thinning of the cult this week. Jack and Matthew have been taken down to the slaughterhouse and murdered. Right in the face. I am Matthew Gregg, joined by my lovely partner, Tom Campbell. How are you doing,
Partner in the biblical sense.
Yes,
Hello.
of course.
Hello, Matthew. You're looking great today.
Thank you very much. I've ate cake all week and I've had a great time.
Have you got any hilarious observations and names you can't pronounce this week?
Lyra Velhura and Diana Parisi went to the Pizza Perla, and I can't believe what I saw. No, it's Ross and Tom, everybody. Sorry to fool you audio listeners especially, but welcome to the Cultaholic Wrestling Podcast. No one else is available, so we have myself and Tom flying the flag.
Slim pickings this week.
7 hours from now we'll be finished and you'll have a great time along the way. Big announcement for the podcast, as you might be able to see on the YouTube player. Timestamps are a thing now. So if you want to skip ahead to certain segments, you can do that now. And when the podcast doesn't make as much revenue as it used to and we have to cancel it, you can't complain. Joel now has a camera as well.
Oh, yeah, because we're that tight this week.
Hi.
Joel is
Hey,
here.
hi, everyone.
It's a great time to nominate Joel's hair for the Hall of Fame, as I did last week. As you can see, it's long and luscious and looking fantastic.
Do you want me to...
We need to see your hair.
Wait for the Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I was worried that you had it
Keep
chopped.
them waiting.
You had it chopped this week, or is it still there?
No. I can't get an appointment. That's the problem. I've got to wait another 2 weeks yet.
What hairdresser do you go to?
Hoi Polloi.
Don't go
Go,
there.
go to
we
the
all-
one across the road.
No, but it's really good. We all go
Yeah,
there.
but the one across the road's fine.
It's not-
I
it's
go
not
to-
that good though, is it?
I literally go to the one
not.
across the road. I can walk in and it's like £9.
Yeah, but I've got a good relationship with my hairdresser. Me and Sam, we fist bump every
But it's
time we
all
go in.
not
It feels
true.
good.
It's like a lady of the night there, Joel.
But he makes me feel good.
They make you think they're your girlfriend, but they just want your
That's-
money.
that's fine.
They
You can
wine
have
and
my
dine
money.
you. They do whatever else to you, and then they just take your money. It's not all
That's
what it's
fine.
cracked up to be.
I don't mind it. He makes me feel good. We talk about football.
The
and,
man knows he's being abused.
Yeah. That's fine.
Lovely.
Love a bit of Sam.
You're being strung along like
That's fine.
a strumpet.
String me, baby.
String me, baby. Joel, you're a dirty man, aren't you? That leads to a lovely little bit of pleb banter there. Have you ever had a lady of the night?
What?
Did Ross stutter?
He's going red.
no, I haven't.
He has.
No.
So, when was it, Joel? How old were you?
I have never had a lady of the night, no. I've never been to a place that does that kind of thing.
Me neither. Have you?
Wow, I could have about that much. I've heard from my people in my neck of the woods that Joel was drinking in one of my locals the other day.
Which one?
One on the other side of the bridge.
Huh?
I heard you were in there. Is that not true?
Which one?
I don't want to say it. I'll say Axis.
Oh, I was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, did you hear from Sam?
Oh, well, I say that's my neck of the woods, so I've got eyes everywhere.
Oh,
Were you
wow.
in there
Yeah,
with,
yeah.
what's her face again? I can't remember her name. What was her name?
Which one?
From back in the
Which one?
Which one? He says. My goodness
He's
me,
a
what's going on here?
hustler.
The lady who sent you a nice tweet and then you followed her back on Twitter.
Oh,
quicker than
no,
you
it
could
wasn't
say.
her.
It wasn't her.
You know her name as well.
I can't remember. What was it?
Yeah,
It was with an R. Rachel?
Rebecca.
Rebecca, that was
Oh.
the
She emailed in the other week, didn't she?
one.
Gee, that's a bit strange.
Hello, Rebecca.
Oh, hello, Rebecca.
No, it wasn't her.
Oh, someone else.
No, yeah. But...
Oh, I'm good friends with the landlord, so I will find out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He seemed like a nice guy.
They're
Who was
lovely in
serving
there.
us. Yeah,
When
yeah.
we got engaged, when we came back in, they got us a free pint.
Oh, that's lovely.
They're very nice.
We went to
in
the
there.
donut shop next door as well.
Oh,
which
they're
is good.
nice, they
You can get
are.
a 10-inch donut.
Whoa.
We didn't, but imagine that.
That'd have been a great chat of line.
10-inch donut. What does that even mean? As
Well,
in the old
Circumference.
the circumference or the
Yeah.
radius, whatever the hell it is.
Would it be radius?
I can't remember. School was such a long time ago.
I don't know the difference.
What a great pleb banter segment this is.
25 quid, though.
Oh no,
For
Joel.
one donut?
For a 10-inch, though, that's massive.
Who
Oh, yeah,
needs
okay.
a 10-inch donut though?
Yeah, exactly.
Some,
This is a wrestling podcast, everybody.
This is a
Let's
wrestling
do the
podcast.
wrestling news. As Tom opens his beer, I'm going to
Right.
save mine because I need to drive the car, so to speak, this week. I don't know how Matthew does it when he's had some lagers. Anyway, Variety first reported that AEW have officially signed a new multi-year deal with Warner Brothers Discovery. As part of the new deal, AEW will continue to air on TBS on Wednesday nights, while AEW Collision will remain on Saturday nights on TNT. Both shows will stream live on Max for the streaming services subscribers in the United States, and episodes will also be able available to stream on demand from January 2025. Pay-per-views, though, will be available on Max later in 2025 at a discounted pay-per-view price, and the new deal includes enhanced distribution rights across social media and possible new AEW programming across linear and digital platforms. Apparently, it's worth over this deal £150 million a year.
WrestleVotes and Andrew Zarian have gone more than that and said that this deal's worth close to $185 million
Where have they got the extra $35 million from?
A lot of it is going to be based on money that they'll accrue on top of the deals that they make. And also, it's 3 years, and the fourth year is an optional year. If they take the option year, they make even more. Like, it's a massive deal.
The best part about all of this has been seeing people share the Eric Bischoff thumbnail. AEW don't have a TV deal. They're charlatans. They're fakers. They're arseholes. They'll be bankrupt in 6 months' time. Well, up yours, Eric.
It's good.
That one.
It's good for wrestling when there are other companies out there. It means that wrestlers have places they can ply their trade and make a decent living for their families. And it means that it keeps other competition, other promotions on their toes as well. You know, some of the darker times in WWE was when there was no competition.
Yes.
So you need a little bit of that, you know, whether or not, you know, I don't bog us down in tribalistic hoi polloi, but that's the wrong use of the word hoi polloi, but never mind. Tribalistic shenanigans.
That's the name of your barbers, Joel.
Yeah.
Tribalistic for your money.
Tribalistic, slightly cheaper barbers across the road from hoi polloi. But it really does help when there's someone else out there that you can play your trade at. So.
Here. The more places to work, the better. That's the main thing.
That's it. I genuinely think if you're one of those people that's cross that this deal's been signed, I think you're just angry for weird, wrong reasons.
Yeah, there's something else going on in your life. Go and sort that out and then come back and watch the wrestling. It'll all be fine.
Honest.
I mean, the problem is, though, we don't get Max in the UK, do we?
Not yet, we don't.
So
but I imagine.
Oh, yeah, how are we going to watch it?
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll have to watch wrestling.
I don't think they've announced Max coming to the UK anytime soon either. I don't think there's any plans for it.
What do you mean? He was here a few months ago. Jack interviewed him.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
He's done it. Good night, everybody. Thanks for watching.
That's the end of the
Join
podcast.
us.
See you later. Some sad news from AEW as well, that Killswitch was hospitalized last week with pneumonia. A report from Fightful Select stated the former AEW Tag Team Champion collapsed on September the 27th with his fiancée finding him and contacting emergency services. After being rushed to hospital, it was discovered that Killswitch had pneumonia in both lungs, with tests showing that blood oxygen levels had fallen below 80%. I think Killswitch's family gave Fightful Select the permission to report this story. Doctors revealed that Killswitch was days away from suffering permanent lung damage and had been hooked up to oxygen in the days since his admission in order to aid his recovery. His expected recovery will take a month, which sounds unbelievable, but he is a dinosaur, I guess. Although a time frame for an in-ring return is unclear as of us sat here right now, so it's horrible seeing that, isn't
That's terrifying, the fact that he was days away from permanent lung damage. I think this is probably a much bigger thing to talk about, but I think as blokes in general, when we're poorly, we very rarely react to it immediately.
So imagine if you're a dinosaur.
Imagine if you're a dinosaur and you go, it's fine, I've just got a bit of this, it'll go away at some point. It'll just go away at some point. And the fact that it happened the way that it did and that he got blue lighted in, saved him permanent lung damage. So we will see Killswitch back in the ring when he's ready to go. So best wishes to Austin and all your family. Jeez.
Here once again.
Here.
Over on the WWE side of the tracks, Braun Strowman suffered an injury on this week's Raw in that big last monster standing match against Bronson Reed. He suffered an injury to his groin.
Oh, that's how sexy that match got.
A big Samoan drop to the groin. Well, injured his groin. That makes it sound like
There's ladies of the night that you have to pay for that sort of thing.
I'm thinking
I wouldn't know about that.
Oh, of course you would.
I don't know what's called in America. Is it known as the slut drop in America as well?
Yeah.
So it sounds like the Samoan drop in this instance has been some sort of slut drop, and that's what injured Braun Strowman's groin. But apparently he took the move, and then that's what caused the injury. He had difficulty moving, of course, as the match was going on. There was that scene where he's running across the ring. It looked like his knees had gone, but it wasn't. It was his groin.
His
but he did
groin had gone.
It did well to get across the ring anyway for the bit off the apron to the floor there. Brian Alvarez has reported on Wrestling Observer Live that Strowman was injured, and I can't do it like Matthew does. Matthew's very good at impersonations. I am not. With belief within the company that he sustained the actual toll groin upset about there. So
agony.
Yeah, quick recovery for him as well, hopefully.
What's the most painful injury you've sustained to your groin?
I'll never forget football training. It was 2004. We're just, at the start of football training where you kick balls around and people are just firing balls all over the place. This lad, he was called DJ, was his nickname, just to disguise his identity a little bit. He just got this ball, he just picked it up and he just hoofed it out of his hands. And I was stood right in front of him, about 5 yards away, and it went straight in there. Straight in there. I had to sit down. It was a good 10 minutes before I went white, even whiter than I am now. I was like Casper the bloody Ghost sat there without a cock and balls.
I remember sliding down the banister at my old house to impress my cousin and not really recognising how fast I was going. And of course, how all banisters end.
Yeah.
Yeah, nearly ended me that day.
Could have gone up your arsehole.
It could have if I'd gone the other way, but I was going the front way.
The front way?
Yeah.
You daredevil.
I know, right? I know.
I was picturing that scene, that video went viral a few years ago of that lad. I think he's on some sort of underground over here in the UK and he slides down the middle bit of the escalators.
Oh, yeah.
And he catches his taint on the big jagged out bit. Oh, was it as devastating as that?
I would imagine not as much. I wasn't going that fast and there wasn't that much coverage to get down, but it still hurt nonetheless.
Yeah, sounds painful.
Was your cousin impressed by the end?
Nah, he walked off to go and have dinner because we were only like 7 at that point. We had turkey dinosaurs, and he was off to go and have tea. Didn't really notice.
Up the turkey dinosaurs.
Yeah,
it's a shame for Braun Strowman because that feud every single week it was fantastic. Him and Bronson.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It came out of obviously Bronson attacking Seth Rollins. Rollins taking some time away, so it was something to keep Bronson amused while he was away and made Bronson look like a beast, taking out Braun Strowman on a regular, dropping him on a car and all that good stuff. This was the suitable way to sign this feud off, this mini feud off, this side quest off. Braun, go and get your balls better.
Go and get your balls better.
Here.
To Braun Strowman's balls. Hell yeah, Braun Strowman's balls. If Matthew ever says that to you, he's not interested in what you've just said. We learned this last week. If Matthew replies, you send Matthew a message, hey Matthew, how you doing? And he goes, hell yeah. That's a bad example to use.
I always found...
Hey, Matthew, I've just got married. If he goes, hell yeah, he doesn't give a toss.
I always found that Matthew's one for when he's not interested is just, he goes, ooh.
Ooh, isn't that nice there, pal? A little bit of minor news off the back of that Braun Strowman thing as well was that WWE are not happy with how the ring collapsed.
Well, how else do you want it to collapse?
There's normally like a bump and then a bump, but this time there was just a bump.
Just the one bump.
Just the one bump.
I mean, even though we only have the singular bump and not the double bump, I thought it still looked great.
It still looked great, yeah.
I think I read that same report where they said, it felt a bit predictable. I said, well, it's the same spot you've done 4 times now over many years. It's literally an OMG moment in earlier wrestling games.
And they didn't have the ring surrounds on, the LED boards there, so everyone's expecting it. Why would they just not be there? Did you forget to pack them? Is that how it works?
Could you not have done something different if you were worried about it being predictable?
Have the rings flown away. Irish whip from Braun to Bronson. Bronson hits the ring, and then the ring just goes...
Oh.
Well, they almost did that with Lesnar and Reigns when he came out in the tractor.
Exactly.
That was good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Just give it a little flick at the end then, the ring goes tumbling into the crowd.
Yeah,
Loads of people die.
And the ring just keeps going and going, like that game, We Heart Katamari, and it just keeps picking up people.
Number 1 game reference of the
There it
podcast
is.
that Ross does not understand. There'll be many more.
I'm going
over
to
the
drop
next several
loads
hours.
this week.
WWE have filed a trademark, yes, for pro wrestling and merchandise purposes with the US Patent and Trademark Office on September the 30th. According to Post Wrestling, this filing comes only 10 days after Bryan Danielson abandoned his own trademark filing for yes with the same USPTO. Don't turn the page over, though, Tom. That's something else. When you just try and you think of something in your head and you just say it. That was what happened there. And it didn't work at all. It derailed the entire story. Danielson, though, he initially filed to trademark the term on July the 29th after he realised it was available, but the AEW World Champion received a legal email from the WWE soon after claiming that he was infringing on the thing that he did, but maybe didn't create.
It's a strange one. But obviously, I'm sure WWE want to keep that because you can still use likenesses and stuff like that in video games and things like that. So I guess they just want to stockpile all the trademarks. And obviously, should Bryan Danielson ever return to WWE, then they've got that ready to go.
He would never. He's going home at the end of this year to go and see Birdie B.
He'll pop him in the Hall of Fame, won't they? And then they'll sign a Legends deal, and then he'll be back in the video games, and you can buy Daniel Bryan action figures.
He'll be on the stage at the Hall of Fame. Am I okay to do this now, Paul? Hell yeah, says Paul Levesque. Yes.
Says Paul.
It was good to see Okada do the yeses last night on Dynamite, though.
That was nice.
Despite all this news. Fantastic bullpooery from Kazuchika Okada. More AEW stuff now.
So the page over now.
You can do what you want with that page, Tom. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That worked well, didn't it? AEW have added more time to the end of Penta and Rey Fenix's contracts due to time out injured. There's been lots of scuttlebutt on the internet and whatnot. Are AEW right for doing so? My personal opinion, yes, they are. If WWE do the same, why the hell shouldn't AEW do the same as well?
It's a bit poo-housery on both fronts. When WWE do it, it's poo-housery. When AEW do it, it's poo-housery. It's clear that they're not going to use them anytime soon. They're just going to let them sit out their contracts. So why can't the two sides make some sort of deal and be grown-ups about it rather than going, no, you're just going to be mothballed until we say you go. And that's the same if WWE does it the way around as well. I just think that let them go and find their future. Because if you're not going to use them, then stop paying them.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing as well. Because if they're like, now we want to go, okay, then we're going to immediately stop paying you. And you go sign a new contract. Saves them money. Saves them paying for people they're just going to make sit out of spite.
Yeah. Because the way the cookies crumble with Rey Fenix is, out injured with that horrible arm thing he had when he went on the floor. Do you remember that? And his arm was just like...
It's just hanging around.
Like a flump. He won't be able to go over until 2025. Which I know is next year, but it sounds a long way away, doesn't it?
It's a long way in TV time. Like it's many, 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 many moons away. And by which point that whole thing might have cooled for them. But
They're still going to be a big hit, though, aren't they? Straight on the main roster. Sell all the masks.
yeah, get them straight on the main roster and put them in the LWO.
Yeah.
Don't
do that.
Triple H is already eyeing that up, I think.
Where are you two from? Says Triple H. Go over there with Ray and his friends. MJF has been cast in Happy Gilmore 2, a sequel to the comedy classic from 1996, starring Adam Sandler. This is directly copied from Cultaholic.com.
You don't say. It proves there's a difference between reading text and written text, if you know what I mean.
Deadline.com came out with the news that MJF was having a role in the movie, though noted his character was under wraps. However, PW Insider said, nothing's under wraps for us. It's in the wraps, and we eat them, then regurgitate them to the masses. Again, it's happened, Tom. I'm just spewing mental bollocks. They revealed that MJF will be playing a character named Gordy, one of Happy Gilmore's sons. His character, along with the other sons, he's got multiple kids, a genetic jackhammer of sorts, is described as tough, crazy bastards with a New England accent who have inherited their father's love for hockey. They all live out and do their own work in blue-collar jobs.
Well, look, this is MJF breaking out into Hollywood via a Netflix sequel. I think it's a Netflix sequel. Because I know Adam Sandler did loads of like Netflix exclusive slop.
What was that thing
and
he
I
did
feel
last-
like this might be a new one.
The thing he did last year, the year before, I can't remember the name of it now. What was it?
I think he plays.
He did that Halloween one.
Yeah.
Hubie Halloween. I think
Hubie
it's
Halloween,
called,
that's the one I
something
think
like
of, yeah.
I think he plays somebody wacky in it that does things that are unconventional with hilarious results.
It doesn't sound
I think
like
that's
him.
the one.
But he dresses like an everyday man, so he's relatable while
So
doing
that
so.
makes him relatable,
like,
yeah. And then Rob Schneider goes, "Here's a thing I've said."
It's like what's that film where Michael Cera plays the awkward teenager? Is this every one of them?
You've been joled.
Why do people say that Rob Schneider's a coward these days? What's he done? There was something about his little girl, was there not? Who's now a big girl, but still his little girl.
I don't know too much about the lore of Rob Schneider.
Do you, Joel? Film
not a
man,
clue,
Joel.
No, I don't know anything about Rob Snyder.
What?
His mates with Adam Sandler. That's all I know.
Oh, fair enough. But yeah, everyone looking forward. Will MJF make the cut this time? Is the thing, because of course he was involved in putting together the old. Why have I got Iron Savages in my head? The Iron Claw.
He was in it briefly, wasn't he?
Very brief.
Like literally blink and you miss it.
He had something cut though, didn't he? Despite being an executive producer. So hopefully he makes the end of it.
Yeah, I'd like to see him actually do something in it. You still get paid either way.
Oh yeah, I'm just picturing like MJF. Here's the script. You've got this little part of the background of the scene, but he just goes off script all the time and goes, "Ha ha! I am at the front of the scene, a blue-collared man.
Here I am.
I work my
blue-collared man.
12 hours every day, and I go home and eat gruel and dry bread. Oh, Happy Gilmore, my father. Will you save me with your millions taken from Shooter McGavin?
I love how you've made him a classically trained actor.
He is though, isn't he?
Father, I'm blue collar.
That would be a lovely twist, though. If Happy Gilmore thought that the MJF's character was his son, and it turns out to be Shooters all along. Because you can see MJF and Shooter being father and son.
Maybe that is the twist at the end.
With What's-Her-My-Face in the lingerie being the mother. Ooh.
That's a callback.
What's-Her-My-Face? I've forgotten their name. Do you know?
Who? I don't know. You're
The saucy lady in Happy Gilmore one with the lingerie.
I haven't seen that film in like 20 years.
Oh, right. Oh. I thought you were going to say I haven't seen it at all. Film
No,
Man
I've seen
Joe.
it once. Didn't love it.
Happy Gilmore fancies it, gets with it at the end. Shoot McGavin's like in the fantasies that he's having, like taking her away from Happy Gilmore.
Not a clue.
Then Happy Gilmore, or Shooter does something with the grandma, if memory serves. I'm just Hall of Famer Pete Rose passed away.
Bad Bunny's in it as well, isn't he?
Oh yeah,
He's also playing Happy Gilmore's son.
Yeah.
Sayonara Campion Booker T. Imagine if he played Booker T in Happy Gilmore 2.
Maybe he will.
Bad Bunny. What are we doing here?
This is gonna be the best podcast.
The beer hasn't even passed my lips yet.
Will it go over 7 hours? That's the question.
No.
Repeat the record.
Maybe. Hall of Famer Pete Rose passed away on Monday. He was 83 years old. Rose, of course, was featured on WWE program in the late 90s, more specifically with Kane beating him up lots.
Timeless days with Pete Rose getting a shoe in every time. Obviously, he did that bad gambling thing, which always feels like he'll always get stated. But, you know, part of the Celebrity Hall of Fame wing for WWE.
Yeah, he's the first ever person in the celebrity wing. He was
the first, wasn't he?
He is the bird.
He is the bird.
With the wing. He was also the gobbledygooker.
And he was the gobbledygooker at WrestleMania 2015. 15.
The 14 was the first one with Kane when he was in a suit.
15, then he...
How about those, Baba, huh?
That was it. 14 was the shocker, then 15 he came back for his revenge, and then 16 he turned up again.
Is it 14 or 15 where you see Linda McMahon sat in the crowd just going, isn't this funny?
I think that might have been 15. Because 16 she was at ringside for the McMahon in every corner. So it might have been 15.
But R.I.P. to Big Pete Rose. The memories he gave us, Tom, they'll last eternal.
they'll last till the end of this podcast.
And of course, the biggest news of the week. It's a shame that Jack isn't here because he echoes my sentiments, whereas I know Tom, he has the complete opposite thought about these two men. I'll just read it out as they would do. AJ and Big Justice of the Costco guys revealed on Instagram that AJ will be returning to the Squared Circle after signing a one-match deal with AEW. Boom!
They bring the boom to you. They bring the boom.
Why do you like them, Tom?
Well, I don't know why I relate so much to a much older man being cringe online. I can't see what the connection is at all. I just think that they know what they are and they know what they do and they lean into it and they embrace it. And you know what? If people are daft enough to sign them to wrestle a match for a major wrestling company, then that's not their fault.
Yes, it is.
You're not going to...
They should go home and shut up and do the boom indoors.
Absolutely not. They can... Well, I'm sure AJ does boom indoors, but he's booming outdoors on this occasion. And yeah, the videos, they make me cringe somewhat, but I find them compelling. Especially the ones where they just do that same dance move over and over, and then like here's MXM joining in with them. And it's that weird part of the internet where we all know it's a bit crap, but I can't help but love it.
Do you ever sit back and think, wow, what a hard day I've had at work? And someone who goes, boom, has more success and more outreach than we'll ever have together combined.
Mate, this trickles down. We sit and talk garbage about wrestling. We're not down a mine.
We would be if it was still a thing, Tom. I would be from the northeast of England.
Yeah,
so would Joel. Joel would
you'd have been. We're not brain surgeons. We've not got life and death on it. We watch wrestling. It dribbles down. So like, if someone says, well, how would you feel if you could make all that money by just saying boom down the camera? I'd be like, hell yeah, let's go.
Yeah, but I'm bitter that it's not me.
Lies the thing. Big Trouble, Ben Bishop. Made a really interesting point online about this, where he said, if any promoters tell you that online presence isn't important, they're liars, because this is a great example of it. They've got themselves over online, and therefore to the point where they become an attraction that someone has given them a contract over a wrestler. And you have to believe that promotions look for people who can bring eyes. And it's great that you're a great wrestler, but if your social game's crap, then that you're not helping yourself. And their social game is very good. Whether you think it's crap or not, it's everywhere.
Yes, I'm really happy for all their success. That's the end of the news segment, everybody. Let's move on to the Hall of Fame.
Everybody get excited for the Cultaholic Hall of Fame.
And now it's time for everyone's favourite segment, the Hall of Fame.
You can't start like Matthew without going,
Sorry, let's start again. Let's do a rewind, Tom. And now it's time for everyone's favourite segment, the Hall of Fame. In condescending order from last week's poll.
Keep it up.
He legitimately did not know what that meant at the start, and now he's gone with it, which is fair play. Anyway, in last place is Matthew's reaction to the recent events in heavyweight boxing. Hell yeah, that was his reaction. 11%. Then we have Joel. Put the camera on you right now because it's time for the big reveal. Joel's lovely new hair. Hell yeah. 20%.
I've been wearing a hat all day.
I know. Oh, yeah. It looked a lot more luscious last week.
Jesus Christ.
He's brought the boom to us with that hair.
horrendous. Right?
Lovely.
That was
It came
disappointing.
second with 20%. It didn't win.
Fair enough.
So unlucky.
Yeah.
But Bret Hart punching Vince McMahon. Hell yeah. 69%. It gets in the Hall of Fame. It's a worthy winner.
I love that in 2024 Hall of Fame, Brett punching Vince following the 1997 Montreal Screwjob.
It was talked about last week at length.
That's very true, actually. That's very true.
Do you want to go first this week? Joel, do you want to do one this week since we need 3
We
picks?
need 3.
You go last, Joel.
Oh, God.
So you got
All
time
right.
to think of one.
Spring it on me, okay? Yeah.
Bring it on me, baby. Split me in
I'll
half,
think
whatever
of
you
one.
said at the start of the podcast. What did you say?
I didn't say that.
What did you say?
I don't know.
I can't remember now. We were talking about the ladies of night and he said something, didn't he?
No, he was talking about being strung along.
String me.
String me up, baby. Yeah, string me up.
Strung along by his posh barbers. And there's a cheaper barbers, literally over the road. You could have a haircut in that cheap barbers and then go to the Alchemist with the extra money and get a really fancy cocktail that does weird things.
But with my barbers, you get a beer with the haircut.
Oh, is he one of them, is he?
It's included. You can have as many as you want as well.
How much are you paying there?
30
John,
quid.
How much?
30.
£30.
30 with a beer or a coffee or just a water. Plus
I'd
you
have
get the
18
banter. We talk
beers.
about football. I get a fist bump. What's
You get
not to
that at
love?
any barbers, though?
Nah,
The
no,
football
it's not
bit?
the same.
do.
Sam's is one of a kind.
It's too much money for me, Joel.
I think if you're stuck for a Hall of Fame pick, I think you should nominate your barber.
Sam the barber. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. I
Sam the
might do
barber.
that.
No, I don't think he deserves it. I think he'll finish
fair
last. He'll
Yeah,
finish
he will.
stone dead
Oh,
last.
he definitely finished last. Yeah.
He's the worst barber I've ever known. Tom, what's your pick, please?
I do the Cultaholic Classic Nitro review with Sam Driver, which goes out on a Thursday on our podcast feed and our Patreon. And every week we watch an episode of Nitro, and we're watching it right until the very end, or one of us or both of us die. And there was every so often something comes along, a little bit of fried gold that has been lost in the annals of time. And as I was writing my notes for this week's episode, something happened on the screen that just immediately pricked my ears up and drew me away from my notes. And it was the sound of Goldberg's theme, Invasion, from Universal Music. We can't play it here, but I'm watching Nitro. And I'm writing about Nitro. Suddenly, my ears prick and go, "What? It's not the Goldberg debut yet. We're surely months away." And even on his debut, he didn't get an entrance. So if you press play now, Joel, so I'll go like dum dum. Dum 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 dum. What's dum 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 dum? It's Pat Tanaka. An anxious-looking Pat Tanaka coming out to what should be Goldberg's music, and he looks so sheepish about it. It's like he knows. It's like he knows it's the wrong music. I love it. And there's some booze for him too. God bless him. Because that whole entrance for me, Welcome to Jamrock, opening track is a sample of Goldberg's theme.
Really?
Yeah, it's a banger as well.
Drummond.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Jack Hammerin.
Jack Hammerin. So I want to nominate that. It's the whole image. It's Goldberg's music. It's Pat Tanaka coming out looking really sheepish and anxious, doing a little bit of like kung fu karate style maneuverings as the crowd boos him, but he's smiling so sweetly. It's a real assault on the senses. So I'd like Pat Tanaka to be honoured with the Hall of Fame.
I have
That's
no
my
idea
pick.
that was a thing. WCW were bad for giving the same theme to multiple people, weren't they?
Oh, they're cheeky boys. That's the first time Goldberg's themes come up, and we went, oh!
That is sacrilege, that.
How
though.
exciting. Cultaholic Classic Nitro review every Thursday on the podcast feed, and you can watch it on the Patreon as well.
You can see their faces and
See
everything.
our faces. We're sat here.
Wonderful. Right, I'm going to go for my pick now. Now, last week, people saw me have a fight with a water bottle. So that water bottle has now been compromised and put to a permanent end, otherwise known as put in the back of the cupboard.
I did think that was a new water bottle that
Got
you
a
were showing off this week.
2.5 litre one, Tom, bought with a voucher that Amazon gave me because they didn't send a plug. So I complained, and they gave me a £10 voucher to buy a plug.
Oh,
But instead
wow.
I got a water bottle.
That's a decent water
It's a
bottle.
bloody lovely water bottle. It doesn't clink or clank or anything like that. It's a fantastic
How
vessel.
much was it out of interest? I've got a bit weird thing about buying water bottles.
£8.99.
$8.99.
2.5 litres, though.
Because basically on the
Multiple
sides.
nozzles, Tom. If you want a big
Ooh.
pour, there's a big hole. But if you want a good old suck,
Oh wow!
Ooh.
How that's brilliant. Because sometimes you don't want to have a big guzzle. Sometimes you just want a little bit of a tickle on the tipple. So therefore, it serves multiple purposes.
like a little piglet suckling on its mother's teat.
Sometimes I just suckle on a little teat on my water bottle.
Is it not a pain in the ass to carry around?
No, look, I'm a big, strong boy. Yeah.
You are a big strong boy. It's not the kind you take running with you, is it?
Do I go running?
To your credit, you did run to work the other day.
I did.
Were you chased?
By several women. No,
Joel?
no, I did. I gave running a go a few weeks ago and I stopped because my back was hurting.
So
So maybe I need to, because I did like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday came around and I was like,
there's your mistake.
I know, I
You
went
shouldn't
too
have
big too early.
You've got to every other day do a run. Don't do it every day.
I was doing the old couch to 5K, what you did.
But you got to do it every other day.
And Steve Crow in my ears, go on there, Ross, you can do it, I believe in you.
Steve Cram's quite a new addition to that app. Just have a really boring chat about that app very quick, because when I started doing it, I had Joe Wiley as my voice on the couch.
I
to
chose
5K.
Joe Wiley as well, yeah.
I like Joe Wiley.
She's lovely, yeah. She's really
sweet.
supportive.
But when she is, but like not in a condescending way.
Yeah.
Matthew's doing it now, and he's got Sarah Millican going like, come on, do this, you can have some cake. I was like, Alex, my good lady, my future wife, she picked, there's a guy called Michael who is like the American drill instructor. And when she was doing her training for the Great North Run, she basically raw dogged it with no music and just had Michael going, all right, you got to pick up the speed now, go. I'm like, this sounds awful. She's like, yeah, but he's the only one I trust. Because we didn't have Steve Cram back then. But then when I finished the Couch to 5K, and then you unlock, it's like a video game, you unlock beyond Couch to 5K.
What the hell does that look like?
Basically, they're like longer runs, like 40-minute run, an hour run, and then like a 20-minute speed run, like an interval speed run. But then it goes, new character unlocked. And it's like, you've unlocked Steve Cram. Like, I've unlocked Steve Cram. like a video game. I was like, oh, that's amazing.
What do I get then if I unlock that?
Well, I think I didn't know Steve Cram was already in the new version of Couch to 5K. So I'd like to think that they give you, maybe Usain Bolt.
Yeah.
Maybe
Lord Sebastian Coe.
Sebastian Coe.
Steve Redgrave.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Mo Farah.
Hey, run faster, Ross.
Who the hell was that?
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, Sonic, I think it was Mo Farah.
Also, Matt could be Mo Farah.
Hey, do the Mobot, man.
Hey, Tails, do the Mobot.
Is Von Wagner?
Tuesday.
You be ready. Van Wagner.
Yeah, so you have run, but that water bottle's not good for running with. But what I do like is it supports you and your water drinking journey.
Tom, I found it impossible to buy a water bottle without 7 a.m. Let's start. 9 a.m. Just drink it. 11 a.m. Do it for yourself. 1 p.m. Keep going. 3 p.m. No excuses. 5 p.m. Almost done. And 7 p.m. You finish up there, big boy.
Well done. Congratulations. You've smashed it today and drank some water.
I know when to drink. It's when I'm thirsty. But that's not my Hall of Fame pick, even though this is fantastic.
That's a shame.
We had the pitches video this week where I took the chance of pitching what Jack Black, the motorcyclist, did in Anchorman, where he got Ron Burgundy's dog and punted it off a bridge. Take the bridge out, put Hell in a Cell in, take other people out, put Drew and Poke in. Larry the dog got put off the top of the cell by Drew, and I said to Joel, I double dare you to make that the thumbnail, Joel. And this is what Joel produced. And this is my Hall of Fame pick this week.
There it is.
It's an absolute, in the words of Erling Haaland, hang it in the Louvre. The Louvre.
That is a work of art, to be fair.
Put it in the Louvre. So Joel has gone above and beyond there. A lot of people say it's the greatest thumbnail in pictures history.
Yeah,
I would agree.
Some nice comments about it.
I would agree. Joel, you've gone above and beyond there. What's the thought process while getting into a thumbnail like this?
I'm aware Larry the dog is too big in it, but you've got to make him big so people can see him, so people will click on him.
Have we not shared that with Drew on Twitter?
I've shared it on Twitter,
know.
but I didn't dare tag him because he follows me and I'm scared.
You should, because he'll retweet it. Are we scared of
to be
views?
fair, yeah. Oh yeah, let's
In fact,
get
I'll
Drew
do it
seeing
again with a boom at the end of the tweet. And then it'll go wild.
If he quite retweets it, then that's money in the old Cultaholic coffers.
Yeah.
Get him tagged in it. Get him tagged in it.
I'll do it.
I'll
do it, Dad.
Get it on. Get on with it. That's a great, but top marks to Joel on that.
Yeah, he's done well.
Thanks very much.
Sometimes he has a mare, but sometimes he doesn't.
Yeah.
Joel, what are you picking for the Hall of Fame? Is this your first ever submission to the Hall of Fame?
It will be, yeah. And you've just sprung it on me, so I had time to think.
You've had about 10 minutes there during the wonderful discussion about running and balls.
I'm doing a jack. Okay. Right, okay. In the office.
Stare at you.
In the
until you
office
figured one out.
yesterday. You know, in the pictures yesterday, you were talking about Jar Jar Binks a little bit. So we were talking about Jar Jar in the office yesterday, and hilarity ensued.
Jar Jar didn't turn up, did he?
No. But we were just making scenarios of like, say Jar Jar had come home from a long, hard day of work. What does he want? Jar Jar drinks. And say Jar Jar's feeling a bit flirty. What does he do? Jar Jar winks. If Jar Jar's come up with a Hall of Fame pick, Jar Jar thinks.
Jar Jar
And
wants
so,
some action in the bedroom. Jar Jar kinks.
Yes. Oh, great one. Yeah.
Jar Jar
Yeah.
has had a wash in a couple of days.
Jar Jar stinks.
Jar Jar
Yes, very good.
stinks.
It's in it fun.
Jar Jar,
So we're
Jar
doing
Jar
just like an
stands in
hour.
some quicksand.
Jar Jar sinks. Jar Jar's eyes are dry.
Jar Jar blinks.
Jar Jar blinks.
It's good in it.
We keep going until we stop. We keep going until we stop.
Jar Jar leads a toast with friends to celebrate a monumental occasion.
Jar Jar drinks.
Jar Jar clinks.
Oh, clinks.
Clinks.
I'm all out.
I'll be honest. I wish I had a bit more time to think.
Jar Jar's balls
It's not the
in
best.
very cold temperature.
Jar Jar shrinks.
Jar Jar shrinks.
Yes.
Jar Jar's a therapist. Jar Jar shrinks.
Yeah.
Nice. Jar Jar needs more minerals in his diet. Jar Jar zincs.
Yeah.
Yes, that's great. You know for a fact this is what people like in the Hall of Fame, Joel. You've played a blinder there.
Yes,
you
good.
scoundrel. So there we
Get
go.
in. I better win.
What do you want it listed as, though? It's a bit of a hard one to list.
Jar Jar thinks, drinks, and winks.
Jar Jar thinks, drinks, and winks. If you know, you know. And if you're on the Patreon, you don't know. Well, you're not listening to this part of the podcast anyway. So I don't know what to say. Tom, what are you going for?
Jar Jar sends a website that he thinks you'd like.
Jar Jar links.
Jar Jar links.
Yeah. It's not bad.
Okay, sorry. I was distracted by that. So I'm going with what is now going to be third. Pat Tanaka, an anxious Pat Tanaka.
An anxious
coming
Pat
out to
Tanaka.
Goldberg's theme.
And I'm going to go for Drew McIntyre. Well, Joel's artwork, hang it in the Louvre. Drew McIntyre kicking Larry the Dog off the top in a Hell in a Cell.
So I've kind of got two chances to win.
Nope, you've got one.
Okay.
Mine is the picture. Mine.
Yeah, fair
You can
enough.
vote for those by going to patreon.com/Cultaholic. Happy voting. Ah.
This is This Week in the Wrestling. It's this bloody week in the wrestling.
Oh, sorry, I've not done the bloody thing again.
There it is. Jar Jar plays a 90s handheld games console made by Atari. Jar Jar links.
Jar Jar likes.
I don't get that one.
It's an Atari links.
Jar
it's,
Jar-
it's another video game one for us.
Jar Jar likes pretty boys. Jar Jar twinks.
Hey. Hey.
Anyone's ever said that?
I just
Really
don't
good
know
one,
that.
that.
No one said that one at all.
No one
during the
said that
break.
one. Anyway, it's time for the Week in Wrestling, everybody. We start off, of course, with SmackDown. Randy Orton is here to let the fans know he's overjoyed to be back in a SmackDown ring, even though, as we all know, normal wrestling fans don't give a hoot what colour the ring ropes are. Randy says there are very few people he trusts in wrestling, but Cody Rhodes is one of them. So Cody making the cult tag with a scoundrel like Roman Reigns is confusing to the Viper. He is Cody, who asks if Randy would rather look like a fool or a coward. Roman has kept his word so far, and Cody has no doubt will do the same on the way to the Bloodline being killed. KO is here, but before he can get a word out, the Bloodline are here as well. Solo Sikoa says that Cody better hope he can trust Roman more than he can the two men in the ring with him. You three have failed to take us out, so acknowledge that, you suckers. In response to this, Kevin Owens asks for a tag match, with Cody saying, yeah, let's have a 6-man tag. Owens, being a petty bitch, of course, says, no, Cody, you've got your match on Saturday with Roman. You concentrate on that. It'll be a 2 versus 2 thing with myself and Randy taking on Jacob and Solo.
Do we think Randy's too big now?
Oh, yeah.
I know he's been eaten, but like he dwarfs everybody now. Like, he is massive.
I don't believe him, when he goes, all I've been doing is eating jars of Nutella, because I've tried that, and I've not got the gains that he's got.
All I've done is eat Nutella, and this is what's happened.
Yeah.
So, Randy Orton, I'd like a refund.
What's the secret, Randy? Please tell us. But he is a big
I think to
boy
work
now.
out as well as just, rather than just sit in your underpants and
Really?
eat Nutella and cry like I normally do.
What about when you put it on your nipple? No, it doesn't matter.
That's where the neighbours complain.
An interesting part from Randy Orton's promo where he says the people he can count on, they can trust on one hand, he can count them on one hand, I should say. What a naughty boy. Where was Kevin Owens' name in that thing
Well,
there?
that's
He
the
can trust
point,
Cody.
innit?
Yeah.
That's the point, innit? We can't trust Kev because Kev's turned on people. But then Randy Orton's turned on his fair number of people as well.
What a hypocrite.
He's one to talk.
Hip-hop anonymous.
Cody looked quite hurt when Kevin Owens said, "No, we're having a match and not you." I'm like, and Cody's like, "Oh, I wanted to have a fight." It's like, just mate, take a day off.
Men are funny, aren't they?
We are funny.
Because Cody's like, would you rather be a fool or a coward? Because you got to be a fool to be a real man. Because you can't say no, because that would be a coward. But to be a fool, that means you're a real man.
Yeah, I was like, I'd rather be an idiot than turn down
real men
teaming
in
with
here.
a bad. Yeah.
Because
We're all fools.
We're all fools, yeah.
Yes, but I'm also a coward.
Yeah, it's interesting how he said he's going to kill the bloodline, though, with Roman. So he's trying to infiltrate with Roman. I think that's what the end goal is.
Break it down from within.
Break it down!
That's our main event anyway. We've got a tag match, and Cody's not allowed to play with the big boys.
How will it end up?
Oh, I mean, as I watched it, I went, I hope we don't get a misunderstanding.
Whoa.
That would be awful.
Jennifer Lopez grabs Sabrina Carpenter by the throat as Nia Jax threatens Tiffy Stratton. If you looked at that scene at the start and didn't think they both looked like, well, Nia looks like J-Lo from the side, Tiffy looks like Sabrina Carpenter. I imagine Andrew Dingle loved this segment.
Yeah, no, I think I hadn't thought of it before, and I laughed when I saw that written down, and I went, actually, yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, there's a Sabrina Carpenter energy about Tiff Strats, and there's very much a J-Lo energy about Nia Jax these days.
She's still Nia from the block.
She is Nia from the block. Do not be fooled by the rocks that she's got.
Yes. Nia says that because of last week's stuff with Naomi and Bayley, if there's a bad ending to this tale for Nia, there'll be a worse one for Tiffy. She's goozling her. It's off the scale there, Tom.
How long until Tiffy finally just goes, briefcase, activate?
We're getting close because the segment ends with a lingering shot on Tiffy going, "Ooh, I'll bash your bloody brains in your slag."
I wish he said that. I wish. I'll bash your brains in your slag.
She'll look proper vengeful. We'll
You'll
have to
have
see
your
what...
guts for garters.
We'll have to see what happens next week on the Smackdown. Next up, we have a Bayley to belly and a Macho Man elbow drop sees Bayley earn the title shot against Nia Jax for bad blood against her friend and surely Tom soon-to-be foe Naomi in a singles match.
I love the Uno gear that Naomi has.
Oh yes.
It's so good. But because on her leg bits, what's it called? Knee pads. But then like the shin pads.
The kick pads.
Kick pads. That was the word I was reaching for. It's got N for Naomi, and then it spells GLOW. It spells glow all down the leg, right?
The glow.
But and glow.
And glow no cante.
Is that what it means? Well,
Yeah.
because the problem is because the OW is on the foot part. I only saw NGL, which is obviously shorthand for not gonna lie, which adds to my wonderful time I've watched SmackDown with all the funny initialisms that are not quite right, like how everyone chants OTC at Roman Reigns, original tribal chief or over the counter. I would say over the counter. This is where I get all my best medicines from. Over the counter, and not gonna lie.
And where you would take Roman Reigns, wouldn't you? Over the
Take it
counter.
right over the counter.
Bend him over the counter.
Right over the
counter. Sorry, everybody.
My favourite Ross is the Ross that will just say something just completely out of whack, and they go, "Sorry, everybody."
Well, it's just disappointing, isn't it? Children watch this, Tom, and I'm going, take Roman Reigns over the counter. Yeah!
It's like there's two versions of you. It's like you got two computers in your head.
Don't compare me to Vince McMahon.
In my head, it's two computers.
I have three brains.
You've got two versions of Ross, and sometimes the one just moves a little bit quicker than the other, and the other's got to catch up. Sorry, everybody.
Yeah.
Or Alexis King this week on NXT. Punk saying he had two Well, what did
Bollocks.
he say? No, he said you can even. There's two.
He's got to work out who he is. And,
Yeah, something like that.
I forget the quote. You got to deal with the genes you were dealt with, or something like that.
Something like
The
that.
quote's written down later on. Anyway, the match I thought was lovely. I thought the lasses laid it in there, despite them opening the scene and making all the fans confused by having damage controls Tron out there for Bailey. That's so 2022,
That is
my
very
guys.
2022, and I hope someone got fired for that blunder.
Do you really?
No, of course I don't.
Gonna say that's not like you. I thought it was a lovely roll through pin attempt off the top rope from Naomi. She sort of transitioned from a bulldog position, bouncy, and then she went wee and rolled her up like a flying squirrel.
Really, they just work really well together. I kind of want to see a feud between these two with a very pronounced heel and a very pronounced face. I'd like that because I reckon this is a very friendly match, but an unfriendly match would be really good.
I'm ready for a Naomi heel turn, me. I think it's time.
Yeah.
Go back to the Team Bad days. Bring back Tamina. We all want it, don't we? But the match had a sort of interesting tale with Bailey not being able to sucker punch her friend at the start before eventually going, I need to win this match, so I better do some wrestling moves to her. But Naomi did look good in defeat as well. She took Bailey to the woodshed for a long time. There was a sunset bomb by Bailey that didn't quite come off properly. That was the only low part if you're going to nitpick, but I know people like to nitpick.
Yeah,
Let's nitpick all the nits.
I didn't want to nitpick it because I really enjoyed it, and the Naomi heel turn was very much teased at the end.
There was a pat on the shoulder, not a definitive like, oh yeah, well done, pal. In glowing heel turn, I've written down. That doesn't work because it's incoming heel turn ? I'll move on. Next up, we have a convoluted cover-up story for the shoot actions of LA Knight and Andrade after their tussle on SmackDown last week. Because Knight went for a fist bump and not a handshake, and then made a mess of the handshake offered by Andrade, Andrade has lost respect for LA Knight. That is the story they're going with. It was definitely realsies in the ring last week after this bollocks here.
I really didn't get it, but okay, that's fine.
That's disrespectful, Tom. That is respectful.
Right.
Rock, paper, scissors. You go for a rock, you're an arsehole. Go for a bit of paper, you're a nice guy.
So really, Andrade's just old school and gone, I won't accept a fist bump. I want to now go back and watch when Andrade has ever done a fist bump.
I won't accept a fist. I'll just accept some fingers. That's what he's saying.
What does scissors mean?
Huh?
If you're doing rock,
means
paper,
you're
scissors,
Max Caster.
You're a dirty bastard.
Okay, sexual.
Scissor me, daddy arse. Like what you used to do with the ladies at night time. String me up and scissor me, mother, you would say to them.
No.
If I was Andrade, if I was offered the fist bump, I'll show you what I do. Put the other fist bump.
Careful now. Ah! Oh!
That's what I'd done.
Oh!
Yeah. Just confused.
All the sand would fall out my hand.
All the sand you were holding. An hourglass, man.
Well, I couldn't help myself by just going, bow. Remember that musical instrument from back in the day? What a great time that was. Bow. Bow.
They were little jars that made noises you turn around. No.
An Australian instrument, I believe. I don't know, I've just made that up, but it sounds like it would be Australian.
Very strange. If you know them, then you know.
Yeah, so they did that cover-up bollocks there.
Did that then.
Which I don't think was a very good story, but there we go. And then we have Carmelo Hayes flying in, like once again, a flying squirrel with the little wings and whatnot. Whee!
that.
And he takes out LA Knight over a crate backstage, and it looks like something's happened to LA Knight, because it did happen, Tom.
Well,
We
it
saw it
did.
with our own eyes.
He
I don't know why I said that.
He got beaten up. So we're transitioning to some sort of three-way shenanigan with these three. I think LA Knight felt a bit rudderless for a little while now. So maybe let's get him a rudder. In the form of getting into the Andrade and Carmelo.
He's got a pair of oars now. He is the boat.
You know, he's the big climbing.
Move over, Natalia. LA Knight's now the boat.
Climb
Carmelo
in.
and Andrade are his little oars.
Climb in LA Knight as
Let's
the
go.
US champ and get him in. You know, get both of you get on my boat and we'll ride off to the sunset.
You say earlier on that this isn't much of a skill to do. This is talk about wrestling, but I disagree after little bits like that.
Well,
we
what
really
people-
are geniuses of our time.
What people don't know is that we've scripted every single bit of this podcast.
Yes, we do. Andrade and Melo.
Sorry, I'm on the wrong page.
Andrade and Melo then have their match, which goes around 16 minutes and 40 seconds of a life. My goodness me, what a great 16 minutes and 48 seconds it was. We have a little bloody roll-up after LA Knight tried to get back at Melo for doing what he did backstage. Instead, the US champion LA thwarted Andrade, who wasn't really keen on him to begin with. But then after the match, Knight goes in for the respectful handshake, not a disrespectful fist bump. And because of what just happened, and because of what happened last week, and because of what happened backstage, Andrade is like, no,
Yeah.
I don't even want it anymore.
Well, that's it now. Andrade's just being a dick about it because, like, LA Knight's obviously tried to correct his error, and Andrade's gone, no, I'm going to judge you on our first interaction, and you have no room to return. which seems a bit silly.
It does, yes, but the match itself was absolutely fantastic. I
Oh,
thought.
there's just dynamite chemistry between these two. It's
You can't
wonderful.
use that word when speaking about the WWE.
Oh, sorry. Oh, there's just collision chemistry between these two. There's just NWA power chemistry between these two. I really like how they work together.
So many highlights. The scoop slam from Andrade on the apron where the top half of his body was through the top and middle rope. And he still did it. He's a bloody wizard.
He's so good. And this is like Hayes finally getting something that's with some meat on the bone, this whole best of series with Andrade.
Really fast-paced match. The two crammed in a hell of a lot. Mello, not... The only bit that I like to put a bit of the yin and the yang, bit of the balance on the scales. The only bit I'm not liking is this is the 6th match of their series. Mello still didn't know to watch out for the moonsault land and then the second moonsault on the landing.
Oh, yeah.
That Andrade does. You got to learn, Mello. You got to look around you and take it in.
That's part of the fun of having those best of 5 matches is that by the 5th one,
You've worked it out.
You've worked out all your guys' counters.
But then he bounces back from that little misdemeanor by reversing a superplex off the top rope into a cutter. My goodness me.
Beautiful.
Thoughts are with the sound people who had to mute the holy poo chants every 2 seconds because they did a wonderful job. And they must have been sitting there going like that all the bloody time. Mello gets the win after LA Knight came in, as we said there.
Yeah.
And then, yes, it looks like a hell of a pickle for LA Knight because he's now got 2 people who don't like him.
Well, I'm looking forward to the triple threat match this will no doubt create.
So am I.
Bring the noise.
Bring the noise!
Bring the action.
Anthrax. Cody Rhodes arrives at the KO and RKO's locker room and he says to Kev, "We need to talk there, pal." Owens comes up with some bollocks about getting ready for his match later on, so he pies Cody off before walking out a shot. Orton, without telling Owens, says that they could do with Cody being on standby just in case the Tongans come out to help Jacob in the solo later on in that tag team match. Cody accepts, but crucially, Tom, nobody's told Kevin.
Which I thought was eerily similar to what happened with the New Day.
Yes,
on
it
Raw
is.
the other week, where they went, "Oh, I haven't told you about the thing that I'm going to do." Just communication.
The more weeks we sit here doing this in the Triple H era, the more crossover there is between NXT and Raw and SmackDown and all which other ways.
It seems like there's like a template for stories, and baby faces miscommunicating seems a very popular Triple H trope.
Yes. Another trope is a package. Triple H's package, to be precise.
He does like a package.
He loves a package. This package saw AJ Styles go, here, 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 here. He's coming back. They played little vocal bits of his theme, which was quite nice, isolated from the tune itself.
As opposed to the actual song, you just had the vocals from the thing. And we all went, "Oh, we know what that is. That is Alan."
I'm a little Mack truck, beep, beep. That's what it said. He's back next week anyway, is AJ Styles. What do you reckon he'll do, Tom?
I think, I was originally going to say getting back in there in the mix with a guy like Cody, but it feels like Cody's very busy now.
Oh, you busy boy.
He's very busy. I would have then said LA Knight, but then LA Knight's a very busy boy now. They've already had their business anyway, so they don't need to repeat that. I'm trying to think who else is around. I mean, I don't think you need any extra bodies for the Bloodline feud at all. But whether or not we maybe, after the inevitable triple threat, maybe we get Carmelo and AJ. Maybe we start moving towards there in some way, shape, or form. Because I quite like the idea of AJ being used to bring up a new guy.
I hope he comes back and says, "By God, I'm retiring again. I've been out for so long, I've just realised what's wrong with me." And then Pretty Deadly come out and say, "Well, sir, if you're retiring, we have a thing for you. Pretty Deadly the musical, starring AJ Styles."
Oh, so Pretty Deadly.
It's what we want to happen.
Wow.
There's zero chance of it happening. But could you imagine AJ Styles front and centre of stage singing Les Miserables?
I mean, but there's something about maybe Pretty Deadly being the ones that confront
That's
AJ.
not Tom.
Why not? Why not?
Because AJ's cool.
Yeah, but he can put his cool on the Yes Boy.
He would in my will, but I can't see Triple H going for it.
He's got the hair for it.
He bloody
fits in
well
well.
has
Exactly.
there. And so do you, Joel.
Thank you so much.
Should be in the Hall
He
of
must
Fame.
go to
but
hoi
he's not.
polloi as well. No, I don't see. No, I don't want him to team with them. I want him to fight them.
Fight them? Oh,
Yeah.
that's a shame.
That'd be a good time.
I'm struggling to think of who he'll face because, yeah, as you said, the people you've mentioned there are all tied up in feuds.
Can you bring up the SmackDown roster for us, Joel?
Sure can.
Just because off the top of my head, I can't think ever. And I'd be intrigued to see who on that roster is healthy.
I reckon there's a chance he might go to TNA because that's
Oh.
isn't SmackDown in Nashville next week
It
or
is
this week,
indeed.
tomorrow night, tonight. This is when the podcast goes live.
It is in Nashville.
And last night,
Trashville, if you're Chelsea.
well, I guess you'll know if it's true by the time this podcast goes live because TNA's tonight in Trashville, isn't it?
It is indeed. Oh, so you think he might pop over?
He might pop over. They're in town.
No, I think if they're going to put AJ on, I think they'll put AJ on at Bound for Glory.
Yeah.
I think they'll do a big thing there. Okay, so in terms of the roster, then obviously A-Town Down Under are in there. They're on NXT, but then they've got to come back at some point, haven't they?
Baron Corbin. Get him in there.
Corbin's not done anything in a while.
He's a great guy. Lovely coffee. What else is there?
Giovanni Vinci.
Oh, bless him.
No, he's had a time, and he.
Triple H just thinks he's a guy to put over other people when we all know he's a sexy Italian model.
Do we reunite Styles, Gallows, and Anderson?
Oh, no. I think the Good Brothers have had their day. They've been whizzle-wazzled by Hank and Tank 2 weeks in a row on NXT.
Whizzle and indeed Wazzle.
There really isn't
Yeah.
anyone.
There's not, is there?
No.
Maybe Triple H will have another match. He won't have another match. I've just said absolute nonsense there again.
I can't see who
Yeah, there is.
on that
going
roster is busy or in the right position. Cedric.
God, the intrigue's off the scale here.
I mean, yeah, I'm looking at maybe some of the young. Maybe Vinci comes out and goes, "I'll beat you," and then he loses dead quick. But then what's
Hair
the point?
versus hair match. Yeah.
What's the point in bringing him?
Bring Wade back out of retirement.
Well, I think he's getting warmed up for Drew in a little couple of months' time.
Is this where we bring back Nakamura? Do we do an AJ Nakamura thing again?
Is he
I'll
on,
fight you, but this time I won't focus on your dick and balls.
Is he on Raw, Nakamura?
No, he's SmackDown.
Oh, was he there?
He was just there.
He's listed on the SmackDown side.
Oh, I missed him.
Michael Cole.
So he is.
Who knows? We'll have to see what happens tonight.
Does
on
he take the
SmackDown.
briefcase from Tiffany Stratton?
No. Machine defeats Piper Niven, who had Chelsea Green in her corner with a really smelly trash can, by the way, thanks to an eat defeat in a match that went 1 second over the 9 minute and 56 seconds mark.
I
goodness
love
me.
the Chelsea Green skit
Yeah.
of her preparing for her dumpster match.
Well, she's training on Machine's home turf, which is bins, because she is trash and or a bin.
So good.
Very good.
I'm glad we're getting a dumpster match in 2024.
Oh, yeah. Michael Cole loves it. You see him last week doing and Chelsea Green's going to get slammed into that bin. Oh, my God, I can't wait to see her physically harmed. Machine and Piper both got their stuff in there. I thought Piper looked sensational all the way through this match, even though she lost. We had the cannonball off the apron to the floor, the big pounce, the big boss man slam. The way she sold the crucifix bomb from Machine as well was fantastic. She's so very good, Piper Niven, and it pains me in the behind, Tom, how little they use her.
Well, she's become potentially this sort of like a jobber to the stars type person, like this monster heel that you face en route to doing something grander. And I think that's a role that she's sort of nestled into now. Like people will like she's a big unit to overcome as a performer, but it's seen as like a big win on the way to another big opponent.
Yeah, you just see the performance she put in here, and you just think, why wouldn't you use her more? Because she has got that presence. She can cut a promo when she's allowed to.
Yeah.
And she made a good point on Twitter. The only way you get used to a different sound and accent is to hear it a bit more.
Yeah, so there's no excuse to not put her out there more. But I had no doubt that Mission was going to beat her, especially with the Chelsea Green dumpster match on the horizon.
Yeah, nice way with the finish as well, with the smelly trash can getting used. Piper went into it, didn't she?
And as she was coming into the ring, she got an eat defeat, and they kind of swooped her in that way, which I thought was
Machine's on fire as well, as because we say every week, her performances go under the radar because she is just used in a variety of roles on SmackDown and in NXT, and she nails it every time, whatever she's doing.
This is probably the best we've seen of Mishin.
Yes, indeed,
Yes,
Tom.
Queen.
Here.
Here.
Bailey apologizes to Naomi for beating her clean in a stand-up professional wrestling match. Naomi says Bailey isn't sorry, because she wouldn't be sorry if she had won the match as well, which I thought was quite a nice, like, ooh, is she? But she's not at this point. The pair have a little awkward, come here, I love you, really, before Tiffany Stratton arrives in the scene and seemingly, in my opinion, makes Naomi question the decision to get into professional wrestling at all. The way Naomi went, oh my God! when Tiffany was arriving, was absolutely fantastic. Eventually, a match between the pair, Tiffany and Naomi, that is, appears to be made for next week's show.
I sat next to Naomi on the Impact tour bus.
Oh, what does she smell like?
She smelled lovely. She smelled lovely, and we had a little cheeky bit of did we have vodka?
Cocaine?
No, that was the other night. No, we had vodka.
Feel the blow.
Oh, it's not bad.
We had a nice bit of vodka, and
How much?
A couple of glasses. It's nice. It was nice.
What measures is she? What's a Naomi measure?
Oh, it wasn't like a ludicrous amount.
Because I've got a
It wasn't.
twaddle measure, and everyone goes, "Oh, that's too strong."
What's the twaddle measure? Show me the twaddle measure.
Half.
Oh no, less than. Pint.
Do you remember that Christmas party we had in the games thing?
Because Ross doesn't.
Yeah. We had the honey Jack Daniels there. And little Owen, bless him, he doesn't drink too often, does he? And he was like, I'll have a go with the honey Jack Daniels. All right, I'll fix you one up, Owen. And I gave him a twaddle measure.
Oh, no.
Bless him. He couldn't do it.
Was that
that's
why he
not
was
very
bad the
nice.
rest of the night?
he
He
couldn't
had a
do it.
twaddle measure. Oh, bless
I
it.
thought it'd be all right because it's honey and it's sweet, but you gave him a lot.
But this segment, though, what else is there to say about it? It looks like Tiffy is still on the side of Nia in this segment here, but we know that she's not. I believe they call it dramatic irony, Tom.
Dramatic irony.
Yes.
She's like bronzy, but made of iron.
She's a poo stirrer. A poo stirrer, let me tell you. In your main event of the evening, Cody Rhodes cost Kevin Owens the chance to get a pinfall win over Solo Sikoa in the tag match. Kevin hits the stunner. He goes for the pin. Jacob Fatu pushes Cody into the referee, which means he's not counting nothing, that referee, or anything, or nothing, which then allows the turns to be turntables to be turned, as Michael Scott said once upon a time. And then with a couple of super kicks later, Jacob Fatu gets the win over Kevin Owens. Kevin is beside himself after the bell. Randy Orton's having to hold him back. Then just as the show is going off the air, it looks like Randy Orton says, "Hey, Kevin, I told Cody to be here." And Kevin's like, "Oh, that's all right then."
And they have a little, and then Cody and Kev have a little hug at the end. I get the refs are made of like kitchen roll in general, but it was like Cody got rolled into the ring and hit the ref on the leg, and the ref was like, "Ah!" It was far too dramatic for what actually was. The ref had far too good crumple physics.
It was like the ref was a giraffe.
And they just kneecapped the giraffe.
Yeah.
Ah!
Imagine it. This might be an Adamism. This how Adam can easily pick up all the dogs.
Yes.
I reckon I could knock over a not fully grown giraffe, but an adolescent giraffe. I reckon I could push
a
over.
teenage giraffe.
A teenage
When you
giraffe.
say knock
mental.
over,
Do you reckon?
No, not
If
at
I
all.
could get there without getting kicked in the face, I reckon I could push it over.
Not a chance.
Not a chance.
Giraffes are massive.
Yeah,
They
but
are
they're very
big.
like way.
Yeah, they're quite top heavy.
Yeah.
so what you need is to be able to go in and just smack them. But mind you say they're top heavy.
Oh, the
They've got a
bottom
long
heavy, I
neck,
suppose.
but they've got a thick base.
But the
Yes.
legs are like little like.
Yeah, I think you could dirty tackle one of the legs from a giraffe, and the giraffe would go down.
I'd have to go from behind so it didn't see me coming.
Yeah.
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 Bend the giraffe over the counter.
Sorry, everybody. Do you know what? Yeah, do you know what? I think Ross, you could take out a giraffe.
Cheers, Tom. Thank
Sorry,
you for
man.
the belief in me.
No,
I'll go and try
fist-
on the way home.
Fist bump. Oh, how disrespectful. Burp.
Jacob Fatu was made to look like the dog's bollocks again in this match.
Always,
I thought. Not
always.
only getting the better of Randy Orton, but no selling the first table bump that Randy Orton likes to do to people who aren't from America. I said that. I'm just thinking about the Singh brothers back in the day when he murdered them on the announce table.
Oh yeah. If you're international, then you're going on the table.
You are. Oh, you're getting bent over the table.
Yeah.
Whereas Solo Sikoa, he takes one bump on the table and he's wiped out the massive softie in
He's
comparison.
crap.
Is that
done with him.
Is that a general comment or
General, I mean, I've been very vocal. I think he's crap. He's
just
crap.
the street champ of NXT? You can't talk about the street champ
He's
like that.
crap. And all that's happened is Jacob Fatu's turned up, and it's made him look even crapper.
He has.
It really has. Did you? And this is the first time I noticed this at the end of SmackDown. And forgive me if it's been on there for a bit. This is the first time I think ever they listed executive producers.
It happened on the season premiere. It's a new thing they've done
I
since
stand
the-
correct. I missed it
Yeah.
last time. Then I missed it last time.
It
But
is
I
fairly
like,
new,
I
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
I like it. It's like back in the old days when a WCW pay-per-view ended and they had like credits like a film. And I always thought, well, that seems weird.
We know who to blame now.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting. I don't know if it'll be a permanent thing because obviously Triple H was at NXT this week. He was listed as a producer alongside Chef Michaels and some other fella.
Lee Fitting.
Lee Fitting. Ooh,
Very
suits you,
fitting.
sir.
Lee Fitting.
What else is about the match? The main story of the match, still going back to it, was the bloodline hanging on. The first bit was of the way the Tongans come. The first bit of the match was them hanging on. Then the Tongans came out and the turn to tables. The tables turned. So they did there, Tom.
The tables did turn. How turntables the tables turned.
Yeah, as we mentioned earlier, I've written it down on my notes here, so I'll say it. It felt like we're redoing the Raw bit with Woods and Kofi and communication. Kofi is Randy Orton, who asked Cody, the LWO, to be out there to help Xavier Woods, who is Kevin Owens in this instance.
Yeah.
It writes itself there, Tom.
It has literally written itself
Yeah.
because it was already written when someone handed it in.
Yeah, but it looks
I
like
think SmackDown are just copying Raw's homework.
yeah, it looks like KO came round in the end, but who knows what might happen at the PLE this weekend? Could we see a Kevin Owens turn?
Kev is, I think Kev's going to turn at some point. I think actually, but the thing is like the heel main bit of SmackDown is just all bloodline. So I don't know where Kev would fit. Unless he moves to Raw and becomes a heel on Raw.
Do you want to see him turn heel? Because I was talking to Aidan Gibbons the other day, and he says he don't want to see Kev as a heel again.
I want to see Kevin. I'm ready.
I think he does his best work as a heel. Doesn't he? Yeah.
I think he's great as a face, where he's a bit of like a post-ironic face.
I've got a bit sick of it though. Oh, he's not as much of a badass, is he?
Yeah, but he's like the modern day Mick Foley. He's the everyday man who can take an ass kicking and give one out as well.
Yeah, but he's not prime KO. Remember when he debuted and took out Cena? That was prime KO.
That was mate. That was prime
see
KO.
that again.
Like Harley Race, but with a scent on.
I've been the champion 29 times. Luthez thinks I'm too much.
Did you catch AEW Collision Grand Slam?
I caught Hangman Page and Jeff Jarrett.
Of course you did.
Banger of a match.
Did you bend yourself over the counter for that?
That is indeed the match that we booked on Cultaholic, so thank you. I mean, Tony didn't book it at Wembley, as the song suggested he should, but it happened. Jeff Jarrett is an anomaly because in his prime years, it was like he was very much disregarded by a lot of mainstream wrestling fans. You know, that 2000s run in WCW, where it was like, oh, they pushed him too much. Now, in this sort of twilight run, this Indian summer of Jeff Jarrett, can't get enough of him.
Yeah,
People love him. And the comebacks that he had in these matches were just like, the crowd are into him. The crowd want to see Jarrett do well. Like I think it speaks to how good Jeff is.
Yeah, because I remember when he first joined AEW, I was like, what? Jeff Jarrett in the revolution of professional wrestling? This doesn't fit. But then the more he's gone on, that role he had at the start where he was obviously not fitting in with what the mantra of the company was. So when he was getting on the brink of beating someone who was fitting the mantra of the company, it was like, oh my God, you can't do this. So that dread, it worked really well. But this natural babyface turn he's been doing recently, just by being entertaining whatever role he's been given, it's been nice to see.
I think he's a frustrating anomaly for AEW because obviously they said, hey, we're going to put you in the Owen Hart tournament. Can you do just a little promo about it? And he cuts this phenomenal promo and they go, well, Jeff needs to win. Like, why would you not have? And I genuinely feel like they had to really retrofit to make Jeff work in that. It's somehow get him into the finals.
Yeah, he should have won after that promo, but I get why they couldn't, because the stipulation they had on at the time.
But this ties up Jarrett and Hangman because, as we find out from Dynamite, Hangman's going on to other things, and Jarrett is going to wait for his call once again.
And it ties up Juice Robinson as well, by the neck.
Yes, indeed. That was a spicy bit at the end of that one. Juice getting hanged by the Hangman.
Yeah, but no liquid was produced. You would think with a thing being tied around his neck, it would just juice would come. You know, when you squeeze an orange, juice goes anywhere. When you squeeze a Juice Robinson, nothing came out.
Just like summer fruit squash pouring out of his face.
He's dry inside.
Elsewhere, aren't we all?
Maybe. Not you today. Look at the size of that bottle.
Yeah.
My God. Elsewhere, the Saraya Rules match was fun, I thought. I liked the concept of just it all being weighted in Saraya's favour, and it blew up in her face. Poor Harley Cameron, who took that table bump on I Am the Table.
Poor flipping Jamie Hayter, who took a VHS player to the head. Jeez, who thinks she is? Rory Coyle. From the last two, Sick Boy.
I don't think she thinks she is Rory Coyle.
She probably did afterwards, getting banged on the head like that. Yeah, it was a good bit of silly bollocks for Saraya. But I think the reason the reason that Saraya is still in AEW is because of Harley Cameron.
Oh, bro, she's very entertaining.
Harley Cameron is
do work well together.
Magnificent.
I get there's a lot of baggage with Saraya, and that's understandable. But her and Harley on camera, when you try and forget everything that is her life, they are entertaining together, I think.
Cameron's fantastic.
And elsewhere on the show, we saw Billy Gunn getting the 2015 Sting reveal treatment under the canvas in the ring with MXM, obviously.
Yeah, MXM Collection and The Acclaimed.
Yeah, he's meant to be Hans, who was meant to be modelling Max Caster's new jacket.
Yes.
The cover comes off, and as Billy Gunn, he puts an ass whipping on those boys.
I'm cheering for MXM.
So am I.
Yeah, I don't know whether that was what they intended.
Great fashionistas.
Yeah, they're just really entertaining lads as well. Possibly the best part of Ring of Honor at the moment. And that has been the best part of Ring of Honor in quite some time.
Especially last night, it's what's at you now. The news coming out of the show was injuries galore.
Oh, there was a lot. Yeah, there was a lot
Sammy
of bad.
Guevara, Lady Frost's opponent, I saw as well, which is a shame. These things happen in wrestling shows, though, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Not to give people license to go, well, of course this would happen at this mud show. Cowboy thing. No.
People get injured. And we send our best.
It's not ballet, which I don't like as a saying because ballet dancers' feet are absolutely ripped to shreds.
Ballet is rough.
It is. Up the ballet dancers.
Up the ballet dancers.
What we should say is this isn't wrestling podcasting. Because that is easy.
Not podcasting.
Over to WWE Raw we go. Jey Uso kisses his little boy in the face as he heads to the ring for a championship celebration of sorts after his big win against Bron Breakker on last week's show. Jey promises to fight whoever every single week and says he's always just been a twin, but now he's a singles champion, and gets emotional while speaking about his mom who believed in him, which I thought was... While you're sitting through that bit of the show, you're like, oh my God, he's choking. He's 8-miling this bitch. Because it's a bit awkward. It's a bit like, oh, what are you trying to say here, Jey? Nothing's really coming out. Then he takes the glasses off. You see the emotion. He speaks about his mom, and it felt real.
But that's partly why Jey is doing so well at the moment. He is a very relatable guy. And it was the bit for me, as he came out, all the people around him, he had his son with him at the start, and then he comes through the crowd, and then he's on the turnbuckle with the belt, and the crowd are doing this, and it's just a reminder, he is a star.
Yeah.
He is a star on that show.
That's what we were saying last week. Like it feels a bit weird that Bron Breakker hasn't taken it seriously for the second match in pretty much quick succession after the one against Sammy where he lost as well. And having someone like him lose 2 big matches very early on, it feels weird. But losing to someone like Jey, when you see the reaction he gets, it makes all the sense in the world.
I wonder whether they put the world title on Jey at some point.
I think Bron's going to get the shot before Jey.
Yeah.
As we find out on this Raw.
As we will find out on this week's Raw.
Dun, dun, dun. Bron Breakker then heads to the ring and says, I'm not here to spear you, Jey. I'm here to congratulate you, pal. The best man should walk out of the ring as champion, says Bron. And after last week, Jey was the better man. The pair shake hands, and Uso seemingly signifies a proper Bron Breakker face turn as he says there's plenty of dogs barking in Evansville, Indiana. Beep, 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 beep. That's what the dogs sound like there, I imagine.
I nearly nominated Bron Breakker's smile for the Hall of Fame. Because he just did this lovely, warm, baby face smile. Because it's like he was clearly very happy with how much people love him in Indiana. And yeah, babyface Bron Breakker. Still keep all that energy, still keep all that explosiveness, but just...
He just attacks the heels now instead of the baby
He just
faces.
beats up the baddies now instead of the goodies.
So I was saying this on the news the other day, wasn't it? That he has been a babyface in promo for a little while
You
now.
did
He has
say
been
that.
getting the dogs barking for a while, but now it looks like instead of spearing heels, you'll be spearing baby faces and just keep it the same and it'll work. Mm-hmm. Yeah!
Yes, Queen.
It was a good opening segment though, wasn't it? It was all right.
Really good. New IC title belt as well.
The blue, the flashes of blue, they looked lovely, I thought.
Similar to the version of the IC title that Umaga held. Someone did on Twitter, they did a contrast.
That's putting two things together that are slightly similar, but they don't link at all.
They don't, I know. Someone put them two together and went, oh, that's nice.
The storytelling.
Because I'd forgotten that the IC title used to have those little flecks of blue on it, and they put them back on.
They are a big improvement because that new Intercontinental title design when it was just gold and black looked
Garbage.
Looked a bit like... It looked a bit cheap, didn't it?
Like a trinket.
Like a trinket.
Like a pittance.
Like a $2 Joel friend.
Whoa.
Oh, you know.
Whoa. Where are we going now? Dom and Liv love his car so much.
It's a sick ride,
It's a sick ride, but thankfully for the network executives at USA, the pair didn't decide to do their own sick ride with each other. Yeah! Yes, mammy, he would say. Nobody has seen Finn Balor today, but as if by magic, he's on the blower to Dom because he's having travel issues. Thankfully for the USA network executives at USA, Liv Morgan isn't on a different kind of blower. That doesn't matter. Finn tells Dom to tell Liv the business has been taken care of.
Lucky for the USA networks, it's not a different type of business for Liv Morgan. Sex.
What kind of business are they talking about, Tom? Aight, as
Sex.
Finn said. It felt like a GTA cutscene, this. With the lowrider, the pimp Dom, the lovely lady Liv Morgan, Finn Balor on the phone saying, aight.
It felt very street.
Yo,
Like they
Finn-
were street rats.
Yeah, and Dom was like, yo, Finn, are you good, fam? And I really enjoyed the delivery of that line there. Because he knows it doesn't fit, and he did it anyway.
I feel like then, if it's to complete the GTA look, they should have got in the car and listened to Laszlo as they were driving around the city.
Get those hydraulics on, baby. But yeah, the business has been taken care of. I can't even work out what happened by the end of the show, what business he's talking about. Does he mean just him pretending he wasn't going to be there and then being there?
In typical wrestling style, they've gone, all right, lads, here's the plan, right? Finn, pretend that you're having travel issues. And then later on, when we're having a match, just come up and go, I wasn't really, and then just lightly hit someone.
Business.
That's the business.
Aight.
I love wrestling. It's nonsense.
Boom! Xavier Woods capitalizes on what he reckons was an accidental unmasking of Rey Mysterio to roll up the little luchador in 7 minutes and 34
Little luchador.
luchador.
The biggest little man.
Yes, the biggest little man, but also the littlest big man, Rey Mysterio, in a match that went around 7 minutes 34. Woods again, Tom, dressed all in black.
Yeah.
The subtext. Why Matthew doesn't roll up his notes like this to point, I don't get, because it's wonderfully powerful. The subtext here is off the scale.
This was not an accident.
No.
To the point where they basically got into the spot twice.
Yeah.
To make sure that he could hook the mask and go, "Whoop-a-doo. Didn't mean to do that. Sorry, everybody.
But there is a day, obviously, the story is here. Xavier Woods went to capitalize on the unmasking instead of doing what the New Day would have done way back in the day, backed off, let Ray put the mask back on, and then have a stand-up tussle. Instead, Xavier Woods went for the roll-up, and he got the win like an ultimate opportunist would there, Tom.
Naughty Xavier Woods.
Like your boy Xavier Woods. Rated R, like your boy Xavier Woods. Ultimate opportunist. It's all coming together.
Oh, is he?
Xavier Woods is edging.
Aren't we all?
Yeah.
Woods coming out to Metal Ingus next week, confirmed.
But Rey Mysterio as well. Shout out to him. That little luchador. The little engine that could.
Little luchador.
Because my God, he continues to defy science every single time he wrestles. He's got 17 new knees. He's like that broom that Trigger used to have on Early Fools and Horses.
He is the Trigger's broom of wrestling.
And he's had these stem cells put in, and my God, they work because he's fantastic.
Why are we
still.
not funding this? He continues to defy the odds. Like to mention it again, the classic Nitro review that me and Sam do. We just had a spell where Rey Mysterio was out with injuries to his knees, and even in the Observer at the time they said it may limit his career somewhat. That was in 1997,
Bloody
and
hell.
here we are.
Up the stem
Up
cells.
the stem cells.
Climb those stemmy cells and put them in you. You see what my brain's done there, Tom? Is seen
I
the
can't
word.
wait till you have a beer in a bit.
Has seen the word stem and thought of a plant. So you climb those stemmy cells.
So you're
but you-
climbing a plant.
But you put the stem cells in you because that's what you do with stem cells. And I've put those two together, much like the person who linked the Umaga Intercontinental title thing with Jey Uso. There's just two things that are similar but don't work together.
Two of these things are not like the other.
Shayna Baszler and Sonya Deville take the piss out of Lyra Valkyria. That is Lyra Valkyria for having no friends. I shouldn't say that. I feel bad.
Yeah, we've got no friends this week, so who are we to talk?
Lyra Valkyria for having no friends, which means she's going to be all alone for a match against the PFC Zoe Stark. We learn that Shayna doesn't bite unless Sonya tells her to. So this what?
It was your eyes then. They went manic.
Oh, the hat's off.
Filthy.
The hat's off. What's happened?
There was a spider on my hat.
Really?
Yeah.
I've heard about the legend of the spiders in this little room.
I've been noticing one crawling around this room, yeah. It's just landed on my hat. It's gone now.
Let me hit it with a... I don't care about spiders. Are
was
you
a-
scared of spiders?
No, I'm all right with spiders. I'm a spider catcher general in my house.
What's your big thing?
My big... it's not that big. It depends, really.
It's not big at all.
I
It
know.
didn't even reach me when I was bent over the counter.
You've been talking to my wife, haven't you?
No, your big fear in life.
My
Mine's
big fear?
claustrophobia for me.
Probably dying and loneliness. Nah, I ain't afraid of dying. I'm ready to go. My biggest fear.
You can't joke about that sort of thing on a
I
podcast.
think it's fine. Oh gosh, I think losing loved ones. That sounds really dark, but it's like, yeah, I think losing loved ones is my
Well,
biggest
let me
fear.
tell you, as an expert in that, it's bloody horrible.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. This will lighten the tone, right? So Sonya there won't
All my
bite.
family's dead.
Won't travel next. Won't bite until Sonya tells her to. Video did the rounds this week on my socials, which was Dana Brooke oiling up Sonya Deville
As in
backstage.
Roman Reigns drives past.
And Roman Reigns drives past, giving it the side eye. Like he was ready to risk it all for this. I was like,
He's like Joel watching some rugby league, as we learned last week on the podcast. Because Joel loves, and I quote, the rough and tumble.
I do like the
is that
rough
on your Tinder?
Yeah.
Like a bit of the rough and tumble.
No, you can't say it like, you got to say it like the rough and tumble.
Rough and tumble.
Love the rough and tumble.
Didn't mean to last week, but that's how it came out of his mouth. It was a wonderful moment. I'll cherish forever.
Love the rough
But yeah, the story is here that Natalia and Zelina Vega are not here to help Lyra Valkyria, so she's all alone. I reckon she'll be just as good, well off, to be honest with you.
I think because they've been about as useful as a chocolate teapot. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Backstage now, Kofi Kingston wants to know if the mask pull was purposeful from Xavier Woods. Words is like, no, nah, mate, no, nah, never. And why aren't you congratulating me for beating one of the goats? One of the goats called Little Luchador Rey Mysterio.
Little Luchador.
Kofi does eventually congratulate his pal, then reveals that Jey Uso offered Kofi an IC title match, but because he's a jam-up guy like El Dandy, Kofi has given the shot to Woods. This shuts up Xavier Woods because in that moment he was like, oh, well, I guess I'll be at the side of Kofi Kingston like I always am. Then he hears the news that Kofi's given him the shot, and Woods is like, well, Kofi, I would love to be at ringside for your match with Chad Gable later on. It would be my distinct pleasure and honor.
Oh, they're not splitting up the New Day.
They are potentially, because lingering in the background, everybody, it's the Grim Reaper himself. Emphasis on grim. Karrion Kross is stood there going, my master plan's coming to fruition. I've been talking to Xavier Woods now. He might be turning diddler. He might be not turning diddler. Who knows?
The Grim Diddler.
The Grim Diddler.
The Grim Diddler, Karrion Kross.
So what do you make of this segment, Tom? I liked how Xavier Woods was hamming it up like a heel, but also not going full heel.
Yeah, they are painting it with very delicate brushstrokes, and I really like it. And they further it a bit later on as well. I still don't want Woods and Kofi to. They're going that way.
No, I don't want
Even
it
for a
either.
little bit, I don't want it. I don't think there is value in Kofi versus Woods on pay-per-view. I think there's value in these two getting very close to coming to loggerheads and then Big E turning up and banging their heads together.
Yeah!
Yeah! Getting bent over the table. Yeah! Bang their heads together.
I think that might happen because you can't have all the heel turns happen, can you? Like Xavier looks like he's going to turn, and Naomi does, and Kevin Owens does. Like they can't all.
Can't turn everyone heel. Triple H.
Yeah.
I know you love being heel.
They can't all be
Can't turn everyone heel.
baiting. What is it? Bait and bait.
Bait and bait,
Yeah,
yeah.
they can't all be
A
that.
fed herring.
Yeah, that's what
some
it
might
means.
call it in the trade.
Fed herring.
Yeah, I think that's a Jack the Jobberism.
That's brilliant.
He went to Durham University, you know.
Fed herring. I love that.
That's where you learn the wordplay like that. But yeah, hopefully Kofi Kingston and Xavier would stay together. Because obviously the benefit of Xavier turning heel is then Karrion Kross being right. And he's warped the mind like a little worm. Ooh,
Wormy the worm back again.
But again, I agree with me and Tom did a news video the other day where we sort of lambasted Karrion Kross and how he's been presented on our television screens because it hasn't been very complimentary for him.
You have a destructive force of a tag team. You have one of the greatest managers of an entire generation. You have a very capable wrestler and an extremely attractive woman. But let's all stand behind the blandest man in the room.
And the comments was like, the disregard for Karrion Kross is disgusting. And in that moment, I realised I'm now fully out of touch with what wrestling fans want from their characters.
I felt like that when I remember watching The Invasion and they got
Was
to...
Lou Thursday you were watching when you thought you were out of touch?
Yeah, when I watched Luther's and I went, they did an arm drag and spun a little bit. He's ruined it for me. But there was The Invasion. I remember being a fan at that point. Everyone going, "Oh, this is rubbish." And then the clip there's a clip that does the round every so often on Facebook and Twitter now, which is the final SmackDown moment before Survivor Series 01. And all the comments are like, yeah, back when wrestling was good. Yeah, when wrestling was the best. I was like, no. I lived through that bit. It weren't the best. Don't do this to me. And then since then, there's been a whole other decade of people sharing clips from 2010 going, yeah, when wrestling was good. I was like, no, that's even worse. What are you doing?
I love the guest.
Yeah.
the guest host of Raw.
Anonymous general manager was peak. No, it wasn't.
Nostalgia's a powerful thing.
Nostalgia ain't what it used to be, Joel.
Wise words there from the Oracle, Joel Holland. The Oracle.
We've been Joeled again.
We have been Joeled. Next up, we have a shoot running knee on the apron helped Zoe Stark get the job done against Lyra Valkyria in a match that surpassed 7 minutes. After the match, the PFC beatdown is stopped by the Cowie Girls, even though Caden Carter, in what I thought was a really funny moment, didn't mind that her partner was being choked out really hard by Shayna Baszler.
Down the ring.
Yeah, he just walks across the ring and just leaves her
Just
alone.
waiting for my next spot. Do-do-do-do-do. Here it is.
The segment ends with a shoot double drop, I like to call it. I think they call it the cake stand in reality, but I like drugs. I don't like drugs at all. I don't take any, honestly.
You should. It's brilliant. You get so much work done.
But the Cowie girls, they go to festivals. They obviously take the drugs. Their tag team finisher should be called the double drop, especially when all they do is drop Katana Chance on a fool.
They could call it whatever they want because the crowd went mild when they came out. I'm going to be honest.
I feel bad for them because
I feel bad for them.
Two very good wrestlers having a good television wrestling match. Like Zoe got her stuff in there. Lyra was being a ballsy babyface. Zoe with the springboard missile drop kick is always a highlight because she always nails it. Then the numbers game get involved. I guess that's a bit like, oh, we've seen this one play out before, haven't we, with these people here? And then, yeah. Why did the Cowie girls wait until after the match to help their friend?
That's a really good question. That is a very good question. I guess to get the pop. We're still waiting for it, and it's now Friday.
The only pop they got was popping the Cowies down. Down the hatches, Mary Poppins.
Get that pop. Get them poppers going, kids. Take pop one of them and
Don't
go and
take poppers.
Get yourself to the discotheque. Don't do poppers, actually. Get yourself to the discotheque and have a drug.
Don't they do things to you?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they. Yeah. No. I thought we all knew that. We're all grown ups here. Joel told me. Joel told me before we started. Weirdly out of context.
But yeah, the keg stand, the double drop, as I like to call it, was rough as balls because Katana's legs shoot land on Sonya Deville and basically cut her in half, much like when Darth Maul was cut in half in episode 1. A great film. Which I watched for the first
time. The ultimate Star Wars film.
Yeah, I mentioned it in every single video I'm in this week because I watched it for the first time in about 24 years last Thursday night. What a great time it was.
Are you going to watch all of them in a row now?
Nope. I've seen the one I want to see.
You don't want to see any more of the lore? No.
After I learned that Anakin Skywalker turns into who he turns into, so he basically shagged his own mum, I'm not a fan of that. I don't think that's right.
He didn't.
Have I misremembered it again?
A little bit, yeah.
What happens to Anakin when he grows up?
He becomes Darth Vader.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But the father's absent, so he shagged his own mum.
What?
We had this discussion last week, and it was solidified that
I'm not 100% on the law. I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan, but I don't think that's right.
I don't think he did his mum. I don't think. I feel like there'd be more outcry.
Are you sure, Tom?
I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like there'd be more said about it.
Leia and Luke had something, didn't they?
There was a bit of a romance thing, then they realised they were brother and sister and stopped having the romance thing immediately.
Anything's on the table if they get incest involved.
It's space.
They're not
you
even,
do what you like.
No, they can't even bring the cousin thing out. They're brother and sister, you say?
It's space. The rules are different in space, apparently.
Tatooine, am I right?
Yeah, tatter something or other.
In space, no one can hear you scream.
Jesus Christ, that was ominous.
Is that on your Tinder?
When you see me when you see me,
it's a rough and tumble in space.
No one can hear you scream with some rough and tumble.
Yeah, never put in space. No one can hear you scream on your Tinder, especially if you list your job as astronaut.
Next up, after we see CM Punk paying tribute to Freddie Mercury, pairing a slicked back haircut with some white jeans and a sleeveless white t-shirt, Adam Pearce is talking to people, telling them to keep Braun versus Bronson in the ring. It's a wonderful segment that told us so much, not only about the future of WWE, but also about the future of the world itself. We learned so much here. It was a really good, really purposeful segment.
Keep them in the ring, whatever you do.
What are these about? Just these segments of people walking by something else that's quite innocuous happening.
I quite like it.
Keep the match in the ring, nameless people. What's that? We know that's their job.
It's something that but bear in mind that with Bronson and Braun, they've been anywhere but in the ring. So it's just him reinforcing, going, look, can you just do your job tonight and just keep him in the ring? Like for that. If it was for every match, I go, that's you micromanaging, and that's just too much. But for that particular match, I don't blame Adam Pearce for going, hang on, look, honestly, they're just going to dick about. Just keep it in order.
But Chris Jericho has told me that TV time is precious. So I want to see the TV time used well all the time, especially now that Raw's going to 2 hours. This is the last 3 hour one, Tom.
Is that... I know, I'm so relieved. Is that not a way of telling the audience, without telling the audience, main event's going to be wild? Wild.
I think it would be. Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
It's them going, now make sure the match stays in the ring. It's a proper Agatha all along wink to the audience to go, hey, this is going to get a little bit woolly and wild.
Speaking of woolly and wild, the Cowie girls and the Witches argue about the women's tag team titles and the queue of people who want a shot for those titles.
They're at the back, so they can argue.
Sorry?
Good love them. I love them, but they are at the back of the queue.
All right. I thought you said they're on their backs.
No, they're at the back. They're at the back of the queue.
As I mentioned in the notes here, they both appear to think they're at the front of the queue, but that can't be true because one team can be at the front of the queue.
Exactly.
Queues are, the single formation. I don't need to explain a queue. You all know what a queue is, don't you?
Well, this is a British wrestling podcast, so of course we know intricately what a queue is like.
Can I bring a point up that needs addressed?
Of course you can.
Queues at the bars in pub seem to be a modern phenomenon that are taking over the world. And it needs to be quelled. It needs to be stopped. A bar is a long structure. You place yourself along the bar, and if all the bars fill up, then you make a second row. You don't make a single file queue at a bar. Are you hearing me?
I agree. Where did this come from? Because I've noticed it recently as well. It's happening more and more.
Who can we blame for this?
Those lefties.
Go woke, go bro.
I didn't mean that.
Lefties. Those lefties.
I think giving Joe a microphone might be a mistake the longer it goes
No,
on.
I think this
I
is
was kidding.
Those lefties, eh?
Hey,
So tell us about the lefties, Joe.
No.
what about this modern woke nonsense I'm hearing about, Joe?
I love them. But some places is
They
all
keep
right.
putting warnings on chocolate now, saying it might contain peanuts. Woke.
Like a place like the Time Bar, it's okay because it's you got to let people past. But
Yeah.
in normal pubs, it's happening more and more, and I don't know why.
You're not at the supermarket.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Is it because there's lots of bars, that have signs that say "Don't queue here"? So therefore, they're trying to create queues.
What, rebel against the sign?
Yeah.
Down with Thatcher. Let's queue at the pub.
Just scan the QR code. They might bring them over.
Anyway, back to the wrestling segment that happened around about queues and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
I like the pep and snap of Katana Chance's promo. You see what they did to my face? They broke my nose, and they will get what's coming to them. We're not the nice guys anymore. What are?
Hey, turds.
Hey, buddy.
See what they did to my nose?
You don't break my nose, buddy. They're coming for the women's tag team titles. But interestingly, the subtext again, Tom, in this segment, because we have one of the witches, Isla Dawn, dressed like a schoolgirl. Now,
I know.
I've seen that film where witches pretend to be something else and then reveal themselves to be witches. And I'm scared that the witches are pretend to be schoolgirls for reasons.
So they'll
I've not worked out in my head just yet.
So what? They'll reveal themselves to be Isla Dawn.
You can see their face still, but she was dressed like a schoolgirl. So
Okay.
what you doing here? What's the tactic at play here, Tom?
So what's? Are you suggesting that it's not Isla Dawn?
Potentially.
So like,
But I think it
it's
is Isla
another
Dawn.
wrestler.
Yeah.
Take it up. It's Karrion Kross. I've diddled again.
What did we call him earlier?
The something diddler.
The Grim
Grim
Diddler.
The Grim Diddler is back.
The Grim Diddler returns.
I think in every scene where there is dissension or tension, as people part from the scene, you should see the Grim Diddler in the background going da 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 da.
That would be brilliant.
Don't look at me. I'm irrelevant.
Next up, CM Punk and Drew McIntyre do some things inside of a cage. Adam Pearce calls himself a postman because he always delivers his promised matches, and that's why all kinds of men are in this ring, so Punk and Drew makes it to Saturday night.
And he was a postman that time.
Who? Oh, yeah, Mailman Malcolm.
Mailman Malcolm in the Bray Wyatt Fun House segment.
Just made that name up.
Yeah, he was a postman.
Postman Pete, everyone's favourite postman.
Postman Pierce.
Pat Clifton. Great man.
I didn't realise till much later on that his surname was Clifton. And that he was married to that woman with the 2 kids. I just thought she was a single mum, and I thought that was perfectly fine. People fall out of love sometimes.
Up
and
the
it's all
single
good.
mothers.
Up the single mothers.
There'll be
Up
no
the single mothers.
there'll be no physicality
Thank you for doing what
inside.
you do.
There'll be no physicality inside this room if Tom doesn't be quiet. Inside the cage.
Yeah!
The thing is, you couldn't bend you over this table because it's so
You certainly
rickety.
could.
Yeah, no, it would go flying. Anyway, there'll be no physicality inside the cage. Piers has made that very clear indeed. Drew McIntyre points out that he's dressed all in black tonight out of respect for Punk's wife because she's going to have to take care of now. I've put the cliff notes together here. Out of her, she's going to have to take care of her now disabled husband following the match on Saturday. Drew also points out that his suit is a tux because there's going to be a party when CM Punk dies. Jelly and ice cream when Thatcher dies. Jelly and ice cream when Thatcher dies. She's still dead. Despite telling the truth for ages, Drew McIntyre hates the fact that people still choose to chant CM Punk's name. Punk has taught Drew how to hate, and the hatred will die at bad blood. CM Punk replies by saying that people have called him lots of names in his career, including the voice of the voiceless. But he's only voiceless tonight because he can't speak to a piece of garbage like Drew McIntyre. Punk reveals he's been living in a hotel room for the last month, so his wife...
They've had a fallout.
So his wife doesn't see the arsehole he's become due to this rivalry. Punk says he'll wipe the blood. He's not Scottish. I'll wipe the blood from your eyes, Drew, on Saturday because you'll be on your knees, buddy, and you'll be praying to... No, I've made a mess. He's not going to be praying to a god. Not going to be praying to a devil. You're praying to CM Punk, which I thought is the best promo since his return. It had direction, it had piss, it had vinegar, it had venom.
Brilliant.
Everything we wanted from CM Punk back in the day. Because he's been like coming out on Raw going, hey, isn't it great to be alive in Name Town? Yeah. Everyone knows that everyone's scared of when you say his name all together at once. Please say my name. CM Punk, CM Punk. But this was back to the old CM Punk.
I loved it. It was it felt like one of those promos he did in that AEW that time. I did have gone a little flight of fancy when he mentioned, like, I've been in a hotel all week because I don't want my wife to see the arsehole I've become. And I imagine that call going, honey, I'm going to stay in this hotel for a week because I'm in a really bad place and I don't want you to see it. And AJ's like, is this anything to do with the fact that my mother's staying this week? No, unconnected. But I obviously love Brenda, but I'm just going to stay in this hotel just for the best.
It's Larry. Larry just hates women with white hair. He can't stand them. He has to leave. So I'm going to take Larry to a nice hotel room.
That's it. Larry's going to come with me as well. Do you want to just hoover the front room before you go, like you said you would? Oh, no, I can't get back now because I'm now an arsehole. So I can't come back and hoover the front room. I promised I would. I can't. You'll have to hoover the front room instead. And look after your mother for the week. And then I'll be back. Once I'm not an arsehole anymore, when that'll be? I'll probably be next Tuesday. Oh, when my mother leaves? Yeah. It's just weird how it's timed itself that way, but I can't. Blame Drew McIntyre.
Were you actually there? Because that's a very in-depth conversation.
That's exactly what happened.
Why are you hiding in AJ Lee's house?
I'm in the cupboard under the stairs. Going, this front room could do with a hoover.
You pretend you're Harry Potter. Yes, sir. Yes, Phil. Yes, April. Could I just get Hedwig out there to get my mail? That's how it works, isn't it?
Yeah, that's exactly how it works.
Look at my little green friend.
He brought me a sock.
Doesn't matter about the next bit. We don't need to know what the sock's for. What is the sock? Is that an actual Harry Potter thing, the sock?
Yeah, Master brought me a sock.
What?
It's a gift for Dobby.
What does Dobby do with the sock?
Well, that means that Dobby is free because Dobby's been given a gift from his master.
A sock?
It could be anything.
Means he's free.
It means he's free. I
Not have a wank. Oh, sir.
I'll go and tug one off now, sir.
Yes, sir. Would you like to watch me?
He's free to have one.
Wingardium Leviosa, sir. Oh, it doesn't matter. Harry Potter. Anyway, we're taking this very serious bit of the show quite lightheartedly, Tom. I like the line from Punk as well, where Punk says Drew has turned Punk into this fictitious boogeyman that is harshest not crickets. Critics believe he is.
Harshest crickets. Cheep. Shut up,
Jeremy.
Stop slagging me off.
What's he called? That cricket of Pinocchio, not Jeremy. No, what's he called? Jiminy Cricket.
I was just picturing at night, like Punk opening his windows to hear all the crickets. He goes, shut up, I'm not that rubbish. It's been a terrible day. Choppy's having a wank in the other room.
Hey, crickets is what Punk would hear during his early promos back on the main roster, but now he's getting all the noise.
Lovely.
Analysis. So they're going to send him home to Scotland in a box, which is another nice line from the Punk promo.
That means
Drew
he's going to kill him, Tom. In a box. Huh? Drew is in a box.
Maggie's in a box.
In a box. Drag's in a box. Notice that Joel didn't join in with that one.
Oh.
After that lefty comment earlier, just putting two and two together.
Down with Thatcher.
Like a bit of reform, do you there, Joe?
No. Let's not start rumours.
Rough and tumble. But yeah, the promo was on fire from Punk. Drew McIntyre was great as well. It was just a very, very good go-home segment for this match, I thought.
Oh, just superb. This whole feud has been magnificent, and they've just told it wonderfully. And the first match they had, very much disappointed. I think because everyone thought, oh, this is going to be great. But then what they've done is they've very much WWE-ified it, where the first match was just fine. Second match was better.
The stipulation got in the way.
Yeah. Very much so. Like, I hate you so much. I need to touch all four corners. Yeah, I hate that. But this is just going to be, this needs to be a violent, off-piste bloodbath for WWE, which is why I thought this should go on last. Because this needs to get the lion's share of the story, and I feel like if it goes on first, whilst I think because it'll either be first or last. I don't think you'll put it in the middle. But if it goes on last, you can really make it a bloodbath. I feel like it needs it now.
I think we learned why it's not on last when Pat McAfee said to Pat McAfee said to Cody Rhodes, the big boy is coming back this week, isn't he?
Yeah, so there was talk of like a video that's going to be played at Bad Blood that's going to set up Crown Jewel.
And WrestleMania implications as well were mentioned, weren't they?
Yeah.
So maybe that's the reason why that match is going on last now and then Punk and Drew is not. Potentially, I don't know. I'm just spitballing here.
Yeah, but it needs to be a bloodbath. It needs to be violent. Did a whole video on the entire retrospective of the Punk Drew feud, which actually goes back 10 years. And I've traced it back 10 years, and you can see where their worlds overlap as they go through. And that's on the channel right now.
And I did a video this week where I believe that Drew McIntyre should kick CM Punk's dog.
Guess which got more views?
With his foot. I love Larry the What a little cutie patootie Larry the dog is, by the way.
Oh, he's adorable.
That 3-minute video they did of the day in the life of Larry where he gets his own locker room and all the ladies like, where, Larry, where? And then Punk's like,
Quite an ugly dog, though, isn't he?
no!
You monster.
How dare you?
He's perfect.
I love them little teeth that poke out like the wolf boy.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He's just
Pablo
funny
normally
looking.
sleeps like that with his little teeth popping out. He
Really?
looks adorable. Like, he'll lie his head back and it's like... Sometimes, if he's not, sometimes I'll just poke his face and go...
Have you drugged this cat?
No, he's just... he's old and just tired of my... You know what?
Braun Strowman is speaking to Kathy Kelly now, and Braun says he's ready for Bronson Reed, which is handy
Catty
because
Kelly. Sorry.
Hey! Get on this side
That
of the
wasn't
table.
worth it. That wasn't worth it.
We need to swap. Get on this side of the table.
just in case you missed that, he said Catty Kelly because talk about cats.
You've been Joel.
We need a tune, don't we?
Joel.
Make one now.
No.
So Braun's ready for Bronson Reed, which is handy because the pair have a match later tonight, don't you know? The Miz appears, but before he can say anything, R-Truth is on the scene doing R-Truth things. Crucially, he stops the Miz from having what looked like could be an important conversation to the Miz with Braun Strowman. Truth reveals that the Awesome Truth have a match with A-Up tonight. A-Up.
A-Up.
A-Up. You must be used to hearing that, Joel, in your neck of the woods.
by gum.
Hey,
Bloody
by
hell.
gum. Get part gravy, go down mines. Tickle all chickens, eh? Bloody hell. Garlic bread, what's happened here? Isn't that crazy? Hey up! They're going to be wrestling the Awesome Truth tonight. They haven't written any books, have the AOP, as we learned that's who they're actually talking about here. It's brilliant writing. But they will rip their heads off, so that's what happened in that segment there. Braun Strowman, I think he meant to sound badass when he's like, I don't even know what trepidatious means. But it just sounded really silly.
Just sounds thick, doesn't he? I don't know what that word means.
I don't even know what trepidatious means. I've just changed his voice to Randy Newman there for no reason at all.
Sounded a bit Von Wagner as well.
Yeah, you've been tethered. But the table, speaking of tables, it was set for the heel turn from Miz because it's been grown over the weeks that Miz is getting a little bit fed up of R-Truth and his R-Truthisms. And now he stopped him having an important conversation with Braun about, I assume it was going to be like, oh, can I believe in myself after you beat Bronson and I'll beat Bronson after being whizzle-wazzled by Bronson?
That's it.
Yeah, that is it. Cheers. Thank you very much.
Can I believe in myself after having whizzle-wazzled by Bronson? I think if we all get whizzle-wazzled by Bronson, then it's true. But no, the Miz thing's been coming for a couple of weeks. It's just been trickling there. It was still a shock heel turn. It was a shock for R-Truth. Didn't see it coming.
Is that based off all the comments going, how could you call a Miz heel turn a shock?
Might be. I'm looking at you.
Kept Tom up all week, that has.
I has, yeah.
Sami
Literally
Zayn is now getting interviewed by Catty Kelly backstage.
Catty Kelly.
And he says he's been disrespected his entire career, but despite this, I can't bloody get over Gunter disrespecting me all the bloody time. What's he like, yeah? None of that matters really, though, because Sami's going to keep on trying to get that World Heavyweight title match he is gagging to have. But who, Tom, I'm asking the question here, who stood in the background? Because there's someone... It's not...
Yes. No.
I don't know if Joe wants to quickly try and find it in the background, a shot here, but Kathy Kelly, Sami Zayn from this week's Raw. There is someone who stood in the background who either is Michael P.S. Hayes or Uncle Howdy without the hat, or either Chris Jericho.
I didn't spot this. Apologies.
He looks like it could be. It's a bit of a blurry picture, but we'll get the gist of it. It looks like it could be either one of those three people. Michael Hayes, maybe the legs are a bit too skinny to be Michael Hayes, but either Uncle Howdy or Chris Jericho. Who the hell is that?
Oh.
Wow.
Because they stood there and then they sort of walked forward a couple of steps and then they stood there. Then the way the camera sort of came around at the end of the segment, they were also very much in shot, so it felt deliberate. And if there's one thing the Triple H era has conditioned us to do as wrestling fans, it's not to pay too much attention to the front of shot, pay all the attention to the back of the shot.
I can see why it looks like Jericho, because it's kind of like his jacket.
Yes.
And the hair.
It looks a bit like Uncle Howdy. It looks like he's got some kind of hat mask.
I think it was different coloured hair though, but hair dyes do exist, and Uncle Howdy loves a trip to the salon.
I'm going to say it's Uncle Howdy. I think it's probably Uncle Howdy because they've traditionally been lurking in the background, and even if that was an accident, it's still something you can lean into.
I don't know who it is though. Maybe they're going to debut someone new. I reckon it's Big Body Howie from NXT.
That can't be an accident.
Yeah, I don't think it is either. He's right in the middle, and then they make sure he's in there by the end.
Yeah.
Ron322 official on Instagram. You are the biggest arse I've ever seen in my life. He's commented here on this post on Instagram. She's not even cute when referring to Catty Kelly.
She's not even. Oh look, I can guarantee you, without even knowing the guy, Ron322 official, no bitches.
Let's click on his account, Joe. Let's expose this fraud for him. Not even brave enough to have his own face in his profile picture. That's always a great start for someone saying,
"Oh, this is this feels like this is too much."
No bitches.
He's an artist in the game. I'm sure he's a great guy. Bad taste in ladies, though. Obviously, that's all that's wrong with him.
No bitches.
Onwards
we go.
Oh dear. Next up, a shock appearance from Finn Balor, who lied about his travel issues, helps the Judgment Day get a win over the LWO. JD McDonough getting the winning fall for the JD with his professional wrestling maneuver.
I like, it was the whole thing where Joe on commentary was like, he's on vacation and he's having travel issues. Why is he here? For this exact reason, I'm going to accidentally hit one of the, or going to deliberately hit one of the LWO, but let's pretend I'm away. Shenanigans. Classic wrestling nonsense.
Yeah, sounds like something Karrion Kross would do.
Dun, 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 dun. Grim diddler.
I reckon they must have had this match 1,000 times on live events. I've not checked that out, but this is the feeling I got from watching this match here. It was much of a muchness for me. Dragon Lee looked good at parts, but he got his hot tag especially. I thought there was a nice spot in the corner as well with Dragon Lee getting all three lads stacked on top of each other with Cruz del Toro then doing the coast to coast to three people at the same time. And I can't believe Finn Balor arrived in the arena just in time to help his friends. What a pricker.
What are the odds?
I can't believe it.
I can't believe it. It was a setup all along.
Yeah, it was a bit of a house show match with people. Yeah, it's all right, and it's a much of a much just to get to the next bit.
Yeah, this is the thing that happens with a lot of Triple H booking is that it's very long term, but it just means that you've got a lot of downtime between points, between checkpoints. So you have got a match like this, like you say, it's been played out on house shows for weeks on end.
They could have wrestled it blindfolded and still.
You're
going to
get less of these though from next week when Raw's 2 hours instead of 3.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha!
But then it's going to go back to 3, and you're going to get a 3-hour SmackDown as well, Tom. You take it and love it. And by the way,
Yeah.
I saw obviously the discourse online is like, oh, more wrestling's a good thing. I disagree. I think a tighter show with more quality is a good thing.
Tighter show is a good thing.
Yes.
I honestly, I'd be happy with a tighter 2-hour show than a big bloated 3-hour show.
Lol.
Because then you've got excellent point. Because then you've got less of these sort of
My mouth
played
stopped
out.
working there. That was incredible.
Because you've got less of these played out house show matches then.
Yeah,
Because you haven't got the time for them.
Exactly.
So you don't put them in.
all killer, no cross. That's it. That's his old name. After the break, the JD are in the ring with Finn promising to prove to Damian Priest at Bad Blood that the JD never needed him, but I always needed the JD. Liv Morgan then promises to prove that she's a massive slag in her match with Rhea Ripley, which brings out the mother of the mother, who reveals the shark cage for dramatic effect, which I quite like. Let's bring the shark cage out here for dramatic effect.
Yeah.
I'm Rhea Ripley. This is my brutality.
Hi, I'm Rhea Ripley.
And you may know me from previous shows like Round the Twist and Neighbours.
And this is my brutality.
Rhea reveals that Dominic Mysterio is claustrophobic and he won't like being in that little box with the massive gaps in between each side of the
I was going
bars.
to say, that should be fine if you're claustrophobic.
It would be fine. I've got that
Yeah.
thing. That's why I was buried alive once upon a time on a beach in Blythe.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it was great times. But that had no gaps. I wish it did. I was under the sand. gasping for air. And then he died.
Under the sand.
Under the sand, yeah. It's not a good thing for Dom to be inside this little thing. A shoot Damian Priest appearance. There's been so many shoots on this week's Raw. Signals the start of a brawl with Dom.
You okay?
Just burped.
Oh, I thought your heart stopped.
Getting choked up.
Just burped. Sorry, everybody.
You all right?
Dom eventually ends up in the cage. Rhea throws a shoe at Liv, and Finn Balor gets a coup de grace on Damian Priest to leave the big lad laying. I like this little segment. It felt a little bit much of a muchness again because we've seen lots of like beatdown brawls from JD and the other side, the Terror Twins, ending in different kind of ways. Liv Morgan did very well to fighting those massive heels of hers. I imagine
that's a challenge.
Yeah, you would know, would you?
Yeah, I walked a mile in women's shoes once.
Have you?
Yeah, it was for a charity.
All right.
And,
Just a Sunday afternoon.
Just Sunday afternoon, and we had to walk a mile around Wolverhampton Park.
What kind of women's shoes were they?
They were stilettos. They were high-heeled shoes. Wow.
How high?
I mean, they were just. I didn't measure them, but they were like decent, about as high as the ones that Liv Morgan had, and they were a nightmare to walk in.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do it, ladies.
It's a fair play.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
fair play to you. Fighting in them is a different thing altogether.
Oh, yeah. But I mentioned Liv trying to prove that she's a massive slag. She's come up with her own Ric Flair-esque catchphrase now. She's the home-wrecking, man-stealing, heartbreaking, title-taking, greatest women's champion of all time. Ow!
I mean,
That should be her noise, because she can't do the woo. But she can do
She can do an
noise.
ow.
Yeah.
No, she was great. I think everyone was on their form here. I liked a bit where Rhea Ripley just hoiked Dominic into the barricade. Like, what? Give us Rhea versus Dom.
We're getting there, Tom. It's got to happen, surely.
Got to happen.
Got to happen, surely.
That's the money right there.
Yes, it is. Sheamus talks about how bad it is to get hit in the back of the head. How bad it is to get hit in the back of the head by a man who used to be your friend. It's even worse when that friend used to be named Butch. So now we're going to have a fight in a way that we're used to on this side of the Atlantic Ocean. A bloody Donnybrook thingy.
They're doing a Donnybrook match.
Yes, weapons.
Basically weapons, but with a bar adjacent theme. I like Donnybrook matches when they they kind of cut back to it and there's barrels everywhere.
It's when
tables
Jeff Hardy's face got rubbed in the urinal, didn't it? In lockdown.
That's what it was, wasn't
And
it?
then Sheamus had a jar of piss smashed on his head.
Good times.
Lol.
Great memories.
Great for the skin, I've heard. Great for the skin.
I can check out. I'll ask Alex later.
What?
Because she does dermatology.
You thought the same as well.
and we piss on each other's faces regularly.
I saw a video on my Instagram Reels this week of Bear Grylls. I don't know if he was being real, but obviously he does his TV shows and whatnot. And Mel B's there. Mel B. And Bear's like, oh, I've been stung by a jellyfish. Oh, this is so painful. I don't know how I'll survive. And then Mel B's like, what made piss on you, pal? And Bear Grylls is like, go on then, Mel B. Have a piss on me hand.
You and I, at different points with our respective partners, both did that Bear Grylls interactive thing on Netflix, didn't we?
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, Bear Grylls, hey, come on this adventure with me. Now, I've got to survive. Do I eat these berries or do I eat this dung? And eat the dung, every opportunity. It's like, oh, I knew you'd pick eat the dung, so here we go.
Yeah.
Now, do I cross this ravine or eat some more dung? Eat dung, eat the dung.
We actively tried to kill Bear because
Yeah, me too.
how do I get across this big gap in between these two rocks? Jump, you tit! And he falls down the gap and he doesn't die. So what's the point?
Either this perfectly decent bridge or this really thin vine to swing across. Vine! Use the vine! Use the vine!
How do I get across this puddle? Do I go near this massive man-eating crocodile or do I just paddle
Eat
through
this dung!
Yeah.
Eat the dung!
Yeah,
Eat
but
the dung!
He just walks near the crocodile and he goes, and then he just walks past it and that's all that happens. Anyway, why did I bring up? Oh yeah, piss. Mel B pissed on Bear Grylls' hand.
That's it.
That's the thing that's happened in the history of mankind.
That's a great day for Bear Grylls.
Yeah, I think he was pretending just to get a piss on. Just to get a piss on.
Do you think he walks around town going, excuse me, ladies, help me. I've been
He's in the town.
stung by a jellyfish.
I've just been down to Morrison's fish counter. You'll never believe this. A jellyfish has stung
You
me.
will not Adam and Eve this. It's a good one for you, Joel.
What a fraud, Bear
Try it next time
Grylls.
you're out, Joel.
Where are we? So yeah,
Saw piss on.
Donnybrook matches out next week is what we learned
Yeah,
there.
some might get pissed off.
One final banger. Looking forward to it. Next up, we have Damage Control, who let us know they want the women's tag team titles. But I'm asking the question, Tom. They're talking about the unholy union. The Cowie Girls are also a thing. What about those two tag teams there in the
They're
queue?
at the back of the queue.
Damage control are also part of the same queue. They're all fighting to get in front of each other.
Front of the queue, damage control.
Do you reckon?
Yeah. I'm just saying. They are.
Yeah, but Io then mentions that she's in Bianca Belair's head because she rolled her up in the past, and they show the footage of her rolling up in the past. So it's got to be true.
So that's what she's... That's got to be true. Here it is.
True. Next up, with Kofi Kingston poised to nail a shoot. Another one. A shoot trouble in paradise on a running Chad Gable. Xavier Woods trips the former Olympian and causes Kofi to go arse over. I've done it again. I've burped mid-word.
I thought that was you were saying in a stylistic way.
All right, I could have styled that out.
That worked quite nicely.
That's
You
a shame
could
to learn
style
after the fact, yeah.
Anyway,
It causes Kofi to go arse over tip because he's air kicking air instead of kicking Chad Gable in the face and ruins the entire match for all concerned as Xavier Woods. Chad then gets the win via Chaos Theory. Woods going to the dark side does not pay off this time. It did earlier night with little luchador Rey Mysterio and his little luchador mask. But this time it didn't pay off.
Chad Gable looking more like Kurt Angle every single week.
Love the attire.
I loved this attire.
I love the attire.
Love this attire. Chad now needs to shave his hair. Let's just make him Kurt Angle.
I reckon he'd be game for a hair versus hair match to lose it.
Oh, of course
He seems
would.
like the sort of performer who would do that.
He would do. Nah, Chad's great. It was a great. These two had a banger. A really, really good match.
There's an interesting new feather to Chad Gable's bow in certain respects here because his new catchphrase while beating down someone is "For America."
I love it. As it should be.
I don't know, just when he was beating up Kofi, he's going, "For America!" I'm like, this is the wrong sort of thing, the wrong sort of imagery to put on television.
Well, no, because Kurt Angle was an all-American hero and everyone hated his guts.
Just say, "For America."
It's quite funny.
I guess that's how you take it. I reckon these two had the Shawn Michaels Undertaker speech before this match because the effort was off the scale. Follow that, monsters, they probably said. Because in the time that they had, they went back and forth. The pin combination sequence that went on for ages, and then they went, way, they lift each other up via their bellies. It was off the scale. It was class. Chad Gable had an answer for every single thing Kofi Kingston did. He picked the ankle off the Trouble in Paradise the first time, which was a fantastically smooth thing to do. And he had a handle rope for the SOS. He always had the answer, but then, of course, we get the interesting part, which is Xavier going to the dark side, and it not paying off. Will Kofi be upset, or will Kofi understand that Kofi not communicating with Xavier is what's driven Xavier to this? Because that's where it all started.
So there's plausible deniability in this scenario too.
It's interesting because I've realised Trouble in Paradise acronymed TIP, so Kofi couldn't land the tip. Again, that wrong side of the brain.
All he wanted was just the tip.
Just the tip. That's all he wanted.
Just
He
the tip.
couldn't get it. Xavier took the tip away. Where are we now? So even though he's facing Braun Strowman in a few moments' time, Bronson Reed says he isn't worried about Seth Rollins getting healthy and returning to the WWE soon. Now, this wasn't as out of context. I've made that sound there. We see a video of Seth Rollins going to the American baseball, football, whatever game he was at.
Yeah.
He was at some sort of sporting competition.
It was a bit where he got thrown over the side, wasn't it? And then he ran off.
I think so, yeah. It might have been the week later. Was that last week?
Sorry, that was last week that
Yeah.
happened. This was another baseball game that he was at.
He was at some sort of sporting competition.
Yeah,
and we
he was in
couldn't
the
have
ring,
Bronson Reed.
and then he teased like, "Oh, watch Bad Blood, it's going to be good."
Yeah.
So-
And then the really beautiful Kathy Kelly says to him, "Are you bothered about Seth?" And then he says, "No, I'm not bothered about Seth at all," which I thought a little bit, because now we know that Seth Rollins returned, we could have done without, I'm not bothered about Seth Rollins. I would have liked that extra shoot aspect of the return for Seth Rollins without this little carrot dangle.
Yeah, it felt a little bit in panto where they go, "Now, if you see Seth Rollins, make sure you scream and shout, otherwise I'll look for him." And then Seth Rollins appears. So.
Yeah. Bronson then promises to take even more time off Seth Rollins' career, and he also promises to be the last monster standing while breathing like Kevin Nash eating a bowl of pasta.
Breathy, wasn't he?
Do you remember that interview? Have you ever seen it, Joel?
Yes.
There's a shoot interview with Kevin Nash, and I think it's in Johnny Gargano's dad's restaurant. I'm sure it is.
He said, "I'll do a shoot interview with you, but as long as I can have me dinner at the same time."
And he's just eating this bowl of pasta and just
I haven't seen this, no.
down the microphone. It's disgusting.
It's horrible. I'd have just gone, "Should we do the interview another day?"
Or just have your tea first,
Have
Kevin.
your tea first, then we'll have a chat.
What was he having? Spaghetti?
Some sort of pasta dish.
Very
yeah.
noisy
Maybe a carbonara.
Carbonara?
Very
Carbonara.
noisy spaghetti.
I can make a good carbonara.
I bet you bloody can.
Is that on your Tinder?
Oh, aye.
Good
I
shout.
can make a great carbonara.
I can make a rough and tumble carbonara.
No one can hear you scream when you're eating my carbonara.
That does sound somewhat sinister.
Yeah, no.
That's our Joel. Next up, we have another fantastic segment where it's earth-shattering this time. Adam Pearce is speaking to people and a superstar walks on by. This time, the superstar in question is Gunter. I've written down my analysis for this segment here. Great strides from Gunter. Very long, very fluid.
He just looks like a monster, like a champ.
He knows how to walk.
Yeah, the man can walk.
Again, I'm asking what's the point of this segment, but we move on to the why it's 6. We get another one of those videos with the QR codes where they steal all your data. I don't know if they do that. I just like to say that. We get things on the screen saying like, we see your intent and anger gesturing into rage. You know better. Do not force our hand. And it ends with Nikki Cross. Oh, sorry. Abby the Witch, she's now called, isn't she?
Yes.
Pulling a veil off her head. Who are they talking to, Tom?
Alexa Bliss. I think they're talking to Alexa Bliss.
Not Dakota Kai potentially as well. That was also mooted.
No, I think it's Alexa Bliss. I really do. I feel like, yeah, of course, Abby the Witch, aka Nikki Cross, has that l'histoire with Alexa Bliss.
That's French for history.
It is indeed. I think it's Alexa Bliss. I'm gonna put my flag in the ground there.
Will you eat a hat if it's not Alexa Bliss?
No, because that's a silly thing to
Will you
tease.
shave your head if it's not Alexa Bliss?
Absolutely not. No.
Will you eat a can of dog food if it's not Alexa
Yeah, I'll
Bliss?
eat a can of dog food.
That's fun.
That's fun.
That's a good video, that, isn't it? There's,
I like that.
I'll live stream it. I eat a can of dog food. I'll live stream it.
You don't have
in an
to.
Italian restaurant. I'll do it all. I ain't scared.
You don't have to, Tom. But if you did, it would be great.
I ain't scared.
Gunter is here now, and we learn, unfortunately, that Ilya Dragunov is out of action for 6 to 9 months after happenings in the Ring Generals match with him over the weekend there. Ilya's done his knee in. Obviously, thoughts are with him at this time.
Gutted.
Speedy recovery for him.
Last match was a banger against Gunter as well. In that
They were just getting going as well. The more he was wrestling on Raw, and the more people were seeing what he was all about, the louder the cheers were getting. Because he's a captivating guy.
He's so good.
With Sideshow Mel vibes in his promos. Very bad news, though, so hopefully he's all right. Gunter says that it's great to be world champion because there's a lot of perks, and I mean that in the terms of like positives and freebies, and not the drugs. No perk Gunter here. Imagine perk Gunter. Oh my God.
He'd just be sat in the corner, just admiring a floral pattern on a plate.
The hand would go through the chest and then back out again. Just murdering folk with his bare hand.
He chops someone, then just stares at his hands for ages.
Licks it. Eyes, pupils go wide. There's a treat for people watching on YouTube.
You are welcome.
Audio listeners, Tom just licked his hand in a fashion that will get Andrew Dingle excited. I'm sure.
Yeah, it brought Andrew to mind.
Bless Andrew.
I was thinking of him at the time.
He's not a dirty boy. There's one bad thing about being champion, and that is Sami Zayn. Sami's here and says that all Gunter has to do is give him a title shot. Gunter says that Sami is not on his level, but Sami retorts and says, well, I beat you at WrestleMania, so I am on your level, you bastard. Gunter then says his family was at the WrestleMania match, but because Gunter's a nice man, he didn't parade them around like Sami did with his family, which I thought was a nice cutting jibe. Gunter's dad was ashamed that he went all the way from Vienna to Philadelphia to watch his son lose to a bum like Sami. Sami eventually says to Gunter that he's shown his dad he's a coward by not giving him a World Heavyweight title match, and that's enough for Gunter to twat Sami in the face and deliver a disgusting powerbomb.
Grim.
The way Sami's head stotted off that ring mat. Oh, God.
Terrifying. Terrifying. Gunter's just a unit. Sami's fine, but
Hopefully.
Yeah. So I've from what I can gather, he's fine. But that was a beast of a powerbomb.
It was disgusting.
Oh.
But it really worked after what Sami said, and like Gunter's been driven to the point of like, oh, I'm gonna have to batter you now. So here you go, here's the battering.
And the match has been made for next week.
Yeah.
So we'll get Gunter versus Sami Zayn in the main event of Raw after Bad Blood. It's very much a Triple H sort of trope of booking, whereby if you're a major star, you're not on the pay-per-view, be ready to headline the Raw or SmackDown afterwards with the big match. Or the SmackDown before or the Raw after with the big match.
Yeah, I couldn't help but think that Sami Zayn's done shades of The Undertaker way back in the day. You've done it now. You've gonna made a big mistake. I can't allow you to think you did bother me.
Turn around.
I face the past that you're gonna pay. Your end is now. This is gonna be your day after bad blood. A cheap shot. What a theme tune it is. But yeah, good segment though.
I loved it.
Oh.
Sammy's been great in this whole build towards him and Gunter.
Gunter's been even better, though, I'd say.
Yeah, this has been the best of Gunter.
He's exceeded all expectations in promos, I mean.
There's a way of sort of ducking and diving a title match without looking like just being scared. And Gunter's had this aura about him where he's just pompousness, where he's just gone, nah, you're not worthy. But Sammy's got legitimate beef going, hang on, I beat you. And then even in this promo, he says, you never asked for a rematch. You just disappeared for months. So so he's clearly in the head of Gunter, but Gunter is this very much stiff upper lip European who's just like, nope, there are no concerns.
There are no concerns.
Right.
I am Gunter from Vienna.
Until there were concerns, and he punted his head off the canvas with a powerbomb.
I hope Sammy's all right, because that was horrible.
Seems all right. From what I've learned, he's all right.
The Miz kicks R-Truth in the face during their match against the A-Up. Hey, bloody hell, gone down. Go up and seen the A-Up down the bloody butcher's aisle. I can't believe it. They're selling £7 of bacon for half a hupney.
Half a hupney.
That's how they say it over there. A hupney.
I've never heard
Half
that.
Karrion Kross is laughing maniacally at ringside. The Awesome Truth are now obviously dead, and that's a bloody shame. But the A-Up go on to win despite Truth being pinned, even though I'm sure the tag connected. So technically, if we want to split hairs and be clever internet wrestling fans,
I'd argue
the
that
Miz was the legal man.
Miz tagged Truth with his boot. So you could
Tagged
claim
him back out.
that was a tag back out. You could claim.
Shocking turn, though. Tom.
I'm sad that Awesome Truth is done.
I think it was time, personally.
I think it was time. The timing is weird because obviously because Miz is hosting. He would go the following night. He's hosting the Miz TV on NXT. So yeah, it changes his alignment just before he does it.
R-Truth with the guns, though. Not from AEW, not actual guns, but the ones on his arms, because he does the old back suplex before the 5-knuckle shuffle on Rezar. And last time I checked, Rezar from the A-Up is a very, very big boy. And obviously it's all about Karrion Kross when the turn ends, because he's going ha 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 at the ringside area, because once again, little Wormy Wormison. I'll mention it again on the podcast
Grim Diddler.
like I did on the news, Tom. I'm thinking about that scene in Scary Movie with the glory hole. That's what he's done. Not only the head of Xavier Woods, but also now the Miz. He's got in there.
He is glory holing all these baby faces.
Do you want to talk about Joel?
No.
You don't see Scary? One of the Scary
Yeah,
movies?
but again, a long, long time ago.
So someone's on their knees in a toilet cubicle.
Right.
You know how sometimes you get
Sure, this is a scary movie.
Yeah. You know, you get the
Oh,
hole
yeah.
sometimes where the loo roll holder potentially goes in the hole.
Yeah,
That's all.
yeah.
Through that hole arrives a disastrous sight, and it goes straight through his head.
Ah.
That has happened in life, hasn't it?
What?
Have I made that up?
What do you mean? In real life?
Not in real life, you silly guy.
Oh, you
It
said
went
it live.
one ear and out the other. I mean, just that scene in Scary Movie.
That rings a bell, actually. Yeah, no, yeah, I can picture it.
I think my Scary Movie knowledge is better than Star Wars. I'm confident that's happening. But yeah, where does R-Truth go from here, Tom?
I want to now. As much as I don't want to see Woods and Kofi fight on pay-per-view, I'd like to see a Miz and R-Truth match on pay-per-view. I want them to have like a decent blow off to this feud.
That screams to me Raw. Second hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. I guess. I'd love, just for a laugh, to have R-Truth have a match against Gunter for the world title.
Yeah.
Just do it.
That's Raw third hour stuff.
That
there.
is third hour Raw.
Or from next week, Raw second hour.
The
Yeah.
whole idea of like R-Truth not quite being good enough and like being a joke character, but then actually, you know what? Maybe he is a threat. Maybe the build up to it, Truth knocks Gunter down, and then was like, whoa, wait a minute.
Then the match happens and Gunter murders him. Without even
People
breaking sweat.
they'd get really into that one. That'd be really good.
I'd
Actually.
be into that. Yeah.
Some false finishes. You're like, oh,
Oh my god, yeah.
Plenty of rough and tumble.
Truth getting a
though.
2.99999 on Gunter.
that'd be great.
Thank you, mother.
Gunter is now stood next to his boyfriend, Ludwig Kaiser, backstage and says he's not worried about defending his title against Sami Zayn. The match is now set. Bron Breakker arrives on the scene to get a closer look at the World Heavyweight title. He says, I'll see you soon, Gunter.
No.
Before leaving away. In the background of shot, we see the New Day arguing again.
I know. It's horrible. It's like watching your parents fight. It's awful. It's like watching people that you love just kick it off. Like, no, don't. I like you too much. Don't. It makes me sad.
It does makes us all sad. That is very true. That is very true indeed. I've written down half a page of notes here for this little segment, and I'm struggling to see why.
You're obviously really into it.
That's because the next match is also in here as well.
Ah.
Yes. I thought, yes. That's what's happened to my notes here.
Is it because you put the notes for the next match into the next bit?
That's exactly
what it
what's happened there, Tim. That's exactly what happened. Next up on Monday Night Raw,
The main event.
Shuffle my pages. A shoot Seth Rollins appearance is enough to see.
It's a lot of shooting tonight.
Did you see it coming? I bloody didn't. Is enough to see a groinless Braun Strowman get the win over Braun Strowman in the last Monster Standing match. These lads let it all hang out and then some, Tom.
Oh, it was so good. One of my favourite Raw main events in a fair while.
They saw the assignment and they did it right.
Felt a bit Attitude Era-y.
Yes.
I liked it.
Maybe Ruthless Aggression.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Maybe Ruthless Aggression Era-y.
Mark Henry versus...
Brock Lesnar.
No.
No, that was nowhere near as good.
Nathan Jones. The big baldy bastard from Bogger Road. Right from the clothesline from Braun at the very start of the match, from the running hoo-ah, as I've written it down here, from Bronson at the very start of the match. I assume that was just a ring maneuver where he used his body as a battering ram. So much like in this match, it was the Bronson chokeslam through the announce table, the big DVD off the crate and the table in the crowd. Oh, how do they do it when they're so large?
They told him to stay in the ring.
Well, exactly. Pointless segments, Tom. It didn't happen.
No,
did
because it foreshadowed that they weren't going to stay in the ring.
I'm just being facetious.
You are being facetious.
Then we have I've done that bit there. The fans nearly dying after the Bronson spear through the barricade. They must have pooed their trousers because that barricade flattened at a rate of knots, and some of them didn't quite get out the way in time. Barricade made contact with chair. The ref is a crook, though, I've written down here. He should have been in there counting, but he was making sure the fans were okay in the front row.
That's not crook. He's being a nice guy.
No, you've got one job as a referee. Referee the match.
Nah.
There's medical personnel, there's paramedics, there's WWE officials to deal with those people who may have perished in the crowd. You shouldn't care about that as a referee.
I know, but as a human, you would care.
He's a referee. We know they're not human.
No, but then...
They're paper mache men.
They are paper mache, man.
With no brains. I burped again. I tell you what, I had a sandwich for lunch. I don't think I'll have this sandwich again.
What sort of sandwich was it?
Chicken pesto number from Tesco.
So is it the pesto that's maybe
yeah.
playing a little number on your on your guts?
Maybe, yeah. So yeah, the referee was out of order there, in my opinion, taking care of fans. Then we have the Strowman off the top rope to the floor after taking 2 tsunamis. It was a lovely moment because he gets up there and there's like 17 people to catch him. It looked fantastic seeing a man of that size fly through the air. And then as I said on the news the other day as well, Tom, I liked how Rollins' comeback was done. No fanfare, no music, no pyro. He just ran out and then kicked a man in the head.
Just snuck in. He
Yeah.
was like in sneak mode as he crept in, and then gave it the old stomp onto the steps to stop Bronson from getting back to his feet.
Yeah.
And
Good
Braun,
bit of business.
a good bit of business with a groinless Braun Strowman saves the day.
Hope he gets well soon, does
Yes.
Braun. But he's got a lovely dog, as we saw at the start of Raw. A nice staffy pitbull looking thing.
He's got a lovely family in
Mr.
general.
Worldwide. Or Mrs. Worldwide, I believe it's a lady.
Aw,
The little bitch. Because she's a dog.
because she's a dog.
But yeah, now I assume we're going to have Rollins versus Bronson
Yeah,
soon.
I don't think we do it at Bad Blood. I think we wait a little bit. Maybe
Oh, yeah.
we have it at what's after? It's Survivor Series, isn't it?
Crown.
Crown Jewel.
Oh, Crown Jewel. We'll do it at Crown Jewel.
Bronson's going to jump off something high there.
Singles match at Crown Jewel. Gimmick match at Survivor Series.
What gimmick match?
Ooh.
Viagra on a pole? We're back in the room.
Strap match.
Not a four corner. Not one of those matches.
It sounded like I said something else, but I did say four ... corner.
Muller corners are delightful.
Bleep, bleep.
Next up, we have NXT. Do you want a piss break?
No, I'm good.
Oh, let's fly
Let's
through.
keep going. Got a good bladder today. It's a good bladder day.
It's a good bladder
It's
day.
bladder day. Get ready,
It's
and
bladder
we're
day.
wide awake. So come on now, and let's let go.
That was very good. That bladder day.
From off of the
Fantastic.
Timmy Mallets.
Triple H and Shawn Michaels are here to start the night. I mean, it's really great to see Triple H get over his shyness and fear of public speaking.
Oh, Paul, no, you don't want me in the photograph, Levesque.
Muster up the strength to get out there in front of so many people again for such a pointless segment. He's so brave every single time he does it. I don't know how he musters up the strength there, Tom.
God bless him. They treated it like it was a little surprise for Sean as well, because he didn't get his entrance. He just appeared on the apron.
Oh, you ready?
It's like, oh, my friend.
Yeah, but I guess we should talk about the new look of NXT. I think the new theme, I've written some notes down here, everybody, so I'll just read the notes. The new theme song has an aura, a live event presence, the Riz, and it's also a vibe. The new logo, it looks like the Terminator. I think it's T2 to be precise,
Yes.
because we know that Shawn Michaels is a booking alien. Terminator.
Nice.
Is he an alien?
No.
He comes from a
He's
different...
from the future. He's a
naked
robot.
He's naked at the start.
Robot from the future.
Yeah. Oh, he's a robot.
Not an alien, he's a robot from the future.
Shawn Michaels is a booking AI robot.
Perfect.
Let me
Nailed
rewrite
it.
that.
He's Cybernet.
He's from Tatooine as well. Looking for...
and under the stairs like Harry Potter. Oh,
doesn't matter.
Tatooine under the stairs.
Looking forward to seeing what the new shed looks like. We saw in the news the other day that the shed's getting redone. What was
Shed's
it?
getting a makeover.
We're on the road here in Chicago. Packed out arena. It could not have been fuller. Not a spare seat in the house. They didn't film it at jaunty angles because 3/4 of the thing was empty. That didn't happen. It was so full. It could not have been fuller. So full. And Triple H was looking at the empty seats like, I tried to fool everybody. And it didn't work.
God bless him.
Triple H coming out there again just to have people pat his arse. Just move on, Paul. I know that adrenaline, that one for the pop and that feeling of being out there in front of the crowd, it must still be there for him as a performer.
Is it not more for like the casual audience that put on the show for the first time because it's a new network and they go, oh, it's DX?
Yes.
Remember them?
Yes, but for us people who watch it all the time, who see it every time and realise what's really happening,
Yeah.
we know what you're doing, Paul. Get your kicks elsewhere. Take up skydiving.
Do you think it's just Paul going, I just missed the adrenaline rush?
Being out there in front of the crowd. There's nothing like being in front of a pair. A shoot. Oh my God, there's another one. A shoot attack in the ringside area from a returning Cora Jade sees Roxanne Perez pick up a somewhat shock win over Gilly from Gilly and Steve. Now, this is Matthew, who tried to pronounce Julia a few weeks ago, and Stephanie Vacour, and he came out with Gilly and Steve.
Did you not watch it?
It's just Matthew's mouth doesn't work sometimes.
Gilly and Steve.
Lyra Valkyria, Diona Parazzo,
Gilly.
Julia and Stephanie Vacour is what it would sound like if Matthew could do it.
That'd be
Anyway,
lovely. Yeah, great match.
in terms of this one being Gilly's first big match on TV in the NXT universe, oh God, I feel like such a wanky prick saying that. There's her first match in the big time now, Tom.
It is the NXT universe.
I thought she absolutely nailed her performance here, even though she did lose. Everything she did looked very snug and looked very real. The double underhook suplex off the top while holding on to the locked arms for a pinfall was absolutely class, let me tell you.
Magnificent business.
Gilly even made a pop rocks, a move that long-time listeners to the podcast will know I don't personally like by Roxanne Perez. Never looks like it really hurts.
No, it just looks a bit like a sunset flip, doesn't it?
Yeah, but when Gilly's taking it, Gilly makes it look like it hurts.
It's all in how you come down on it.
She puts the... Yeah.
You heard.
Yeah.
Did us. Yeah. It's all in how you land on it, and so many land like a sunset flip, so it just doesn't look like it hurts.
Very, very true. Very, very true indeed. Then we see the sell on the DDT from Julia was fantastic, where Cora Jade, when she was hooded at this point in time, the sell on that was absolutely fantastic as well. So good that when she rolled through, she twatted her face off the LED board on the side of the ring as well. The little things make the difference. But I've got an issue with the interference here, because in doing what she did, Cora Jade has helped out Roxanne Perez. This is like, for fans of the US office, Toby Flinderson being in a fight and Michael Scott doing the run-in.
But they do explain that later.
They don't do it well. We all know Chef Michaels is a chef because he's called Chef Michaels, but this needs a little bit more salt, Tom.
I didn't have an issue with how they did it. I thought I would do salt away and all that, because the idea is that Cora said, oh, Julia, Stephanie Vacour, all these people, you forgot about me. So I wanted to make sure you didn't forget about me. And then Roxanne Perez turns up, and Cora's like, I like the woman you've become. And so therefore there's legitimate reason to help, because then he goes, I like Roxanne now, she's a baddie, and I hate all these newcomers that push me to the back of the line. I didn't have an issue with it.
Let's imagine your unnamed radio...
I am.
Your unnamed radio foe, the guy, your foe. You've told me about
Okay.
your foe.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, him.
So imagine if he gets, like, taken over, his show gets taken over by somebody else, and then he's sort of like going, oh damn it, I'm down on my luck and I can't believe it and I'm looking for a friend, and you are like, oh hello foe who I definitely don't like, I'll be your friend because I am in a similar sort of position as you.
You are missing the point.
No, I'm not.
It's not about being a friend to Perez, it's about being a foe to Julia.
But they
Just so happens.
they mention becoming friends because of a familiar foe.
Yeah, because
a common enemy.
They happen to have a common enemy.
I just don't like it.
If it was someone that the whole thing of it being Julia, the new toy, that's why Cora's taken issue. Just happens that she's fighting Roxanne Perez.
I just don't
who
think
is
these
also
two being
a baddie
involved
these days.
These two being involved is not right. Air did not break an actual skateboard for this to be the outcome. Fresh Air broke a skateboard once
I
upon a
remember
time.
that. What a great
and that
day.
didn't happen for this to be the outcome. So it was a bit. Well, I'll have to give it a chance to play out. I'm doing that classic wrestling fan thing of judging it day 1.
Let it play out.
I'll judge it on day 50. I'll wait ages, I will. You'll see me sat here. Anyway, next up, what do we have? I'll need to turn the page there, Tom.
We have brilliant scenes from Nathan Frazier and Axiom training and preparing for their match for next week against A-Town Down Under. They are doing this. They're getting ready for their match by as Undertaker be spitting feathers. They were playing video games.
Joe Hendry be spitting feathers as well from the WCPW days because he didn't like the PlayStation.
He loves video games, does Joe? We had a whole chat on the road about Sonic the Hedgehog.
I know he does in real life, but in WCW he had an issue with... Was it Jack playing the PlayStation? I always remember him saying PlayStation like that. Maybe they should try lifting weights, these lads, because it's a wonderful segment. Brilliantly written, to be fair. Brilliant tactics on the surface of things. They're talking about the A-Town Down Under lads being as annoying in real life as they are in this video game because they keep kicking out moves and whatnot. Mash those buttons, boys, a bit harder. We need to keep our temperature in check, but then this is where the issue comes up because they're like, do we mean in the video game or do we mean in real life? It's an easy mistake to make when you're having conversations with adults.
These are real conversations to have.
Yeah, and then Nathan loses his SH1T after losing the match on the PlayStation because Axiom distracts him. So hopefully that doesn't happen in real life, although I do think it felt like a little bit of foreshadowing.
Did you see the skit that Grayson Waller and Austin Theory did on Twitter?
I haven't.
Where Grayson Waller dresses as Nathan Frazier and Austin Theory dresses as the Red Power Ranger to be Axiom, and they're just like, and as Grayson Waller, as Nathan Frazier, Grayson Waller's going, "Come on, Axiom, we've got to concentrate, we've got to get ready for A-Town Down Under," and Red Power Ranger's just doing like karate moves and stuff. Like, oh blimey, we're in bother here. Like, it's very funny.
Hey, Chef Michaels is great.
Chef
isn't he?
Michaels.
He definitely put them up to doing that.
Definitely.
But yeah, that's last week they called Axiom the Red Power Ranger and called Nathan Fraser some sort of Kurt Cobain from Wish or something like that.
Yeah, loved
Did you
it.
see that in the news this week? That Kurt Cobain's daughter and Tony Hawk's son have had a baby.
That's the coolest person
It's
ever.
Jesus Christ.
That's amazing.
No, let's stop there. It's Jesus Christ. Let's get it right.
Yeah,
Jesus
yeah.
Christ has been born
Yeah.
out of Kurt Cobain's daughter.
Wow. Half Kurt Cobain, half Tony Hawk.
I know.
Jeez.
Imagine if that happened in the 90s.
What if they're both crap at singing and skating?
Just grows up to be a lawyer.
Yes. Accountant.
The most boring man ever. I don't know if it was a...
I'm not sure. I think it might have been a
Simon,
girl.
you're very
I think it might have been a girl.
It can still be a lawyer. Joel, what are you talking about?
No, because you said
Women
man.
can do whatever they want these days. Joel, despite what you said off air.
I
You lose that
agree.
bit of Yorkshire about you there, Joel.
Yeah.
I agree completely.
Despite the things that Joel was saying before we turned the cameras
Disgusting.
on.
But it was a brilliant segment with Nathan Fraser and
Yeah,
Axiom.
great fun.
Wonderful tactics. Speaking of brilliant, the brilliant Ava wants CM Punk to call the title match right down the middle later in the night. CM Punk agrees. Then former AEW man gives former AEW man CM Punk gives former AEW man Lexis King some advice. He says to Lexis, "You're either going to win at all costs or fight against the genes you were born with." Lexis, as we learn, is trying to turn babyface.
I don't know what Lexus is trying to do, to be honest with you.
He's got shades of his character of babyface, his hair, babyface. To have that, people loved it when Jeff Hardy did that, and Lexis King's now doing
Put
it.
the Chicago Star in his head.
Not that bit particularly, but you know, the facial hair and whatnot. So if Lexis King wants to do that, I've got no issue with the Kavorka of trying to pull that one off. But then he also likes rock music. Rock music was heel in the feud with EDM a few months ago with Eddie Thorpe.
That's it.
So he's trying to turn rock music babyface. Dave Grohl didn't do any help for that recently.
He has
so
done some terrible
we need
damage
some work
to the
done for
babyface of the
Lexis
rock
King.
music.
It was a boy. Sorry, it's a baby boy.
It's a boy!
Oh.
Ronin Walker Cobain Hawk. That's a cool name.
Who?
The kid?
Ronin Walker,
Oh,
Cobain
Ronan.
Hawk.
Ronan.
Yeah.
Keating.
As in Keating.
Ronin.
Ronin.
Renee.
Ronin.
Ronin
Ronier.
Walker, Cobain Hawks, Pro Accountancy 2025.
This is everyone in the office listening to Scar. What else are we saying here? Yeah. Are we going to go on board with the Lexis King face turn? It looks like it's happening.
I think it's whether it's one of those things where he's like, I'm a baby face now. And he's like clearly not a babyface, but he's trying to be. North Wrestling did this the other way to great success, where Gene Money came out and went, I'm not doing very well as a good guy, so I've asked Andrew Bowers if I could be a bad guy. I filled in the forms. I'm going to be a bad guy now. So he teams with Lycos Jim, and he's like learning to be a bad guy, and he's a bit rubbish at it to start with, but everyone's still booing him anyway. Like they want to support him. So he's going, shut up, you all horrible people. Boo! You're a bad guy. So, and eventually he really leans into being a baddie, and then he comes out the other side and he's a goodie again. So
this
it's
is
a
going to
nice...
happen to Lexus King.
But I think they're doing it the other way, where he's like, I'm a babyface, and everyone's just going to boo him incessantly.
Well, he's got to work it out. He either goes, win at all costs or fight against the genes he was born with, which I thought was a good line from Punk, to be fair to him. So we're going to find out if Lex is going to try and... fair play to Lex as well for remembering he doesn't want to be like his dad. Because CM Punk's like, you've got the Star of Chicago in your hair there, boy? And he's like, yes. And then Punk's like, because of Chicago, I'll let you do it, and because of your dad as well. But then Lex is like, I hate me dad. Don't mention him. He's a prick. Was a prick.
I think...
That was cold, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He's not even here anymore.
I think if you're going to go out your way to say, I'm going to be, in not so many terms, I'm going to be a good guy now, you're going to get booed. If you're putting it out there, you're getting booed.
Maybe they're setting up for a double down on being a heel.
Yeah, I think
doing
so.
something bad, killing someone.
But acting like a goodie all the way through.
That's just Tony D'Angelo. He kills people and he acts like a good guy and people cheer him.
He's a lovely lad.
I don't think he is. He's a terrible guy.
Lovely
the
lad.
highlight of this segment, though, is not the segment itself. It's when they go back to Booker T and Vic on the commentary table. Because Booker, we know the history between Booker T and CM Punk in locker rooms and whatnot. And, you're the locker room leader, are you? But Booker T's reaction to, whoa, did you see how much respect Punk had for the star of all of television, Vic? Whoa, I can't believe it. Look at him. Whoa. And Vic has to actively say, Booker, shut up. That's enough now. It's the best thing Booker's done in a farewell, just because you know the history between Booker T and CM Punk. I assume there's still a little bit of needle there.
And because you know Vic is completely done with Booker T, it's even funnier.
It's fantastic. Next up, we see Jada Parker and Lola Vice just cannot get along ahead of their tag team match against Fatal Influence later on tonight. Kailani Jordan, a robot, tells the lasses to get on the same page in a very robotic manner. Goodness gracious, good thing I have a backup plan.
She's not very
Why
good.
say that out loud, Kalani Jordan? I know we're on television and we need to paint things for the fans to get excited about, but if you have a backup plan, if I had a backup plan, I wouldn't tell you, Tom.
No, and as you shouldn't. If you have irons in the fire, you don't mention
Just bring it
them.
on you.
That's
See,
it.
you flinched.
That's it.
If I told you I was, Tom, in just 1 second's time, I'm going to do that. Oh, you still flinched.
Sorry, slight delay there. No, it's that weird juxtaposition between going, we know we're on telly and we don't know we're on telly. Decide and stick with it.
Yeah.
That's all it is. But yeah, Kalani Jordan.
It's just, I feel bad for her because I would love to know when in real life, the last time whoever, I don't know what Kalani Jordan's shoot name is, but whenever she in real life said, goodness gracious, out loud like she did here in a bit of a fluster. Save it for out there. Goodness gracious. Good thing I have a backup plan. When was she saying goodness gracious in real life? Because I think that's just poor writing from
What
NXT.
if she does genuinely say goodness gracious? Goodness gracious, look at the time. I'm late for NXT. My job. That thing I do for work. She might be like that in real life. They need to tap into what makes Kalani Jordan tick.
She's
because
too squeaky clean,
it's
too
squeaky
robotic.
clean. It's very bland. We need some more, some more to Kalani Jordan.
We know there's something about it because we know who her real life boyfriend is, Tom.
We know that story.
Carmelo Hayes.
We know that.
And he wouldn't settle for what Kalani Jordan is in NXT canon. He'd be bored by her.
Well, I wouldn't want to judge, really. I hope they're very happy together.
Next up, Wesley gets the win over Big Zach Vance, as I like to call him. It's Zachary Wentz, isn't it? In what was a little bit of a barn burner of a street fight. What a start of the match it was, with Zach rolling in the ring as Wes was going for the tope con. Hello there, sir. Are you ready for a wrestle at the start of the match? Then Zach just goes ba-boing off the opposite side of the ropes. Does a tope suicida of his own. Hell of a coast to coast from Zach as well. He got such height. He was so high.
You can tell these two have been knocking about together for many, many years because they were it was liquid street fight wrestling.
Street fight wrestling. That's the highest Zach's been since he last did the doobies. in the tree with his friends. That painful segment all those weeks ago. Then he went through the board at ringside, which is a little bit weird, but it looked gnarly all the same. The lengthways swanton bomb while Wes was in the trash can. So Wes is in the trash can, but he's not like across the way like they normally are when they take a swanton bomb. He's lengthways. So when Zach does the swanton bomb, he just lands on all of Wesley at the same time. I've never seen it done that way before, but it looked very gnarly.
I liked it. I like to think someone else will steal that on the main roster.
Yeah, then we get to some people have called this a really telegraph spot. I thought it looked fantastic all the same, but also terrifying. It's when Zach's going for something off the top rope like a springboard, but Wes is just like, no, pal, I'll just throw you. I'll just push you off the top rope. And Zach goes, wee! Flies all the way, I don't even know, 10 feet maybe?
He cleared the ring.
I've burped again. He cleared the ring, he cleared the table. He clipped the table on the way down. It was an absolutely horrible fall.
It wasn't very nice.
But at least he got back up and completed the match.
Great work from both of them. Yeah, and the right win, actually. I think putting Wes over Zach at this point. Let's galvanize Wesley's heel turn.
Yeah, nice finish as well with the chain wrapped around Wes's legs. So he's like tied his legs together kind of, but then done a double knees, where normally the knees go either side of the face, but because there's chain in the middle of them,
it just whoosh.
Right in the face. Right in the face, put a chain in the face. Lovely stuff. Interesting scenes backstage as well afterwards, because Zach Wentz, we all know, was Nick Carter back in the day. Was it Nick Carter? Nash Carter.
I was going to say Nick Carter was a singer.
Boys.
He was one of the Backstreet Boys, wasn't he? Nash Carter, yeah.
Nash Carter was in an NXT back in the day, and Triple H was obviously backstage for this edition of NXT because he was producing, as we saw at the end credits, and he gives like Zach a nice little talk. So maybe with them definitely signing Jordan Grace, with them definitely signing Joe Hendry.
As you said in the news.
I'm just breaking that news now. It's already happened.
Are they definitely signing the Rascals?
Definitely. Maybe potentially signing the Rascals as well.
Yeah, there's a few people from TNA that I could see WWE going, here's a bag of money, we'll have them off you, thank you very much.
Just depends when their contract is up.
Yes.
He'd be a good fit though.
I think, bring the Rascals across. That'd be a great time.
Just not in the tree with the weed.
Nah, we'll get rid of that whole...
We need to know what to...
We'll get rid of the tree stuff.
Oh, what a bad
tree
segment,
stuff
though.
needs to gan.
That's why we do what we do. Nobody talks like that, man. Right.
You did just then.
I know. And I felt like an arse doing so as well. Freshly turned heel, I should say. Miz is here for Miz TV with Tony and Oba ahead of their North American title match next week. Tony talks about winning the title because he's been training bare hard. I'm terrified that they're going to do it, Tom. Oba says that Miz should know when someone is chatting bollocks. He doesn't say that, but I hope he does in the future because that would sound fantastic in Oba's voice. And that's what Tony is doing here. This sends Tony off on a pure white meat babyface promo about I grew up on the streets of Chicago. My family are here. Here comes Jackie Robinson.
It's hard to kind of do I'm just a normal guy who grew up in Chicago when you work for an actual crime family.
But then Oba replies to Tony, and he sounds like the absolute dog's bollocks when saying, Tony, your family can't fight for you. Everyone knows you can't win. I know you're broken. Tony tries to convince himself that Oba is just a man. You're just a man, and life is a nightmare. I remember TikTok from 2020 with the champion saying, I am inevitable. A very, very good promo battle here.
The whole Tony D'Angelo journey back to the North American title match, it should be someone else. I'm not saying Tony doesn't deserve it, but Tony, as you say, Tony's a member of an actual crime family.
But he's also one of the 4 pillars of NXT.
4 pillars?
Yes. Tony, Andre, Von, and I always forget the 4th one.
Who's the 4th pillar of NXT?
Go back to the early days of NXT. Joe Gacy.
Joe Gacy.
Original Joe Gacy.
4 pillars of yeah. He is an early pillar of NXT. But the whole thing of like, I'm just a normal guy who just lost his confidence, he's coming back. You're in a crime family. It should be, look, we'll face you next week, and if I can't beat you, we're going to chuck you in the boot and chuck you in the river. I've got 19 members of the family that are going to drag you to the bridge. We're going to chuck you off the bridge, mate. That should be Tony's story. This story's great, but for someone else.
Yeah. Kalani Jordan.
But I still there's no disrespect to Tony. I like the build and stuff, but I feel like this whole
I know
story
what you're saying.
Oba Femi should just be the North American champion forever.
Yeah.
And and I love the fact that the general vibe, we mentioned this last time I was on the podcast, the vibe of feud with Oba Femi is you go with all the confidence, you realise he's a goddamn brick wall, and then you're physically and emotionally just wrecked because you're like, he's a brick, can't stop him.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just Why bother? And then and you have a mental breakdown after fighting this literal brick wall. And then he needs to turn up on the main roster like Thanos at the end of Infinity War with the Bloodline and Cody and all that in the ring. And he just needs to go bang, 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 bang.
I saw people saying he quoted Thanos in this promo, but I didn't.
I am
catch
inevitable.
Where. Is that what he says?
Yeah,
never seen them.
That's a Thanos quote. I'm inevitable.
Not as good as episode 1, The Phantom Menace. But that
Nothing
promo
is.
where he's like, you are a man who definitely has a ceiling, Tony. I am the North American champion forever because it's my title. The crowd reaction to him was a loud, and I mean loud, golf clap. A loud golf clap. They know it's true. And I love the fact that Oba, we all know that in years gone by, someone with the gimmick of Oba would have been made a mute.
Yeah.
By different bookers. I like the fact he's been allowed to talk because he can talk very, very well indeed. It adds to the presentation. And I like the fact he's just doing his little strut until he gets to like halfway down the ramp now. It gets a bit awkward towards the end, I think.
And it's in time with the music.
Yeah. But the shirt and the presentation,
So good.
it's all there.
He's the guy. He's the guy.
When he's
future guy.
When he's wrestling ready for the main event for the main roster. My goodness.
Stick the world title on him.
My God.
Have him beat Cody.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oba Sapiens.
I think the WWE title will go right. It's Cody now. It'll go from Cody, Rock, Cody, Oba.
I've just mixed up Homo Sapiens for Omos and Oba Feminists.
Oh, I didn't want to say anything.
Oba Feminists unite. Up the Oba Feminists.
Up the Oba Feminist.
I am an Oba Feminist.
I am also an Oba Feminist.
Are you an Oba Feminist, John?
I'm an Oba feminist. Yeah.
It's a hard way to say it, isn't it?
Do you think
Oba-feminist.
Tony's winning then?
Yeah.
That's weird.
No.
Terrified.
It's got to be like shenanigans.
They've done the
I don't
promo
wanna-
last week where he's training in the derelict warehouse and it's very rocky, and then he's facing obviously the big bruising heel and like, you're just a man. You're not a big boy. You're just a boy.
Yeah.
A normal sized boy.
What if Stacks? Tony. I mean, it's a bit of a rinse and repeat of the thing they did with Chase U. But what if Tony is just in this unbelievable submission hold by the massive Oberfemi, and it's Stacks that throws in the towel?
I'll take it. Then we'll get a feud with Stacks and Tony.
And it's like, why'd you do that? I said, hey, boss, I've got to save you. We're an actual crime family.
I'll fight you for the rights to run the family, man.
We had new NXT titles unveiled
did.
at the start of the show. Do we get a new North American title and a women's North American title next week? And a tag title next week?
I don't know because they don't feature the new logo, do they, as prominently?
Not as prominently, so maybe we keep the design, but just change the logo at the top.
I forgot to mention it at the start, didn't I? But I do like the new designs.
I like the new
They're very UFC feeling. When you look at UFC titles, they're just
Yeah.
the platinum looking, not as flamboyant as they used to be.
No.
Up the rainbows from the 2.0 era onwards. The belt that Ethan Page walked out with for main event, obviously.
Great place.
Cora Jade lambasts everybody forgetting about her when Roxanne Perez arrives on the scene. Cora likes the woman that Roxanne has become before it's teased that maybe a common enemy can bring the pair of them back together.
Nice.
I was saying earlier, it needs more salt here. I don't like the fact that Roxanne's turned heel and Cora's gone, I'll forget about all of our water under our bridge and just be friends with you now because you're also heel. We need more reasons, Chef Michaels. More salt, more pepper, more cheese in the soup.
That's put more cheese in your soup. But hey, look, let's let it play out.
Yes, I know.
I'm fine with it, as we've discussed, but let's let it play out.
I'll let it breathe because it is
Let it
Chef
breathe.
Michaels and he has a proven track record of being the best booker we've seen in wrestling ever. Booker T. All the bookers, right? He's better than all of them.
Booker Dano from Kojak that time.
Kojak?
Booker and Dano.
Kojak? Have you ever seen Kojak?
No, God, of course I haven't.
I know he had a lollipop, that's all I know.
I got gaslit in the office upstairs when everyone went they'd never heard of Fraggle Rock.
I've heard of it, but I don't know what it is.
I've heard of
Oh, you're all gaslighting me again.
Can you Google
What do you mean?
Fraggle Rock Show?
it. We've heard of it.
It's really okay. We've heard of it then. That's fine.
Yeah, I've heard of Fraggle Rock.
You've never seen it.
No.
I recognise it as well.
All right.
yes.
It was Fraser and Aiden mainly that were gaslighting me saying they'd never heard of Fraggle Rock.
19-year-old Fraser and 73-year-old Aiden.
Yeah, exactly. It's missed both of them.
Yeah, they
There you
yeah,
go. That's Fraggle Rock.
It's the knockoff Muppets.
Well, it's the same house. It's Muppets.
Oh.
Yeah, it's the same people. The Muppets did Fraggle
Oh,
Rock.
not the same house.
It's
No,
in the
no.
Muppets universe.
Yeah, it's in the Muppet Cinematic Universe.
See.
They live underground and they dance their cares away.
Look at Red Fraggle.
Red Fraggle's great.
Is that what it's called? Red Fraggle?
Red. Her name's Red.
And then that's Green Fraggle, is it?
That's Alan.
Alan.
It's Gobo. Oh, I thought you were looking at Gobo then.
Nostalgia, wokeness, and Fraggle
Oh,
Rock.
you won't like it then, Joe.
Hey, wokeness, Joel, get on that. Stick that on your burner account.
After 2 malfunctions at 2 different junctions, Jada Parker leaves Lola Vice high and dry as Fatal Influence get the win. After the match, Fatal Influence call out Kalani Jordan, who has been on commentary for the match. Instead of getting a 3-on-1 beatdown on the way to finding out which member will challenge her for the North American title, Kalani brings out her backup plan, her backup dancers. No man's better than AJ. Shut up. Until Daniel Dubois said bonjour, even though he's not French, he's from London. Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair clean house and pose like feral men having a poo in the woods at the top of the ramp. Right? YouTube audience, this is how they posed.
They pose like feral men.
Like Bear Grylls and Mel B.
Proper Bear Grylls and Mel B. Does a Mel B crap in the woods? Yes, she does. Just like Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, and
Feral
Kalani
men
Jordan.
in the woods.
Yeah. We've all been there, haven't we?
We've all had a crap in the woods, to be fair.
All been caught short.
Yeah, in the woods.
I had a rough time. My first ever full-time job was at a granary. I was like the bottom of the. I was like the cleaner, just
The granary.
yeah. When I left school, I didn't want to do a life. I worked at a granary 14 hours a day, 6 days a week. It was rough, but it was great pay. And I got sent out on an errand in the middle of the day. Like, oh, Ross, can you go and pick up a part for a machine from a town that was maybe 20 miles away from where I was working? And when I got there in the town, I got caught short. I had to go and do the Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, and Kalani Jordan pose in a wood.
Oh.
Pooed in a wood. Had to use my boxes as toilet paper, threw them away. Worked the rest of the day commando.
Mate.
It was a dark time.
Were you aware?
I don't know why I had to admit that on the podcast. Nobody needed to know that.
Well, so, and when you left the granary that day, was it like, right, so it's time for the typical granary underpants inspection? I'll check that you're wearing underpants.
I feel like because when you were working,
Weird
sometimes,
granaries in the northeast.
sometimes grains do fall in your boxes. You have to
We
shake
need
them
to
out.
make sure you're not stealing any grains from the granary. Drop your kegs. Let's have a look at your boxes.
When did you poo your pants then, Tom?
The last time I pooed my pants. I'd had a really bad stomach, and we were out having a really sophisticated dinner with some friends.
Oh no, that's even worse.
And I'd been to the loo a few times, but desperately tried to not make it obvious that I was obviously having an issue. And then I did have an issue, and then all parties involved. I just went, look, I said, hey, I'm gonna have to head off very suddenly. So lovely to see you all, and just shamefully,
you actually touched cloth.
yeah.
Oh.
Oh yeah, it was.
I mean, at least I got in the woods before.
I never used that cloth again.
before dropping the deuce.
No, I had a really bad stomach for a long time.
Oh.
And it's fine now.
Condolences,
Thank you, mate.
Joel.
Come on, Joel.
Well, I can't remember number 2, but you know when you go in, when you need a piss, and the closer you get to a toilet, the more you need it. For some reason, your brain's just like, oh, it's okay now. I remember a few years ago, I really needed a toilet, and then I was running to the door, and as I was unlocking the door, it just all started. Just flooded out. As I got to the door, and yeah, so that was
That's a great piss story, but poo's the topic here. So when's the last time you pooed yourself?
That's a great question. I can't
Great
remember.
question, I know.
I really can't remember.
You can remember, you just don't want to tell everybody.
I genuinely...
We told ours.
Come on.
Ross put himself in the granary.
genuinely can't remember. I'm pretty sure I've gone in the woods before, but I just can't remember a specific time.
Come on, Joel.
Go on when I'm...
We're not letting you leave. When did you poo your pants, Joel?
I really don't know. Must have been like high school. I don't know.
Must have been. What happened to high school, Joel?
I have no
Come on,
idea.
Joel. You know
I
you
don't
want
know.
to tell us.
It must have been when I went camping.
You went camping in high school?
I've been camping with my mates, yeah. I'm sure it must have happened.
Did Mrs. Johnson?
I can imagine.
Did Mrs. Johnson not let you leave geography so you could go and do a poo? And you
I did have a
poo in
Mrs.
your
Johnson.
pants?
She was my maths teacher.
Ah, you like the look of it, don't you? I can tell on your face.
Yeah. You gave her some long multiplication.
Whoa, come on now. That's dirty.
All right.
Dirty boys.
Our food tech teacher at school was a page 3 model in the 70s and 80s.
Really?
Yeah, so when I was at high school from 05 to 09, I think I was there. She was our home economics teacher, cookery teacher.
And your new cookery teacher, Tits McGee.
We had a teacher in primary school called Mrs. Cheesecake.
No, you didn't!
Shut up, Joel. Mrs. Cheesecake.
Stop it! Cheesecake.
That must not have been true.
Cheesecake.
But that's how,
Mrs. Cheesecake.
No!
that's how I remember it.
I
yeah.
refuse to believe.
So do I, but
What did you teach?
she was just like a helper. I don't know.
Mrs. Cheesecake.
Is this someone you made up? Is this an
No.
imaginary friend, Joe?
In my head, She was called Mrs. Cheesecake.
I need to go quickly go on Facebook and just Google search.
Mrs. Cheesecake.
I don't know if I'll be able to find.
No, not to find her.
They
just
should be
to see
married now.
I'll see if there's any.
Just to see if there are any cheesecakes out there in the world.
Mrs. Cheesecake.
Let's have a look on.
I can't imagine that that's her surname.
Let's have a look on Facey Baker.
Because like Johnson comes like a derivative from the son of John.
Yeah.
And Baker comes from because people were a baker at the time. Oh, your surname is Baker, same as how people are called Butcher or Smith because you were a blacksmith or something.
My ancestor was a cracking lemon cheesecake.
Yeah, my ancestor was a cheesecake.
Joel, on Facebook, there is not one person with the surname Cheesecake.
She must not have been called that, but that's how I remember it in my head. It must have been something similar.
I found an Asian lady with 667 followers called Blueberry Cheesecake.
Oh, well, there you go.
Oh, I follow her. You won't believe why they call her Blueberry
Cheesecake. You need to find more out about that by next week's podcast.
I'll do some research.
What happened to that cheesecake? Where are we now? So yeah, Jada Parker and Fatal Influence. I did not like the breakup angle because it happened with one of my least favourite tropes in professional wrestling, Tom, and that's when we have a mistaken bump where it's clearly a mistake, but the person who gets the bump goes, I can't believe you would bump into me like that. I'm going to leave. I know there was a little bit of a malfunction at the first junction with Lola tagging us, or Lola coming in to help Jada when I think it was JC Jane was going to attack her from behind, but Jada couldn't see that happening. So Lola was right for doing so. So
it plays on the whole thing of
old white men writing wrestling. That's a hard thing to say.
Old white
these
men.
ladies always bicker.
No, ladies, but in general, it's the whole thing of like when you're not wanting to be like associated with somebody, or if someone's annoyed you, then you're already annoyed with them for the thing. So everything that they do points to that thing. You know, if you're convinced that somebody's in a bad mood with you, the slightest gesture towards you, you'll go, why are you in a bad mood with me? Because I've already convinced in my head that you're in a bad mood with me. So therefore, Jada Parker, like most of the wrestlers in these sort of tropes, was like, well, that's it. You clearly don't want to team with me. I'm not going to think any more about it. I'm just going to go. She's a hot-headed youngster.
She is a hot-headed youngster.
Yes.
Booker T thinks she's a hot-bottomed youngster too.
She's a hot-bottomed youngster as well.
All right, you're just agreeing with Booker T.
Well, on this occasion,
You chauvinistic pig.
100%. She has a lovely bottom. There's lots of male. Obafemi has a lovely bottom. Jada Parker has a lovely bottom. It's fine to enjoy a lovely bottom.
Preach.
Oh, you like those juicy doubles too, then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who doesn't?
Especially Mrs. Cheesecake.
Is that why they call her Mrs. Cheesecake?
She's got a soggy bottom.
Oh. So she's pooed herself.
I'm sure you mean she's got a base of buttery biscuit base, you not?
I do.
No, she's pooed herself.
What else was
Maybe
there?
that's why she was called Mrs. Cheesecake.
That can't be a name,
It
Joe.
can't be a name. No. I feel a bit bad.
Why
now.
have you thought that then?
I've thought it for years.
Mrs. Cheesecake.
That's just how I remember her, yeah. I'm sure we called her Mrs. Cheesecake. That does sound mental, though.
Lola Vice, I thought, was scintillating when she was left alone with all the kicks
Oh,
and
yeah,
whatnot.
those
It was
spinning
like,
kicks.
Oh, she's like Alan Shearer
Mashing
out
B
there.
and down. Go, Lola Vice.
Looking for Neil Lennon's face. It was fantastic scenes there. And then JC Jane as well. She had shades of Shearer as well, where she twatted Lola, where she just twatted her in the face to set up the finish. It was a fantastic move. Again, I wasn't too much bothered about just because it was the trope I don't like. I know where you're coming from, Tom, with your humanistic views and whatnot.
Yeah, I'm just
But I
being
look at these
humanistic.
characters as one note, how Shawn Michaels intends me to. So that's why there's always an issue. So yeah, it smells like there's going to be a 6-woman tag next week on NXT. That's what it smells like.
Yeah, that's it. The storm's coming, and it's going to be them 6.
And then we'll poo in the woods. Next up, we have Siobhan Evans is ready for Randy Orton. I don't know about you, but after watching that promo package there, Tom, all I can see is some really high RKO happening in a manner that we've never seen before.
Literally every single person I've spoke to about this match, whether it's here, online, elsewhere, the only line of discourse has been, I wonder what wacky springboard move he'll hit to get into an RKO.
You don't talk to other people, Tom. You only talk to us, okay?
I sometimes talk to Kate from Fightful.
No, don't talk to her.
She is a silly...
Not allowed.
She's a silly goose.
Not
but I
allowed.
still talk to her.
I know, that's why you don't talk to her.
Okay.
I saw you talking to the OSW boys recently.
No, don't talk to them.
I was on their podcast.
Don't talk
Yeah,
to them.
very much enjoyed that.
No,
you,
bad
mate.
people. Bad
And
people.
Joel made his debut via that as well.
Fire what?
Oh, yeah, I was on it, yeah.
Yeah, Joel was on the podcast.
What podcast?
He was his visage, pre-lovely haircut, was on the OSW review this week.
Why?
Because I talked about you. Because I talked about our trip to.
I've not seen it yet. Well,
I'm a guest on OSW Reviews.
I know that bit.
review.
You don't talk to them, no.
It was just the challenge video we did.
Yeah, we talk about the challenge video and stuff, and how Emma stopped us getting mugged.
How?
So we were on our way back from doing the live show with Grado, and Dave Meltzer had turned up, which was hilarious. And we're on the metro. We're about 3 stops from where we need to get off. And then Emma just sits up and goes, "Come on, then we're going." I said, "What do you mean? This isn't our stop." "Yeah, this is our stop. Come on." So we all get off, and they drive, and then the train pulls away. And Emma says, "We were about to get mugged." I said, "Well, wait, what do you mean?" Like there's us 3 dickheads going, "What do you mean? What are we talking about?" He said, "There were 3 blokes all stood around us, or sat around us, and as the train was pulling in, one of them reached into their pocket and pulled out a balaclava."
Oh, for God's
I was
sake.
like, "What?" I didn't see that. I said, "No, but thank God Emma did."
Yeah, all your camera gear and whatnot.
Yeah, so
We were all so
they were
naive.
apparently she looked at them as we got off and they were furious. So well done, Emma. So Emma Healy was one of our editors for Cultaholic. She works remotely, and up the Emma. Big love to Emma.
Yeah.
She was a star during that trip.
Up the Emma, indeed.
Up the Emma, saving us from getting mugged in
Although
London.
There is a small part that makes me wonder what would have happened.
Me too. It's a proper sliding doors moment. A proper sliding doors
Anything
moment.
short of death, it's fine.
Yeah, I probably would have been probably. Do you know what? I'm such a coward. I'd probably just handed the gear over. Although part of me goes, maybe I'd have fought for it and then got stabbed.
Yeah, we could have had him.
We'd have.
We could have taken him.
Bit of rough and tumble.
Yeah.
I don't mean that. I was just joking for the podcast. Next up, we have a vignette of a lady walking down a road with signs saying 10/27, or otherwise known as the date for Halloween Havoc. It's Delta.
It's Delta!
It's Delta. So based off things I've seen wrestlers say about Delta on the Twitter machine, we can assume she's meant to be at Halloween Havoc, but she'll get lost somewhere and end up somewhere else. Like the luggage always appears to do when people fly on Delta.
He did it. I love this. I can't wait for Delta just to rip the entire women's division apart. NXT.
Sorry, go on. She looks impressive.
She's incredible. If you find some Delta matches online, if you can, and they're amazing. Delta is going to add to what is fast becoming. This was a title that TNA held for the longest of times with the Knockouts division. I think NXT is building the best women's division in the West.
In the West.
Because obviously you've got Stardom and Marigold and that, and which are on another level.
It just made me think of Ernie. He drove the fastest milk cart in the West.
Ernie, the fastest milk in the West. The fastest women's division in the West.
In the West.
Yeah, so I think NXT, with adding Delta as well as Stephanie Vaquer, Julia, and the existing roster, it's fantastic.
I'm looking forward to seeing her wrestle because obviously she's got a reputation, but I've never seen a full Delta match. And I know I'm an arsehole for doing that, and there'll be fans out there listening to this podcast now going, well, if you haven't seen her entire back catalogue, you're not allowed to enjoy her.
How
because
dare
I know
you.
things that you don't know, but you should know, Ross. Don't care. Kiss my ass. Trick Willie is your new NXT champion. CM Punk gets a bit too involved and almost provides a distraction, which allows Willie to get a big trick shot in for the 3 count. Or as I've written down there, for the tree count.
The learning tree count.
There's lots of notes to write down this week, isn't there? After the match, because Chicago, and probably something to do with last week's goings on, Punk gave Page a GTS, making it all about himself and taking the shine away from the champion, which was the theme, I thought, for the early goings of the match. It was all about Punk getting too handsy and like, ha, I'm the referee, you go there and you go there. Me being an NXT purist would love to have seen this match contested without the extracurricular activity of CM Punk.
Yeah, I wonder whether they just got the timing somewhat wrong, because as the credits were rolling, it was Punk hitting the GTS.
Yeah.
Really, it should have been Tricky Willie holding up the tie.
Yeah.
They like, and in the footage that we see from after the show, where Punk says, "Hey, you've all got free pizza," he writes it because he says, "Oh, thanks for coming out and supporting us. We are," and then he gets Tricky Willie to go NXT. So he kind of writes the ship a little bit, but it's off camera at this point. So I hear what you're saying. Like, it should be, the focus should always be on Trick Williams
And Ethan Page, just the match itself, because there was too much of Punk at the start. Then when Punk was like, right, I'll let the wrestlers take center stage, then it turned into a very good back and forth main event matchup. I thought 2 lads presented on the same level, I should say. The crowd fully with Trick, which was nice to hear. The crowd fully against Ethan Page, which is also nice to hear. Heels and faces, everybody. Punk not doing the count when Trick went through the announce table, I thought was nice, because referee's discretion. He wants to see a winner.
He wants to see a winner.
He's promised David that it'll be be a winner, so he didn't count, which was a nice point. A nice callback to how Paige won the title with the pinning position after the Trick shot bounced him off the ropes, and then Trick was laid out, so he just landed on him, and then nearly pinned him. A nice callback there. Paige with the go to sleep while looking at Punk in the eyes. That's the bit where I was like, oh, because he's too distracted. I know he would be distracted by CM Punk, but he's too distracted by CM Punk. Again, is the NXT purist.
Punk gives him the 2 right in the face. Like
and then
that.
he sort of places him in the corner, which allows Trick to go on the other side of the ring and then get the
Some
Trick shot in there.
shenanigans that leave it a little bit open to disambiguation in the sense that, actually, did Punk cost?
It gives Paige a nice heelish explanation.
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, if he wasn't there.
What if Ethan Page turns up in the Hell in a Cell?
In the Hell in a Cell?
What if this is a big main roster caller for Ethan Page?
Could you imagine? No, that's juicy.
Oh, what if they're going to push him straight to the main roster?
Juicy Lucy. I mean, NXT's delivered. He stood and delivered.
Yeah.
In NXT.
He's hit the peak of NXT very quickly.
He was put in the title picture straight away, pretty much, and he just pretty much proved straight away that he belongs there, because sometimes you can get that position and then not work out.
Yeah.
But that's just not been the case with Ethan
Now
Page.
he's gone straight in at the top, and he's done very, very well for himself.
Yes.
Very good.
Bad news for next week's NXT, Tom.
Yes, sir.
Sexy Red's back. And she's terrible.
Hooray!
She's gonna be insane.
Sexy Wendy.
She's going to be in St. Louis for next week's NXT.
Oh, good. As that, I'm delighted for her. Like, Shawn Michaels really likes Sexy Wendy, so I think that's why she's back.
Why are you calling her Sexy Wendy?
It's Sexy Wendy. It's like trying to get that off the ground, really. It's a nickname for her. But we've got Randall Keith versus Javon Evans and A-Town Down Under versus Fraxium.
And maybe a six-lady tag.
And I think they have announced that.
They have
announced a six-woman, a trios match for next week, as well as... So there's plenty happening for next week. Dynamite EE, I did the notes for Dynamite EE, so I'm happy to lead. If
You
like me
go,
to lead.
girl.
You go, Goyle.
Sorry, I've eaten one of those Huel bars, and it's stuck all around my teeth like cement.
Like what?
Cement.
Oh, thank God you put the T in.
Oh, yeah.
So this Dynamite comes just a few hours after the announcement that a $185 million deal has been signed per year for Dynamite to remain on WBD. So
Bischoff.
Yeah, so sticking that. So there's a sense of celebration. But we open with the BCC, Pac, Marina Shafir, and Claudio addressing Wheelie Yuta. Pac calling him a lion, not a zoo creature or a fluffy, cute animal. Moxie addresses Bryan Danielson, saying that at Wrestle Dream, he is giving Danielson the chance to go out on his shield, be buried in his backyard, send Daddy home, and relieve him of his duty for good.
Yeah.
Great opening promo, shot magnificently.
That's the big thing about it, the way it was shot. Very different than anything I think we've seen before from AEW or any other wrestling promotion in the world ever.
Yeah.
I don't know about that, but definitely different. It felt like a new person was in charge of directing these sort of segments.
We open the 5th anniversary of Dynamite with Will Ospreay and Ricochet for the AEW International title. Don Callis approaches Ospreay beforehand and says, "We need to have a chat, you and I." And Ospreay goes, "About to have a match." And Callis says, "Don't worry, we've got to go to the airport anyway. Come on, Kyle Fletcher. Takeshita, you just mysteriously wait here."
While either looking like he wanted to shag Ospreay or fight him. I couldn't quite work because he was a bit
Maybe
like,
both. Looks suspicious.
that is horrifying for every...
Do that again. There it is. Oh, no. Well, that is how Ospreay concentrated during his match. We'll never know.
But where was Don taking Kyle? Because Kyle didn't seem to know that he had the flight that Don said he had.
Yeah, he was a bit taken by that. So
he surprised him with a trip to Lapland to see Santa Claus.
What if it was? Yeah, he said we're going to Disneyland, but he turns out it's the dentist. No, you tricked.
I'll never forget in first school there was two friends that I had. Obviously my mum couldn't afford it at the time, but two of my friends were both going to Lapland together, and they got surprised. It was like the last day at school before Christmas in year 4, and they got surprised by this trip to Lapland to see Santa Claus. And I was like, "Yeah, Mum, where's my ticket to go?" And she was like, "We're poor, Ross. I'm a single parent. I'm doing my best." Shouldn't actually say that, but I think that was the inference. It's heartbreaking season. I never did get to see Santa Claus.
So Will Ospreay and Ricochet.
But that's fine, because I got to see this match here.
Yeah, Ospreay and Ricochet for the international title. You'll be shocked to know they have a banger. They roll back the years. They get some classic bits like the double Superman spot halfway through. But they give us a bit of new flavour as well, Ross. They give us the Hurricane Rana off the barricade, Jewel walking up in Zaguri's, and Oscutter on the apron going into the break. Back from the break, we see Ospreay land feet first off a Hurricane Rana, but Ricochet sees that coming. Hoppa! Oscutter. Bang. Happy Christmas. Ricochet ducked a hidden blade, connected with one of his own, went up top for a shooting star press, near fall off of that bad boy, repeating poison ranas and a hidden blade, but both men's shoulders are on the canvas with like them lying over each other, a bit like a cuddle puddle. Consequently, the ref Knox counted 3 for both. The match was a draw, but there in the earpiece of Justin Roberts is Tony Khan, who said... There he is. And he says, Justin, we're not done yet. Get him going again.
You're a bad boy for doing that snort at the start of that.
I had something stuck in my nose. And then Justin Roberts announces that Tony Khan has agreed for this match to continue, much to the delight of Ospreay and Ricochet. However, just moments into the match restarting, Takeshita hits the ring, starts beating up, looking salacious as he always does, starts beating up Ospreay, gives Ricochet a shoe-in as well. The match ends in a disqualification and Takeshita holding aloft the international title.
I really like that finish, the second finish, because Takeshita gets all the heat in the world. We've had a double pinfall. That's bollocks. We need to see a winner. We'll give you a winner. Takeshita's like, no.
No, you won't.
But of course, this match was Ron-sealed. Either you like this kind of thing, you don't like this kind of thing, and you make it very vocal that you don't like this kind of thing because you're an arsehole, or you're not too keen on it, but you very much appreciate the athletic prowess all the same.
Certainly do.
Which is where I'm at in certain parts. Because the bit I liked about this was the different style that was put into it as well, with all of the strikes.
There was a lot of that.
There was a lot of like hard-hitting strikes and whatnot that we didn't see from the previous matches of these two. I thought, anyway.
That was it. There was a bit of classic and a bit of new.
Yeah.
And I loved it. We get Mercedes Moné showing us the best of AEW Dynamite. And it's just all the clips of her.
That's really good. I was about to say sensual healing there, but in a H-double-E.
Sensual healing.
Yeah. I'm a heel.
Yeah, she's a bad guy, and I don't like her. The Guns are cutting a promo, and they're jumped by Hangman Page with a steel chair.
You've missed a bit off that promo from Mercedes Moné. When she comes back from the promo, who's on the scene? Say his name and he appears.
Oh, I did forget a bit. Apologies. I even wrote it down.
MVP who offers Mercedes a little bit of a card. Here's a proposition for some big business for you. And I think that is the lifeline that Mercedes Moné needs.
Do you reckon joining the Hurt Syndicate?
Yes.
That's
or Big
nice.
Business. Do you reckon they'll call Big Business or the Hurt Syndicate?
No, that'd be the Hurt Syndicate. I think he referenced Big Business because obviously that was where it all began for us. So MVP potentially bringing in Mercedes Moné as a client.
I think that would work wonders for Mercedes Moné because it's not quite hit the ground running like we all thought it would do with her. I don't know what's happened with her promos. That's the main thing for me. I mean, like the match against Britt Baker had real life issues that really scuppered her performance, I think. We need to remember that Baker had a stroke, and obviously coming back from a stroke to do something physical like that, it's not going to be as good as it was before. But other matches that Mercedes Moné's had, I keep Mercedes Moné's. There's several people inside one vessel, apparently. Several other matches
of Mercedes Moné.
that Mercedes Moné has had, they haven't quite hit the heights that many people would expect. So to get her in a gimmick like this, which feels like it's going to be treated like the dog's bollocks, I think would be a good thing for her.
The Guns are cutting a promo. They're jumped by Hangman Page with a steel chair. He's evening the odds before he faces off against Juice Robinson later on.
Well, I've got a reason for Austin not being there because he takes like the hard end of the chair to the back of the head. But Colton Gunn, he should be fine. He was merely Irish whipped through a pair of doors.
He might have gone to hospital with Austin Gunn.
That's a very good explanation.
That was my thought of it. He didn't take too much of a shoe-in. He's probably gone to hospital with Austin.
He's the one wheeling the wheelchair for his brother who was conked out.
Exactly. He needs to be there for his brother. We'll get Hangman and Juice later on.
Bloody hell.
Hi, guys! It's TV time with Chris Jericho and the Learning Tree. He plugs the new AEW TV deal and takes the mick out of reporters who said it wouldn't happen.
We made a lot of experts look like real idiots. Hi, guys. I like that bit, to be fair.
He then challenges Mark Briscoe to an ROH World title match at WrestleDream because he pinned Briscoe on Collision. This brings out the conglomeration, and the Briscoe and Mark Briscoe stands them down and says he's up for the fight. And he says, "And when I beat you," to which Jericho goes, "Well, hang on, whoa. You can't beat me. Maybe your brother Jay could have."
Yeah, your brother Jay was better than you ever were.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought that was Dusty Rhodes in the ring, not Mark Briscoe, because the promo that he cuts about the fried chicken and like, no excuses, you beat me, I'm going to beat you back, that sort of thing. It just, the cadence of it and the delivery of it, it was nailed. It just felt like Dusty Rhodes.
Fabulous work from Mark Briscoe.
Fantastic from Mark Briscoe. Jericho held his own this time as well. Once the bollocks at the start was out the way, it had a purpose, which a lot of Jericho stuff in recent times hasn't had. It just felt like self-serving for tickling Chris Jericho's taint and going, "Ooh, Dave Meltzer, I'm a hero." hero.
But on this occasion, there was some service for something else.
Yeah.
So we're getting Mark Briscoe and Jericho for the Ring of Honor World title at Wrestle Dream.
I've seen a lot of people on Twitter going like, how dare they go down this route? It's disgusting, it's dirty and whatnot. If Mark Briscoe's all right with it being brought up, we should be too.
That's it. That's my thought. It's like it's not like they sprung it on Mark Briscoe.
Yeah.
They probably would have had a chat about it. Who knows? It might have even been Mark's idea.
Yeah.
So
He's a sick guy.
yes, it's not our place to be upset on someone else's behalf if they're clearly involved in the
And it
story
was
anyway.
effective as well if people are having that reaction, which I guess is the whole point of promos like that, isn't it?
That is it. We get a Darby Allin video package after this. He talks about being picked on the bus and getting into a fight with kids that were picking on him. One of the kids picked on him, had a knife, and he went, and the kid's like, what are you going to do about it then? If
Then Emma Healy appeared and said, Darby, get off this bus.
yeah, where was Emma? Where was Emma then? Darby was like, "What are you gonna do?" The kid, they were throwing stuff at him. They said, "What are you going to do about it?" He said, "Well, I guess I'm getting stabbed tonight." And then they had a fight on the bus. He said he felt the same way when he faced up against Moxley in the BCC the other week. He had the match against Moxley and was unsuccessful. He's losing faith in being the face of the company, just like a lot of people are losing faith in him being the face of the company. I never had faith in him, so I can't say I've never lost faith in him being the face of the company. He throws out an open challenge for Wrestle Dream for anyone who wants to build their name off of Darby Allin.
And just after that, Nigel says, I'd be prepared for another knife fight. So that made me think it's got to be Jay White. It'll be all white on the night. Jay likes knives. He's a knife pervert. We all know this. So we're left asking the question, obviously, because there's something else that happens further on into the episode. Who is the knife pervert potentially referenced there by Nigel? Or was it just an off-the-handle comment by Nigel all the same?
Could be an offhanded comment, a metaphorical knife fight.
Because I was thinking Carmen Petrovic from NXT. She's got a sword.
Shirley Onions does have a sword, doesn't she?
Shirley Onions has got a sword.
Does have a sword.
But I like the promo, I like the realness of like, I was on a bus and three lads were spitting at the back of my head, and I'd rather do something I'd rather get stabbed than do nothing, live by the sword, die by the sword. I thought that was badass, Tom. Badass.
I'd rather be a fool than a coward.
Yes. They didn't copy. We're not saying that.
No, but they didn't. They didn't at all. Hangman Page and Juice Robinson is up next, and they start brawling on the ramp all around the stage and through the crowd. Juice whipping Page with a leather strap at points. Page sets up a table in the crowd, doesn't get to use it. I'm sure it'll just go back to where they got it from, and it'll never be referenced again. When the match finally gets into the ring, Juice tries to choke Page with the strap and drops him with a superplex after the break. Juice cannonballs Page through the barricade. Both men get back into the ring where Juice counters an avalanche deadeye with a lovely powerbomb for a near fall. That's nice. Sneaky low blow by Page leads to a buckshot lariat and the win. Afterwards, Page tries to hang Juice again. What are you doing? You'll get the summer fruits out the sides.
No, he won't. He's dry inside. We learned this earlier.
We did learn this earlier. Well done if you remembered that as well. However, Switchblade Jay White's music hits and he attacks Page from behind. They fight into the crowd where Jay puts Page through that exposition table from earlier on. Hoisted by his own table, that lad was. Switchblade Jay White and Hangman Page. It's nice and new.
Looking forward to the piss-takey baby face that Jay White has become more recent times on AEW TV. Because as the heel, I was one of his biggest detractors. Just didn't think he was very good at promos and whatnot as a heel. MJF, you call yourself the salt of the earth, do you? Well, meh. He would just say people's catchphrases back to them and then treat that as an insult. You're the salt of the earth, are you?
You're a salt of the earth.
Chance would be a fine thing. But to see him, I'm thinking about that page of him and ELP when they're in the crowd. I think it's at a hockey game or a basketball game or something, and they're on like the kiss cam or something like that. But they're not doing the kissing; they're just going like meh, playing drums metaphorically and stuff. The piss-takey babyface Jay White is something I'm looking forward to seeing good up against Hangman Page. He was a proper serious heel.
Yeah, I like
serial killer. But the match, I like the fact the strap came out straight away from Juice after what happened on Collision. The first hanging, the dry hanging. Nice to hear the crowd being with Juice as loud as they were because he's been fantastic as a bastard for a long time now. And it's good to see the reactions getting louder and louder. The shoot backdrop on the floor for Hangman to take he was getting doused in booze in the crowd. It was fantastic knowing the history of his booze and
commentators were like, hey, normally he'd like that, but certainly didn't on this occasion.
I like the fact that we got about 10 minutes into the match before the bell was actually rung. That's how much they went around the outside the ring and through the crowd and whatnot. In the ring, I thought was really competitive. Like Juice was presented as just as good a wrestler in the circle, in the squared circle.
In the squared circle.
Not just the circle, not that show on Netflix where you pretend to be somebody else. Not that circle. The squared circle, Tom. Just as good as Hangman he is. Juice does a hellacious senton through the barricade on the outside, which you mentioned earlier on. The fall-away slam on the bottom turnbuckle from Hangman was horrible. He should do that move more if people are willing to take it, of course. I wouldn't be.
No.
That bruised like a peach.
It's a horrible move to
Juice
take.
Robinson sold it really well, but I don't think I had a choice in the matter. It was fantastic. And I like the fact that Hangman, being the prick that he is, got the low blow when he had sort of Aubrey held close to him so she couldn't see. And then that gets him the win. And as I say, looking forward to seeing what Jay White does as a more piss-takey babyface.
During the match, Excalibur informs us on commentary that Taz has been attacked by unknown assailants in the car park.
This is awful.
He's in rough shape and he's gone to the hospital. And then he'll go back to New York. And this was a devastation on the week where Maff isn't here. I'm sure Maff would have... and I think it's also suspicious that the week that Maff isn't here, Taz gets attacked.
There I was thinking it was Jack Perry because he arrives in his party bus in the next segment.
Yeah, so who attacked Taz?
Who
was
in the
it
car
Jack Perry, Christian Cage, the Denver Broncos,
Oh, Matthew of Botchamania.
Matthew Bachamania?
If Matthew was to attack someone, how would he do it?
I think he would be from behind and with a weapon to the back of their head. No, because he's cowardly. He'd wait till you weren't looking and then just thwack you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A nunchuck.
No, I think Matthew, being the old school wrestling fan that he is, it would be a roll of quarters and a sock. Or a slapjack a la Stevie Ray.
Lovely little slapjack
Lovely
there for you,
stuff.
Tom.
Lovely.
Little slapjack.
Lovely.
Girthy slapjack.
Girthy slapjacks, the back of your head.
Ooh, that girthy sloop juke, as he would probably call it, as he mispronounced it.
Jack Perry arrives in the misery machine, aka the scapegoat van. And Shibata approaches him with his phone translator app and challenges him for the TNT title. Perry says, "I'll think about it." Perry walks off. Shibata looks slightly to the side. Perry jump attacks him.
Healing. Sensual healing.
He throws him into the misery machine and accepts the challenge by Shibata. What a naughty boy. But Jack Perry versus Shibata at Wrestle Dream, very nice.
Yeah, nice all the same. I hope the Shibata batters him, quite frankly. It'll be good to see Perry getting battered for a little period of time, but I think he's going to win, isn't he? I think that's a bit of a foregone conclusion of a match, but I guess the sort of match you need to have if you're going to have a lengthy title reign as it looks like Jack Perry's going to have.
Feels like it.
Yeah.
Very intense Bryan Danielson promo where he says all he can think about is F John Moxley.
Bend him over the counter, Daniel.
Yeah!
Bryan Danielson.
Yeah! He says he's challenged Okada because they're currently 1-1, and Danielson had his arm injured by Okada, so there's a bit of revenge on the mark there, but he dedicates the match to AEW.
Yeah, 5 years and we've broken the entire system wrestling was built on. Yeah! AEW, this is for you. Yeah! This is where the best wrestle, and also Chris Jericho's here. That's why I challenged Okada.
So that's all the reasoning that you need for this really basically pay-per-view quality match happening with 2 days' notice.
Well, it's on the 5-year anniversary, and it makes sense.
Yeah, but it's one of those matches where I'd love to have had a bit more build to
Are you
it.
one of those dense pillocks on Twitter who didn't understand the rules of the match?
No, I completely got the rules of the
Yeah,
match.
it's really easy to
because
understand.
Continental title matches have a 20-minute time limit, so
Yeah.
therefore the Continental title is only online for the first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense. I do believe a lot of people that don't understand it are just disliking it for the sake of disliking it.
Amen, sister.
Because what's happened is, weirdly, there's a lot of people online that make disliking a wrestling promotion their personality as opposed to an actual personality.
Suck it!
Oh, it's tiresome. It's tiring. Imagine being like that all the time.
Yeah.
God, I'd be knackered. I'd just be tired from the source.
Could you go on Dax Harwood's Twitter and find his response to the people who weren't or deliberately understand?
I know MJF tweeted about it, didn't he?
Was it that? Did he reply to MJF?
Yeah, I
Dax?
think I
remember
think
it was like, "Tell me you don't watch like 1982
Yeah,
Deep
it
South
was.
without telling me." I just thought it was a fantastic response of like, "Yeah, I'm pretty much in the same boat there, but I
It
still
makes
understand the rules."
sense.
Yeah, this is it.
So MJF tweets out, "Guys, I had to stop what I was doing and read this graphic. After reading it repeatedly for a full 8 hours, I've come to the conclusion that no human being can possibly comprehend this stipulation. It's impossible. Please help." I just think he's being deliberately obtuse.
Of course he's been deliberately obtuse, but then that doesn't fly on Twitter anymore.
And then Dax Harwood, "Tell me you didn't watch any early NWA/WCW TV title matches without telling me you didn't watch any early NWA/WCW TV television match." I've had one beer, half a beer. You nerd, Dax. You wrestling
I like how he's
nerd.
tagged Jesus in it.
Or the son of, what's her face, Cobain and Tony Hawk's son.
Yeah.
Tag them in it as well. Why not?
What's she called? She's called like Peaches McGee, isn't she, or something?
Peaches McGee.
Kurt Cobain's daughter.
It was a boy with
So
Ronan.
Kurt Cobain's daughter's name.
Francis. I think, yeah.
Francis Bean.
Is it?
Jesus.
I'm sure her middle name's Bean
Peaches McGee.
because she was baked.
Francis B.
The dad enjoyed the Sweet Mary Jane, I'm sure, and that's how he... There you
Oh,
go.
wow, yeah.
Francis Bean Cobain.
Bean.
Bloody hell, she looks like him.
She
Those
does, doesn't
eyes.
Yeah.
Ah.
The eyes of her father.
That's quite scary.
And also the eyes of the demon headmaster.
If those eyes turn up on your Tinder, Joel, which way are you swiping?
Oh, right, every day.
There you go.
Is that good or bad?
Good.
Never used Tinder, me.
I use Hinge. I don't use Tinder.
Hinge? What an interesting name for an app.
Like, yeah, I suppose it is.
Yeah.
Do you think it's because of you're opening the door to love?
Yeah. No. Through the door hinge.
Yeah.
No.
Because you're squeaking. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Oh, so now we go on to Dr. Britt Baker, DMD versus Serena Deeb. They both have flags. Good job, ladies. Mariah May is watching from the crowd as well, eyeing up potentially her next challenger. There is solid techers from these two, and both escaped submission attempts until Baker lands an avalanche air raid crash for 2. As Deeb goes for a roll-up, Baker turns it into lockjaw and gets the tap-out win. Post-match, Deeb assaults Baker with the half crab, but it's Queen Aminata that makes a surprise save, taking care of some business with Serena Deeb to the shock of Britt Baker.
Because she's been feuding on Collision with Serena
They've been
Deeb,
having a little bit of a back and forth on the collisions.
I like the way the match was structured because essentially for 3/4 of it, Serena Deeb was doing technical wrestlings to Britt Baker, and all Britt Baker had to do was sell it in a convincing way, and that's what she did. The onus, as we saw, maybe being on Britt Baker this early into her return, maybe isn't the right thing to do because obviously I've done sound like a broken record, but going through that sort of stuff and then coming back to a physical endeavor like professional wrestling is going to take its toll on you. So the fact that she just had all these moves done to her in a very realistic way, a very technical way, and sold it all well, I thought was a nice way to structure this particular matchup.
I thought so as well.
She's 5-0 in Pittsburgh now, though.
She's undefeated in Pittsburgh,
Yeah, it's
and
the
so therefore,
streak.
whoever beats her in Pittsburgh is going to be Brock Lesnar, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, no. The Avalanche air raid crash, Tom, was probably my move
I
of the match.
loved that.
Yeah, didn't look like a flat landing for Serena Deeb. But there is a thing I had to an issue I had was watching Mariah watch these two lasses win shows a bit how directionless she is at the minute, Mariah May, without Mina Shirakawa there, because Britt Baker has had one match since her return, and she lost that match before this one here, and Serena Deeb hasn't been pulling up any sort of trees, so the fact that she was watching two potential challengers who shouldn't be potential challengers was a bit like,
It shows there's a lack of like forward momentum in that particular part of the division.
We need Mina to get in there and go one way or t'other.
Yeah, we need that
Against
story
Mariah
to
or
progress
with
now.
Mariah,
We need a few more notes to move it along. Hook backstage is livid about the attack on his daughter, and he nearly swore on television. He's going to find out who did it, though.
I'm coming for you.
Yeah, that's
This
simple.
is the most emotions we've seen from Hook, and I thought it was a nice thing to see.
Yeah, he looked like he was really fighting to keep his emotions in check. That's exactly what he did. We cut to Christian Cage, mysteriously, straight away. In the back, he tells Pittsburgh to sit down and shut their mouths.
Christ alive, you cracked the code. I never even thought about that.
Yeah. he conducts his business. He is our patriarch and father figure. Soon he'll have it all. Hook, line, and sinker.
He's even spelled it out, and I've missed it as well.
Christian attacked Taz.
He bloody did, didn't he?
Your father's dead.
He doesn't like dads.
Doesn't like dads.
Bloody hell.
He's going after Hook.
Christ,
He's
I'm
going to
stupid.
He's going to try and bring Hook into the patriarchy.
How can I understand the rules for the Continental title match or that portion of the match and not get that reference there? I just love the fact that Christian calls himself the reigning defending undisputed next AEW World Champion. And he's going to do even more in the next 5 years compared to what he did in the first 5. And the first bit of business apparently is killing Taz.
Killing Taz and then stealing Hook for his own. Join my family. Climb in my mouth.
He's going to Ooh.
Climb in my mouth.
I wonder if he'll end up with Kip Sabian and Hook. 2 new sons.
Ooh, look at my sons.
Yeah, that's what I would do if I was in Christian's position.
Well, he needs some new ones now. Killswitch is out for a bit.
Yeah.
So let's bulk up the patriarchy.
So he puts Kip Sabian on Hook's shoulders.
And one of them wears a mask.
Yeah.
One of them wears like a rubbish Jurassic Park kid's mask. Hey, there's Killswitch. How you doing?
And then if Killswitch hopefully does return, that sets up a nice storyline because they were doing the sort of
Who's the real Killswitch?
well, they were doing the nice breakup of
Twin magic.
The nice breakup of Killswitch and Christian, weren't they, for a little bit there before Wembley happened? So they could go back to that if Christian's.
Yeah, you just have it. You don't know which is the real one. So like you have Kip Sabian and Hook on their shoulders with a trench coat and a mask. Then they fall down. The ref's distracted. Killswitch rolls in.
And then Brian Lee goes, "I'm the real Killswitch."
I'm Spartacus.
And then what's his face comes back from the dead? Leslie, Big Leslie.
Big Leslie.
What was he called? Leslie
Nielsen.
Leslie Nielsen. comes back
I'm
from
looking
the
for
dead.
the Undertaker.
I'm looking for the real kill switch.
Big Leslie.
Rest in peace. I assume he's dead.
Big Renee is backstage with Mariah May. Yeah, he's very dead.
Very.
Yeah, he's very dead, yeah. He's 6 feet from a comeback. Renee Paquette is with Mariah May backstage, and Mariah May runs down Willow Nightingale for falling upwards, constantly winning and then losing championships. This leads to Willow rocking up and a brawl kicking off between the two. So maybe Willow versus Mariah is the next step to make.
Yeah, that sits a bit nicer with me.
That sits a lot nicer
than
with
Britt
me.
Baker or Serenity being two of the near challenges for Mariah May. I liked how Mariah laid it all out. The Owen, whatever else she mentioned, as you mentioned there, and then she's lost other.
Owen, the CMML title,
Yeah.
the New Japan Strong Women's title.
She keeps losing
TBS
stuff,
title.
falling upwards.
She's actually one of the most successful women on the AEW roster in terms of belts won.
Yeah, the belt collector.
She's a belt collector, but she collects one at a time.
Willow! But now that she's friends with Yuka Sakazaki, she gets a title shot. That's not how it works, even though Yuka's theme is the best theme in wrestling.
Exactly.
Yeah. I liked Matthew's edit onto it the other day with Tamatonga singing the theme song.
Oh, wasn't it perfect?
Lovely.
Perfection.
Oh, it was bloody lovely.
Matthew Gregg on form once again. Throughout the night, we're getting clips of the best moments of Dynamite. And one of those moments they show now is Private Party beating the Young Bucks in the first round of the tag tournament.
And then
Shocker.
You do that thing that Matthew hates about baby faces in wrestling. You've seen that promo watching on your TV at home and you go, oh. And that's because you sit there and realise that they've done little to nothing since the second episode of Dynamite.
Yeah. But here they are, facing the Iron Savages, with Stokely Hathaway smiling and watching on the monitor in the back.
Yes, that's what they need.
They need a manager.
I think Stokely and the PP coming together will work wonders for all three of them.
Private Party win very quickly with gin and juice. And post-match, they set their sights on being the next AEW Tag Team Champions. And they ain't going to wait. They beat the Young Bucks once. Get on out here now and let's beat you again. Matthew and Nicholas then make their appearance. They tease taking them up on the challenge because they've got an overrun tonight. So they can go a bit longer. It's funny when they mention business things. Then they realise...
EVP's done. What else would you expect?
Well, exactly. They say, let's fight now. Oh, wait, we realise we've only got super limited days. We're not going to waste one of them in a crappy town like Pittsburgh.
Heat, baby.
To which Jack Perry then jumps Private Party and beats them up. And this brings out Shibata to even the odds with Perry powdering. Christopher Daniels comes out and he makes a 6-man for Rampage. Remember her, which will feature the Young Bucks and Jack Perry taking on Shibata and Private Party.
Yeah, Rampage is going as part of this new deal, isn't it?
It's going away.
Leave the memories alone and bring back Dark.
Yeah, well, it can now, apparently. Part of the deal suggests they can have more ownership on where they put other products on other platforms. So that means potentially they could bring back Dark and Dark Elevation.
They should do.
It's only if
Just Dark. We don't need Dark Elevation.
No, we
I don't need to hear
Paul White and Mark Henry on comms again. Going, how you doing? What'd you have for dinner?
But the main thing about this segment here for me was it felt like a bit of a re-debut for Private Party because now they're just called Zay and Quinn. That was what they were announced by Justin Roberts on the way down the ring. That's the first time I've heard that theme. I don't know if
It's a soft reset, I think, for Private Party.
They've just come and said, we want the tag team titles. It felt like a nice little reset there. And then, obviously, I think it was Brother Zay said, suck my ass. Let's do it now.
Yeah. They bleeped it.
Yeah, suck my ass.
Crackle, crackle. Renee Paquette welcomed MVP backstage.
Suck my ass, Joel.
Is that on your Tinder? MVP has an announcement, but Prince Nana interrupts and offers to lace his boots up and beat up MVP for the comments that he made at Grand Slam.
I'm ready for it. Me, MVP versus Prince Nana.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
MVP says he doesn't deal with complaints, but this guy does, introducing him and the world to the complaints department of the Hurt Syndicate, Shelton Benjamin. Oh, wow. You've debuted Shelton in an administrative role. Fumbled.
No way.
I'm joking.
That's
I'm
not
joking.
your personal opinion.
Of course
is it,
it's
Tom?
not. I'm delighted they've hired Shelton Benjamin. He is amazing. He's a player manager.
I love the juxtaposition of, here is the president of the complaints department. He'll rip your face off because he's massive. It's Shelton Benjamin. Feels like phase 1 of this like new faction becoming a thing.
Oh, yes.
Mercedes Money's been approached. Well, Swerve got approached last week. Mercedes Money's been approached. Now Shelty B is the first proper phase 1. What about phase 2, phase 3, phase 4?
Well,
easy for me to say.
Well, we know that it's been revealed this week that AEW have signed MVP, they have signed Shelton Benjamin, and they have signed Bobby Lashley. So, and then that leads me to believe that I think Darby Allin's surprise opponent
Big
at
Bob.
Wrestle Dream could be Big Bob.
Who loves knives.
Who loves knives, but he's a walking knife because he will literally spear Darby Allin.
In the back of the head.
In the back of the heat.
Like a spit from a teenager.
Exactly.
Back in the day.
Big pop for Shelty B. Big pop for Shelty B. Crowd happy to see Shelton, as am I. He takes Prince Nana's coffee and leaves. So
Clearly didn't drink any, though. I take issue with that.
yeah, he didn't look like
There
he
was
drank.
no... It's like a Juice Robinson vessel. There was no liquid inside that cup.
I've had many drinks and cups on the desk for news videos and such, and I've had no drink in them. So I know when you're actually
You
drinking
don't
something.
say that on camera.
Yeah, you do. I did.
magic, Tom.
I think I did one news video during the pandemic where I went, "There's nothing in this."
The magic, it's gone. Cultaholic's not even real.
I'll tell you, Sam Driver always has a full cup of coffee when he does it. Sam Driver has a shoot cup of coffee on a Saturday. It's a shoot coffee that he has in his one on a Saturday when you watch him. It's a shoot coffee. Mine's not.
More secrets on patreon.com/cultaholic.
The most complicated main event of all time happens next. It's the AEW Continental Champion Okada versus the AEW World Champion Bryan Danielson. Okada's title is on the line for the first 20 minutes only. Sorry, can you repeat that? My head has exploded. The crowd, the AEW are now doing this thing where for the big matches, as soon as the bell rings, everyone starts chanting and going wild. This is a nice new bit that they're introducing. They did it for the opening match with Ricochet and Willie, and they've done it here for Bryan and Okada. They go wild at the bell. Okada goes slowly when he's in charge of the match, and commentary reason, and I think this is a wonderful middle masterstroke. Okada's in no rush.
Yeah.
He wants to run the 20 minutes down, because then once he gets past that 20 minute, it's only Bryan's title on the line.
That was the big bit for the first 20 minutes. It's just
Yeah.
how such a great smarmy heel Okada was. Little powder here, little frustration tactic there, little rest hold here to eat up some more seconds. They nailed the performance there.
Rainmaker pose, followed by the middle fingers. It's just
Yeah.
great. It's great. Danielson fights back with a submission hold, lands a Busaiku knee in the 19th minute. Okada rolls outside as Justin Roberts announces 20 minutes has passed. And the crowd boo like crazy. It was wonderfully done.
Yeah.
And then Okada kicks it into high gear. He drops Danielson with a tombstone onto a steel chair outside the ring.
Yeah, after Danielson almost went arse over tit off the top rope for the springboard flippity-doo to the floor.
Yeah,
He did well
nearly.
to save himself there.
He did a nice recovery off the back of that one there. Danielson rallies with an avalanche back suplex after the break. He took too long to wind up for another Busaiku knee. It leads to Okada clattering him with a Rainmaker, but they're both too haggard
Whoa.
to follow up.
What a save.
Thank you very much.
Oh, God.
That's exciting, wasn't it? That was exciting. I talk with my hands. I'm like Donald
Is it
Trump.
empty?
Yeah, it's empty.
Oh, that's all right.
But it would have been funny, though. Danielson flips out of a German suplex and Okada hits a Busaiku knee of his own. And then Danielson hits a Rainmaker of his own. They're not your moves. Okada then hits Future Shock as the Blackpool Combat Club appears around the crowd.
What are they there for, Tom?
Well-
Are they with Bryan? Are they against Bryan? Are they against Okada? Are they doing their own thing?
Well, they distract Okada enough to allow Bryan to get a backslide win out of nowhere. I thought, as exciting as the match was, thought the finish was a little bit flat.
I saw why they did it because
Yeah.
of that question of why are they here. We had the promo at the start of the show where Moxley mentions Danielson. They also left it a bit open-ended at the start of the promo. Are they talking about Yuta or Danielson? Then they make it clear they are talking about Yuta for certain stuff, then Danielson about other things. So there was a bit like, oh, what are they going to do? So I see why they did it, but I do agree with you, though.
Yeah, it's a little bit flat. But then, so therefore, Okada lands a Rainmaker post-match onto Danielson. He flips off the BCC and leaves in a huff. And from there, Pac and Claudio enter the ring and they hold Bryan Danielson in place for Moxley. And Mox comes through the crowd with a mic and says, this is much bigger than him. It's not about Mox, suggesting that a higher power is forcing the hand of Jon Moxley and the Blackpool Combat Club. Here comes the money. Here comes the money. He's on his way. Wheeler Yuta for now, though. Look out! Oh, he's got the fizz. Wheeler Yuta comes out armed with a hammer. He charges the ring and clears house. Mox challenges Yuta to use the hammer, but he can't. So the BCC briefly rally, and then they get out of there. Yuta gets on the mic and says he's sick of being treated like a child. And it's revealed that next week on Title Tuesday, it's going to be Claudio and Pac versus Bryan Danielson and Wheeler Yuta.
All the gold on the
On
line.
Title Tuesday. Don't emphasize it's Title Tuesday. Actually, the show's called Title Tuesday, but either way. But yeah, so brilliant main event. I thought really nice story told between the two with the 20-minute time limit really playing a key factor in it. Wasn't overcomplicated. And then I thought the finish was a tiny bit flat, but as we say, it served a purpose. And on we go to Wrestle Dream for Moxley versus Danielson.
Yeah, I was sitting there watching the first 20 minutes going, this is like an old-fashioned American-style wrestling wrestling main event. There was none of the sequences and it was a good tactical battle. Then you realize it's Okada trying to waste time on and count down the clock. It was a nice tactical battle. I thought the finish for the first bit was nice with the false finish where the 20 minutes was elapsed with the crossface locked on, Okada rolling out the ring. What an arsehole. Then it was a slobber knocker from there on out because both men just want to get the match won as quick as they can, but in the process of not getting it done, they were both absolutely cream crackered, and it made for a lovely little spectacle, so it did. And Hammer.
Hammer.
Back in the day, Pac used to love the hammer.
He did love a hammer back in the day.
Wheeler Utah's got the hammer. You had a great Utah with the hammer.
I wouldn't have been scared of Yuta just running to the ring, but I would be scared of Yuta with a hammer.
Exactly. And that's why they did it, I guess.
That's
But
why they
yeah, it's nice to see that Bryan Danielson's is completely out there. That question's been boxed off. Final good and proper now. It already was, basically, but you know what I mean. And yeah, the higher power thing is... as I keep saying, I think there's legs in the Elite with or without Shane. And then after that, I get worried when Shane starts wrestling matches.
Here comes the money. And there goes the Week in Wrestling.
Thank you for watching the Week in Wrestling.
Let's have a rummage in our mailbags.
Christ.
It's time for a pumped mailbag, everybody. Hey, guys! I remember you lot answering some sad person's life issues a while back, so since it's been a while since you've done it, here's mine for you to sort out. My girlfriend of 1 month claims she doesn't like wrestling, but I know for a fact she's taken my Roman Reigns action figure back to her parents. I don't know what she's doing with it, and frankly, I don't care. Although, if she's getting some enjoyment out of it, that's kind of hot, obviously. I'm now Googling Roman Reigns fancy dress costumes, but don't have the hair, tan, or muscles. I know a couple of you on the podcast have long-term girlfriends, and Matthew is lonely, despite trying hard with his wardrobe.
Bless.
Come on now. There's no need for that.
Says the guy who's accusing his missus of diddling with a Roman Reigns action figure.
If she's doing that, Tom, that's hot. So I'm wondering, with your different perspectives in the romance world, how you would deal with this and make sure Roman comes home. Please help me. Yours, Tristan from Chicago. So, Tom, on the brink of marriage, how long have you been with your good lady?
It'll be 10 years next year.
Let's go back 9 years in a matter of months.
Okay.
You've been going out for a month or two.
Yeah.
She's taken your Repo Man action figure.
Yeah. My Luther's trading card.
You think she's taken your Luther's trading card, but you're not sure. But you want to find out, like, good and proper, what's happened.
Okay.
How do you deal with it?
Okay, so here's what I do, right? And it's quite a complicated system. So really, really lock in and pay attention here, Tristan. I'd ask. I say, hi, my Roman Reigns action figure's gone missing. Don't suppose you have anything to do with it. No worries.
But what if she gets spooked? A month in. That tells her that you don't
I
trust
would be
her.
more spooked if, it's a seemingly innocent, innocuous question. Don't suppose you've seen my Roman Reigns action
What
figure,
if she
have
takes
you?
offence and then you never see Roman again?
Then you shouldn't be with her if she's that easily offended.
Why would you take offence to
Why
that?
would have you sold my Roman Reigns action figure? How dare you?
Because
that's a red flag.
You're accusing your new lady of stealing already.
No, I've asked her if
that's true,
she's
actually.
seen it. There might be a perfectly valid reason.
What I would do, Tom,
Okay, go on. What would you do?
put Smackdown on a Friday night. And when Roman
And
comes
mind
on...
my own business.
Yeah, but when Roman comes on, just go, bloody hell, he's nice, isn't he, that lad there? And if she's like, whoa, he's a bloody lovely looking fella.
Well, just watch her face, see how she reacts.
And
when
then,
it comes out.
the conversation gets going about Reigns. You talk about his hair, you talk about his tan, you talk about his tattoos, his wrestling
Sticking a
ability,
wrestling figure up
his
the old-
title reign, and then one thing leads to another. Oh, I used to have a Roman Reigns action figure, but I can't seem to find it. You wouldn't know where it was, would you? I think you need to butter the croissant, so to speak, before putting it in your mouth. I think it needs a little bit more setup. Just because the relationship is a month old, we need a bit more of a setup before the question goes in.
I mean, the bigger overarching thing here is if she's nicking from you, that's a red flag.
That is a red flag.
But also,
That is
you can't blame her if it's Roman Reigns. You know?
Well, it's still
That's his property, Joe.
still stealing.
But it's Roman Reigns.
It's still stealing.
I know he's a sexy guy, but that's his little action figure there, his little toy. I can't call it toy.
You might
sorry.
want to do some unspeakable things with it.
Although, I guess if you watch him Roman Reigns and she's like, "Fwah," you could be like, "I've got a Roman Reigns figure upstairs."
I think he just needs to get some
How about?
tribal tattoos and stuff. Then he becomes Roman Reigns.
I wouldn't take that advice on board from Joel there. I assume that he doesn't look like Roman Reigns because very few people in the world do, don't they?
Yeah, that's fair.
But let's get that game on. Just go like, I've got a Roman Reigns figure upstairs. Do you want to go and have a good time with it? And then if she's like, I don't think you do have that, then you know. Then you know. She's got it. She's taking it away.
Are we all on the same mental page where we're talking about having a good time with a Roman Reigns figure?
If she's
Because I'm thinking his shoulders are quite broad.
Oh my god.
Lube's a thing, Tom.
Just saying.
Again, children listening, apologies. Apologies to all concerned.
This is the mailbag we're reading out.
Yeah, there wasn't many to pick from this week.
Clearly. Wasn't enough Roman Reigns action figures to pick
Plus,
from.
you can't go diving straight in there. Set up
No.
a scenario where Roman Reigns comes up organically and then drop the bombshell.
The tribal queef.
Oh!
Is that anything?
Don't give him that. That's been a silent wrestling show for decades.
Has it?
Yeah,
Oh,
but
fair
he's
enough. I'm sorry.
repurposed it.
Oh,
He's re-gifted it. It's
my gift.
Yeah, it's reloved. So yeah, you've been Joel.
Thanks, Tom.
You've been
Joel.
You've been Joel.
So what's your plan from start to finish then with this scenario?
Buy a new one.
I mean, yeah.
It's easy enough, isn't it? They're not that expensive.
All right, Joe, with your 30 quid haircut.
Not that expensive.
I don't know how
Big
much.
spender.
I don't know how much figures are these
It
days.
might be one of
actually.
those elite ones.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, they're expensive, aren't
One
they?
of those maximum sweat ones.
One of those dildo. Next question. I think we've answered that properly. Hey! This one starts off. Last night, as I write this, I attended NXT in Chicago for the CW premiere. Chef Michael should be giving all of you a fiver at least, as the enthusiasm that you all, Ross especially, bring to the pod made me want to go. You are very welcome. You are very welcome. I went with another wrestling fan who doesn't watch NXT. Well, they're not even worth the time of day. And I was able to give them all the updates on the storylines and such. We both enjoyed the show, even though Chase, you were absent. I was shocked as well, but they're not too shocked because of what Rich Holland's done recently. He should be burned in hell. This brings me to my question. Huh?
No, it's my brother you're talking about, isn't it?
Rich Holland's your brother?
It might
Okay,
be.
because your last name's Holland.
Could be. Bro from Yorkshire.
Yeah, both Yorkshire boys.
Very interesting.
Did you ever go drinking in Liversedge?
Where?
Where he is his favourite.
Is that
pubs
where
in-
he's from?
He said when he did that promo, he went, I remember being a kid going to my pub in Liversedge and we all stayed up watching the Royal Rumble. I said, no, you did not. You went to that pub in Liversedge and got glassed.
Yeah. We've looked up where he's from several times on this podcast now. I keep forgetting. But that
Yeah, I
looked-
can't remember.
He mentioned it in a promo where he talked about watching Drew win the Rumble in a pub in Liversedge.
Ah, right.
Like, no, you didn't.
It's called like Toad Pull Frog Hot.
Todd Paul
Are you having a
Frog
stroke? Are you having a stroke there?
Must be this chair where Matthew sits. That's like the third time on the podcast I've had a stroke in the mouth. But this brings me to my question. Is there a time where your headcanon or a friend's perspective has made you appreciate something in wrestling that you may not have with just the product? For me, it's Chase U. While they weren't there, I did buy a t-shirt to represent them, to put up the U with others in my section. Cheers, lads. Sincerely, footballer from football team, a.k.a. Irrelevant Kevin.
Hey, irrelevant, Kevin.
Thank you, Relevant Kev.
Alex, my good lady, once came backstage to a North show. She was doing some stuff behind the scenes. It was her first time backstage at a North show. And afterwards, I was like, oh, how did you find it? She said, you know what I really like now in wrestling? It's not the actual wrestling itself, but it's watching the wrestlers go through the match where like they're backstage and they're going, you do that, you do that, you do that, I'll do that, I'll do that. It's like watching like a dance.
Yeah.
Like, I was mesmerized watching these two lads kind of go through the spots out loud, but not do them. Pull you in, pull you there, up to that. And since then, whenever I've been backstage at a show and I've seen that going on, I go, actually, that is an art in itself, how they go through it. And I never thought about it until Alex pointed it out.
Ospreay changed my world about that.
Yeah.
The way he does it is unbelievable, how they remember it. You go there. That's all you hear and all you see, and it's incredible how they get it up, get it right every single time.
It's incredible. It's a whole other skill set.
They have that short-term memory that mere mortals like I. Do you have the short-term memory or not?
I have a little bit of short-term memory, but not a lot of it. Not a lot to do like a 45-minute match.
Absolutely not, no. Mine's a bit of a weird one, because I used to work with someone who was like, just one day I was watching Raw for WTF, and then Charlotte Flair was on, he was just like, you look at her. Do you reckon she's got stinky feet?
What? Who said that? You?
No, the guy who sat next to me at work.
Oh, right.
I'm not going to say who it was.
Okay.
But he's just like, do you reckon she's got stinky feet? I've never thought about this in my life. And then for a period of time, every time I saw Charlotte Flair, I thought about his comment and thought maybe, yeah, she does. I don't know.
Sasha Banks confirmed it. Do you remember?
No?
There was a bit on SmackDown where Charlotte went to kick Sasha, and Charlotte grabbed her foot, and she'd taken her heels off, and Sasha just did this, wafted the air.
Oh, wow.
Please don't ask me why that's in front of my mind. Because I don't know. But it was, as you were talking about it.
Well, there you go. She must have smelly.
Maybe there's a part of me that's a bit unlocked there. I don't know.
I hope you weren't expecting a deeper answer from me there, but that's one perspective that was definitely changed from me upon someone else's
Charlotte
feelings.
has stinky feet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Joel?
I went to a NXT. Was it NXT? Yeah. I think it was an NXT live event in Leeds like years ago. Like 10 years ago. I don't know when it was. But I went with my mates, and one of them wasn't like really clued up on wrestling. And Pete Dunne came out. And everyone was chanting, Bruiserweight, Bruiserweight. And he just didn't know what was going on. So he went, Cruiserweight, Cruiserweight. And they were like, no, Alex, it's Bruiserweight. And he went, oh, right, yeah. Cruiserweight, Cruiserweight. And ever since then, I've had a real soft spot for Pete Dunne. I think he's great. Call him the Cruiserweight.
Because even though he was corrected, he still went, no, I'm going to insist
really
that he
funny.
was chanting Cruiserweight.
Proper loud going for it, so in the crowd.
I'm sorry to break it to you, but that match will be probably 5 years ago, if it's Pete Dunne in an NXT house show.
It feels like ages ago. Who else was on the card? I can't even remember.
10 years ago, Pete Dunne was like 4.
I bet if you looked up,
true.
I bet if you looked up WWE and looked up NXT in Leeds.
Yeah, it's a little.
If you go to Cage Match and just type in Leeds.
Shall I read the next question now while Joe's having a look for that? Oh, no, there's some photos. Oh, goodness.
2017, that'll be it.
2017.
There you go.
Yeah, this was it.
There's your
Look at
cards.
that card.
It hasn't happened very often.
Yes, because I knew Drew was on the card.
Oh,
Yeah.
so many names on there that we can't talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a main event. Bobby Roode and Drew McIntyre for the NXT title.
Yeah, what was Pete Dunne? Where's Pete Dunne?
He's fighting Roderick Strong.
Roderick Strong.
We got the win as well.
Alistair Black and Andrade and Eric Young.
That was good.
There's
Yeah,
a match I
remember
want to see. Cassius Ohno defeats Wolfie. We're going to have a party when Wolfie wins.
that. I used to love Cassius Ohno in NXT.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Great.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Good evening, Dirty Diddlers. Diddly Diddlers. I've done that wrong all the way through. We need to start with good evening, Dirty Diddlers, like Karrion Kross. Good evening. Good evening. No fun stories on the brain, so instead I'll give you a quick shout out to Matt from Tampa. This will be the relevant in a bit. My question stems from my recent watch of the infamous triple threat match from TNA Unbreakable 2005. I hadn't watched wrestling until 2016, so before watching the TNA match, I was only familiar with the modern day iteration of AJ Styles, which is why the move Styles pulling out surprised me a ton. I didn't realize he was such a flippy boy back then, so my question is there a wrestler who you liked or disliked once they started switching up their wrestling styles? Cheers to you guys for your content. It always helps me get through the long days at work. Former USF basketball player Jordan Omegbahin, aka a different Matt from Tampa. Now that's the shoot name of Omos.
I've heard it before.
Practice that for a news video once upon a time. Omegbahin.
Omegbahin.
I've got an answer straight away.
Go on then.
Shane McMahon. I really appreciated Stuntman Shane McMahon, which we grew up on from the early 2000s. The stuff he would do would be mental. Sad to learn why he was doing that, watching the Vince McMahon documentary, that he was just looking for his dad's approval, but his dad never gave him it, which is quite sad. But still, it was very entertaining for the fans. And you fast forward, come through to 2016-17 sort of time. He's the SmackDown general manager with Daniel Bryan at the time. And then he gets into wrestling matches where he's done a few MMA lessons, and now he's a shoot fighter, Tom. And he thinks he's on the same level as the main event players in the WWE, despite the fact he's nearing 50 years of age at the time, I think. So that changed from stuntman Shane McMahon to MMA fighting Shane McMahon, who thought he was a main eventer. I very much did not like.
He was still jumping off top of cages, though.
Very few and far between, though, weren't they? It was every match back in the day.
Yeah. I think a lot of these is just age, innit? As they get older, they stop doing flippy
slow
stuff.
down a bit, don't they?
I think that happens with most wrestlers.
I will offer Steve Blackman. Steve Blackman, who was just sort of somewhat a generic-y mid-card guy. Cold as ice, if you're a wrestling bios fan. He loves a bit of Steve Blackman.
You fat bitch.
And it was when he won the hardcore title and all of a sudden went, oh, I can be like I can be my own version of a hardcore champion, to which then he starts using the hardcore weapons, but like in his own Steve Blackman-y kind of way, like using the lids of the bins as nunchucks, you know, using a Singapore cane, like he completely became like this karate this karate hardcore wrestler. So I'm going to put Steve Blackman in there.
But they were neon, the chucks at the start. It was great.
Whenever I watch wrestling bios, he has a special soft place in his heart for Steve Blackman.
Who doesn't?
And like to the point where he's got his own little video montage as he starts, set to cold as ice, and he tells these whole different stories about Steve Blackman and his dojo. So big love to wrestling bios, who really helped me reaffirm my love for Steve Blackman and helped me with an answer to this question.
We learned, or got remembered a few weeks ago on the podcast in like Who Said What in 2019, that Matthew once nominated Steve Blackman as like a representation of like Black History Month.
No! Oh no!
So like in recognition of Black History Month, Matthew nominated Steve Blackman for the Hall of Fame.
No!
Some of the podcasters aged terribly. Joel, who's changed their styles that you did not like?
Genuinely, AJ was the first one that came to mind, but he's already mentioned him, hasn't he? I don't know. Just loads do, don't they? It's just age.
Anyone who aged.
Jushin Liger.
Okada's slowed down now, and he's gone into
Yeah, but he's
more...
funny though.
I know. That's what I'm going to say. I quite like him now. He's really funny.
He's more
I don't
relatable
mind
now,
it, yeah.
rather than just
But
being
he's-
a great wrestling
But
man.
he's slowed down, but that's fine. He's done all his best work. Just let him have a
Yeah,
good time.
make some money, go slower.
Yeah.
Good lad.
Nice cop-out answer, Joel.
Great cop-out
Thanks.
answer.
Thank you for emailing the mailbag this week. If you want your question answered, please get in contact. Scrummy, girthy and thick at mailbag@cultaholic.com. Wrist piss. It's time for a lovely, thick, girthy wrist piss.
If your
Ooh.
piss is thick and girthy, I'd probably seek medical advice.
Or you're a horse.
Could be a horse.
Have you ever seen a horse piss? That stream is so thick. Could not be thicker if it tried.
What a stream.
What a stream.
Thick stream.
horse
Some people
piss
say it's the
stream.
greatest stream I've ever seen. Oh, I wish I could stream like that.
What is that?
Wrist piss.
There's one day, Joel, when I'm going to have a Friday off and I'm going to practice my Donald
Just all
Trump
day,
impersonation
yeah.
all day long. And I'm
Yeah.
going to come back and blow your socks out.
I can't wait.
Hiromu Takahashi, folks.
Oh.
Yes. Second time writer and a previous poet laureate here. Hope this letter finds you well. After asking so much of you, especially Matthew, who would be welcome at a slam any time after that delivery. I assume this is with the delivery of the poet laureate way back in the day. Because this is from the vault, everybody. I wanted to give back with something fun to get your creative juices flowing. As a former game show contestant myself, the following is a Reese's Pieces based on my favourite UK game shows. This showdown will pitch the starry-eyed Tom against the unstoppable Joel. Do you want to ask the questions, Joel? I'll go against Tom.
Sure, yeah.
The starry-eyed Tom against the unstoppable Reese. This is actually written down there. With Joel as your handsome and witty host, you need to pick the best wrestling contestants possible from the modern era to represent you in the following games. Joel will decide who he thinks would win. Most points at the end is the winner. And the first one, Joel, is please. Fastest for this. That's the fourth time.
Family Fortune, which is... Yeah, it's what's it called in America? Family Feud.
Family Feud,
Family
yeah.
Fortune, yeah. 5 players, not necessarily a family, but a team who are down to earth and relatable.
Bloodline.
The
With
white
Tangaloa as the main.
The white six.
Nice.
No, I'll go for what is it? Just thingy from the Attitude Era. Oh, is he just not just Jack? Is it? No,
Just Joe.
just Joe. Thank you, just Joe. I'll go for Dean Ambrose, the lunatic fringe himself.
Okay.
He's a relatable character. I'll go for AJ Styles. He's a Mack truck, relatable guy. I'll go for the Hogfarbers. They can be one mortal being, I guess, from back in the day. It's been on Undertaker's podcast a lot this week. Past couple of weeks, both Henry and the other fella. What was it? Phineas.
Mark
What was it?
Canterbury.
Yeah.
Dennis Dunn.
And then the final relatable guy, I'll go for Simon Dean. As part of the Simon system. Who doesn't want to lose a bit of weight?
Very nice.
Joel, because he's thin.
I am a skinny boy.
Next.
No, you have to name 5 now.
I did Bloodline.
Oh, you were serious?
Yeah, Bloodline.
Oh, I'll give it to Ross.
I want them all with their name tags.
Okay.
Get in.
Ross wins that. Okay. Mastermind. One player who is really nerdy about one thing, but also has good general knowledge.
Batista and lunchboxes.
Oh,
but he's a man of the world as well.
That's an incredible collection. I saw this on YouTube last
Yeah.
week. I realised that the emailer, who I didn't say the name of, did I? They asked for modern day picks, but are we opening up to any era, Joe?
Okay, in that case, I'll go.
Sure.
Okay.
Because I realised I messed up halfway through my Attitude Era, Just Joe thing.
Fair enough. Because if we're doing modern ones, I'll go Adam Cole and video games.
Technically, she
good
counts
shout.
because she had a match not too long ago. Trish Stratus.
Yeah.
No, sorry, Mickey James. And the topic is Trish Stratus.
Oh, so her topic is Trish. Nice.
Because she stalked
That is
her.
good.
Good answer.
And you're filthy, aren't you, Joel? You like the rough and tumble.
That is good.
And
yeah.
the cunnilingus.
Yeah.
Oh,
I like that. Okay. Play your cards right.
Who won that one?
You.
Oh!
Yeah, it's a good answer.
Begrudgingly.
But I do like Adam Cole as well. Play your cards right. One player, pure chance. So someone annoyingly lucky.
Tangaloa.
Yeah.
He's somehow fallen upwards.
Yeah.
And is now a champion in WWE.
Trying to get in the ring, he fell upwards. I'll go for Roman Reigns in his title reign of the title reign where he kept winning because of interferences and whatnot. Being a lucky boy.
I'd say Tangaloa for that.
Yeah.
Up yours.
Reigns ain't lucky. Come on now.
Are you joking? He couldn't win a match on his own if he tried. There was always an interference. Sorry about my voice there.
Is that not strategic though?
No.
More than luck.
No.
All right. The price is right. One player who knows the cost of everything, i.e., an indie mid-carder or someone famously cheap.
I was going to say Andre Chase, because obviously he knows the price of things, because he had to save Chase U.
He nearly ruined Chase U.
Yeah.
He put the bet on.
He didn't know how to handle his money,
I
does
know.
he?
Yeah.
But anyway.
It's disgusting.
All the funnier.
Well, I'll go for entrepreneur herself, JC Jane.
Oh.
The opposite to him, the one who got the money back for the university by
Good
releasing
shout.
a saucy calendar and really earning the money to keep that wonderful educational institution afloat.
Yeah, I mean,
shout.
it makes sense. Yeah.
Obviously,
yeah.
the answer there is Mick Foley, but he's not really modern
He's
day.
not
is he?
modern day. I would have said Mick Foley otherwise.
The rules are loose, though, you know.
Oh, so are you scrapping the modern day thing? Quizmaster Joe.
You said just Joe.
I know. Made a mess.
You could take anything. Yeah, JC Jane's a good answer, yeah. It's a knockout. One player needs timing, athleticism, and ability to take a hit.
Darby Allin.
Oh, good shout.
Sending Darby Allin through it's a knockout.
Yeah.
He'll take a hit.
He
He'll
wouldn't need to wear the big suit, would he?
take a licking and keep on kicking.
And Chris? Keith Chegwin. Will. His brother's Chris. Oh, man, I've hit the wall. I'll go for Will Ospreay.
Oh, nice.
The aerial assassin himself.
Both make sense, but I'd pick Darby.
Hey,
take a hit
beautiful.
The Chase. We need 4 contestants with broad knowledge base. Oh, and it says bonus, pick a chaser.
Oh, pick the chaser.
And then Matthew, me, decides if either team beats the chaser.
Okay. I'm going to say the Judgment Day doing the chase. And the chaser is... Chaser.
You mean the new Judgment Day with...
So yeah, this will be the new Judgment Day, not the Terror Twins. The new Judgment Day, and the chaser is Nick Aldis.
He does have big chaser energy, to be fair to him.
No, the chaser is Blue Cane.
Yeah.
I'll go for the students of Andre Chase University, because obviously they're clever to get into
Great shout.
I'm thinking about Thea Hale, about Delightful Hudson, or Duke Hudson, sorry. We'll throw Ridge in there.
Of course.
Riley can piss off, in my opinion. So I'm bringing back Bodie Hayward from the dead.
Wow.
So there's my 4 there. And the Chaser. So we need to name a team that would beat the Chaser. Is that what it's asking for? So we just name someone really thick.
I guess so.
Oh. I mean, take your pick. There's a
Yeah.
smorgasbord of thick wrestlers today, isn't there?
Yeah.
Matt Riddle.
I'd got to go with Chase U because it's called The Chase.
Yeah,
Oh!
The
I
Chase
meant that as well, yeah. Thank you.
that makes sense.
Jesus Christ.
And
I've
then the
missed
last
another
one.
obvious one, Tom.
The weakest link. One player, smart but sneaky enough to eliminate the competition early.
Oh,
Now, wrestlers have done the weakest link. Who
Booker
won
T
it?
was the worst on it. I seem to remember.
Kane won.
Did Kane win?
Kane won.
I remember him and
Can't remember.
did Triple H get near the end on Stephanie? I remember Austin getting voted out. I think. I can't remember now.
I can't remember.
I just remember
Smart.
Kane stood there in his full gear.
Yeah, I can picture it.
Karrion Kross. He's
Yeah.
sneaky enough to lead a faction of people who are far more charismatic than him.
He's definitely sneaky.
Yes. Da.
Based off Wembley, Christian Cage. Everyone thought he had no chance of winning that
great
contract,
shout.
and then he got in the contract thing sneakily.
Yeah.
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 He's had more
shout.
success than Carrion as well.
Yes, he
Gotta be
has.
said. Yeah, I give it to Christian.
Carrion's a waste man, yo. Dear. Hope you enjoyed playing. Didn't you do well? Did we, Joel?
I think you did.
Cheers,
won?
Joel.
Well done, Ross.
Hey, well done.
Winner. As Joel didn't seem... No, sorry. This is about something that happened in the past. As Matthew didn't seem too impressed with my last Elias, I'll sign off as former Hereford United and Northampton keeper and current nut job David Icke, a.k.a. Stan, a.k.a. Ranty Granty.
Thank you, Ranty Granty.
Thank you, Ranty Granty, for
Thank
a
you,
wonderful
baked potato.
wrist piss, a lovely girthy stream of piss.
Lovely stream of girthy wrist piss.
Piss. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Drink piss. Right. If you want to...
Green Giant.
If you want to submit a wrist piss, you can do so by going to mailbag at cultaholic.com.
It's Cultaholics.
We've reached the end of the podcast. But before the big question, of course, we've got to say an girthy and streamy, wonderful, pissy thank you to our wonderful producers. He always does that, doesn't he? Producers. And thank you too, and Tom, you better do the thing, otherwise I'll kick off. Reno2200. He's from the future! Noah Anderson. Wow. I'll give you a chance to catch your breath. Levi LaRue going in for the kill. Doing it for
the thrill.
What do you think of a better one for Levi LaRue?
I like LaRue.
I like LaRue.
This time, baby, I'll be bulletproof. Love LaRue.
And finally, we have Jimmy Gillen. This week's thingy. Psycho Gillen. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Ba 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 ba. Run, 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 run away. Oh! Thank you to the producers for getting involved. And a wonderful tier, the best tier of all the tiers at patreon.com/cultaholic. But of course, before we end, we have the big question. And this week, of course, with it being a pay-per-view week in the wrestling world, we ask ourselves the question, what will be the best match at Bad Blood 2024? Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. So I look at the screen here. Always have to make note of that. Watch the screen. Liv Morgan with Dirty Dom Mysterio in the shark cage versus Rhea Ripley, Tom.
Okay, no.
That will not be the best match of the night.
No, it'll be a fun match, but it won't be the best match.
I agree. It'd be more about the gimmick of Dom being in there and pooing his pants because he's claustrophobic.
I would not want to put my pants in a cage above the ring. That is asking for trouble.
Just craps.
That is a nightmare on all fronts.
Just whaps his kecks down. Just has a big steaming turd over Rhea Ripley.
What you need is some toilet paper, which you can get from Poundland now.
You can buy Dom Mysterio toilet paper as well. I don't know if that's what you were referencing.
No, I was referencing.
I know you were referencing.
Yeah.
We've all seen it.
We've
Tom.
all seen it.
Damian Priest versus Finn Balor, just a singles match as we're sat here right now.
That'll be fine. Won't be the best.
Petty.
Pittance.
Petty.
What a pittance. Petty wave drop.
CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre. That's my pick.
Oh, yes.
Let's
Without
go.
a doubt. That's got to be the one. The whole show is built around this.
Yeah, I don't want to overhype it too much because there are parameters that WWE obviously adhere to, like famously historically. Is someone coming in?
No.
Have we got a friend? Come in,
So
friend.
someone putting their coat on through there. And I was
Oh,
like,
who
ooh.
was it?
I couldn't tell. Could not tell. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
You don't know what their name is, do you?
Oh, it's Owen. It's fine. Didn't recognise Owen. No. I didn't recognise Owen's coat.
Oh,
Owen's going home.
not looking.
That's how late it is.
Bye, Owen.
Bye, Owen.
Bye, Owen. Yeah, Drew and Punk has got to be the best match.
Because we're all expecting white attires, blood everywhere, dolls
Yeah.
getting kicked. But if that doesn't happen, it'll still be a good match all the same. Nia Jax versus Bayley singles match for the women's title on SmackDown.
Oh, everyone's going home. Andrew, Ryan, Pierce, they're all going. Bye, everybody. Jackson Bailey will be fine.
It'll be a good match. The intrigue is there, obviously, with Tiffany Stratton with the briefcase. What will Naomi do potentially? But yeah, I think it'll be fine. A nice serviceable pay-per-view match. And then finally, Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns versus Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu with the Tongans in the background of the thingy in a tag team match. What will happen? Will Jimmy Uso return? Will Kevin Owens turn heel? So many questions.
Well, here's the thing. It's looking like they've teased it on the Pat McAfee show. The big guy is coming back this week.
Feed
me more.
the cows.
Pat McAfee made the mistake of telling Cody Rhodes, hey, I've heard the big guy is coming back. And everybody went, Ryback. It's not Ryback. There's going to be a video apparently that's going to play at the end of that match, which sets the scene for the next title feud. I think it's going to be The Rock. I think we're going to get a video of The Rock announcing his Rudy Poo comeback.
When he's in a garden like you did for Ken Shamrock's TNA Hall of Fame.
So good. But therefore, that makes me believe that the Hell in a Cell match isn't going to go on last.
Yeah.
Because they're going to want The Rock appearing on the screen as the last shot of the night.
And The Rock will want The Rock appearing on screen to be the last thing everyone sees.
Will.
He's on the board,
He will.
and what he says goes just about.
I feel like Punk and Drew should be on last.
I don't think it'll be a bad match on that card at all. I think Dom has the right sort of heel cavalcade to provide some nice laughs and hilarity and whatnot. Maybe a couple of death-defying spots. The hatred's there between Liv and Rhea in canon to be a brutal match because that beatdown on Raw was brutal as well. Priest versus Balor, that's probably the weakest one for me, even though there's a lot of history there.
Yeah, I think that'll probably be... I mean, potentially in terms of... I know we don't talk about the order of the match, but if you're not going to put Punk and Drew on first... or last, and you'll probably put it on third. And I think we'll go, in that case, I think we'll go Morgan and Rhea, Jackson Bailey, Punk and Drew, Priest and Balor, tag match. I think if you don't put it on last, you need something like just to let everyone catch their breath. And I think it might be Priest and Balor that have that
Funny you
spot.
say that. That was Finn Balor's theme tune name when he was a babyface. Catch your breath.
Oh,
Wasn't it?
It's
Sure it
like we
was.
planned it.
Finn Balor, catch your breath.
Was it?
Or as I've typed it, catch YPURBERAAR.
It's hard
Good-
to type, isn't it? It's
Google
hard to
nowadays takes into account fat fingers like mine.
It is called Catch Your Breath.
Well, that might be exactly what they're doing, allowing fans to catch their breath.
Yeah.
But I think whatever happens, I think that Hell in a Cell match is going to be the one.
Yeah.
They've got to go for it.
They've got to.
got
Dogs,
to.
everything.
Yep.
I don't want to see the dog harmed. That was just a bit for a video that was trying to entertain people. Just to make that clear. It'll be a good show, though. Couple of sleepers on there, but the tentpole matches are big and significant enough to make it slap, as the kids might say.
And you can watch every bit of it on the Cultaholic YouTube channel with Adam and Andrew.
Yes, they'll be live whenever the pre-show starts. I've got no idea what time it starts. If it's 11 main card, I assume it's 9.
I think it's 9 o'clock, yeah.
2-hour pre-show?
9, something like that, yeah.
You'll see when the thing goes live if you tick your little bells on the YouTube channel. Just made me think of penises, Tom. So, yes, of course, with it being a pay-per-view week, we do have pictures on the channel right now, predictions on the channel right now. The podcast is live on Friday, as we know. Then we have live reactions on Saturday night as the show is going on live. Sunday, we have What Happened At. I assume Jack's back in work.
I assume so.
Hopefully so. I'll be there with WTF, and then we'll have news coming out the show as well. Tom, what you got for us in the offing?
Obviously, no Matthew here, so no classic SmackDown review this week, I'm afraid. We're back as normal next week, you'll be glad to know. If you haven't done so already, check out The Road to Hell, which is the story of CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. It's 10 years in the making, that bad boy is. It's a little piece it's about 40 minutes, all about the story of this match. And that's on our YouTube channel right now. Subscribe to the Cultaholic Wrestling News Podcast for the morning news in your podcast inbox every single morning in 10 to 15 minute news bites.
News bites.
You could just, I think you go cultaholic.com/Spotify and there's a link to it there. Get you there nice and quick.
Lovely.
What else is there? I think that's pretty. I was on OSW review this week, so go and give some love to the OSW boys.
Don't talk to them anymore.
I promise I'll talk to them again after
Bad
that.
boys. There was a video that myself, Andrew, and Adam did earlier this week where we assigned licensed theme songs to WWE Superstars. That went live this week, actually.
It did indeed, yes.
Plugged it last week on the podcast. Adam's pick for Roman Reigns, again, if you haven't seen the video yet, is an all-timer. That's all I've got to say. And this week I brought back EAFC 25 live streams on the Hold and Give YouTube channel, so thank you to those. I think we had 40-odd subscribers since the first stream went live the other day. 2,500 views there. Tom, I'm rolling in the money.
Fantastic.
So it's made a comeback, so they'll be live every single Tuesday on that very YouTube channel. So if you enjoy a bit of FIFA, EAFC 25, 4 p.m. BST or GMT when the clocks change on a Tuesday, just before Adam goes live on the Twitch. I'm like the pre-show.
You like the pre-show?
Yeah, I'm the Jackie Redmond of Cultaholic.
I've always said that about you.
Yeah, so does everyone else. I'm really fit. Thank you for watching, everybody. Joel, anything to say before we go?
No, leave feedback for Joel Cam. If you like.
I think Joel Cam should stay.
Have you enjoyed Joel Cam?
Yes, I'm just getting used to the kinks of it and stuff, and
Sorry?
let's put it up.
The kinks?
The Jar Jar kinks. But if people don't like it, we won't do it. Just leave.
People
let
like
us know.
it, Joel.
Oh, they're going to love
know.
Joel Cam.
God, you're a stallion.
Joel Cam's a winner.
So there we go. That's the end of the podcast. Didn't go too bad for a two-man thing.
We did all right, didn't we? And we still clocked in at a decent, 4 hours?
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
Well done, everybody.
As long as possible. Thank
You're
you for
all
watching.
heroes.
Enjoy the timestamps. I've been Ross, joined by Tom, joined by Joel. And we're going to point at the... Well, before we go, we're going to point it there and say a thing that's been relevant to the 4 hours that just happened before us. I'm trying to think of something to say.
Okay, okay. What happens to your genitalia in the cold if you're a character from Star Wars?
Yes.
Jar Jar tickles.
Close enough.
No countdown. Bye.